welcome to Fans of Fiction. I'm your host, Gene Skinner. Weeb will be along shortly, I imagine. He probably took a break after we were watching some Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon today. And I went to go eat dinner. And I got little messages and everything else to do like I usually do. One second, chat. I'm going to turn this down for one because this is way too loud. What we need it for. Welcome. It's going to be a World of Darkness special tonight. Got a few overview videos and things like that, and maybe just one video that's not related to it, but everything else pretty much is. So yeah, I mean, besides the interval videos, which will be that. Look at me, I'm a fucking vampire. I'm a Nosferatu. We will have a avatar too if he gets here. When he gets here, I should say. So, let's get on with the show.
Waiter, where's my beer tower?
Yes, here you go, sir.
Yeah,
Oi, busy. Can I order now?
I will be right there in a moment.
That's better. Sorry about that.
That'd
Echo
be
because I forgot that
$40.
wasn't muted.
The QR code is in front of you, sir.
That's why it was so loud.
Alrighty, and sent.
Thank you. Hope you will come back to our restaurant again.
11 p.m.
Thank you for spending your meal with us.
Dragon.
Hope you will come
Suck
back
to this
soon,
booty.
ma'am. Oh, what a long day. My back is cracking right now. Oh!
Now she's on fire.
Out of mana this soon again?
Now she's all
I
small.
need to see the doctor soon.
Wow. Now she's all small. Yes. Hi, Robin. We will be along shortly, I'm sure. He was here just a bit earlier with me. Actually, probably like maybe an hour or two ago, watching some stuff. But now, anyways, let's get on to the meat of the subject tonight with this big video from Bro Alphabeus, the Role Player's Role Player game, an intro to World of Darkness. We've watched this before in the past, I think. We're watching it again. So now you can really learn.
So there's this show, it's called Under the Parenting. We write it, and you might have seen it. It's based in White Wolf's World of Darkness franchise. Now, paradoxes.
Yes.
And follows mostly mundane people hunting vampires, werewolves, and other creatures of the night through the mean streets of Norfolk, UK. A lot of people in the comments section report really liking it. So, thanks, guys. But lots of comments also mention they'd want to learn more about the setting. Not just hunter or vampire or whatever beastie of the week we present. The wider world of darkness.
The whole universe. Give it to
We
me.
got those comments a lot back in the old TTS days, but with Warhammer. And this time we thought we'd act on them. So that's this.
Yes.
So, if you want to get into World of Darkness, let me be your guide.
Time to learn. This isn't going to be the only video, but it's the biggest one. Actually, no, it isn't. The one that I have after this, way down the list, is actually the biggest.
Content disclaimer. This is our first time ever doing a video essay, and so this is very experimental. Also, I am not the master godbrain who has been playing World of Darkness since, like, I was a protoplasm. This is
Speaker
the
HD.
WoD brain of someone who got into it, like about, a while ago, back in high school, and just my personal experiences. There's going to be people
Weeb isn't
that
here
are
just
more
yet, guys,
invested,
but hopefully
know
he'll be here
more,
soon. I texted him on his
probably have
phone,
a better
too.
idea of whatever the hell they're talking about than me.
When he shows up,
But
he'll have an avatar. A vampire avatar of his own. I got a Nosferatu. Because I couldn't find one of the clan I like, the Zamichi.
Cut this. This was a completely unscripted ramble.
Dude, Station.
I'm Speaker
Dude,
D.
stays in.
This is Ogre Popenang. Whatever that means. And this is our very first video essay.
Yes.
So let's get started.
Talk about World of Darkness. Here we go.
Let's start with two things. Number one, World of Darkness is a tabletop role-playing game first, and everything else second.
Correct.
There's video
Also, it's
games,
5th
card
edition.
games, books, etc., but it all sprang out of the tabletop setting.
Yes.
Number two, as this is a role-playing game, in order to immerse you best into the setting, we're going to start with you. Yes, you.
You right there.
Bear with
in
me
the back.
for a second.
We visit Nacho Coma. Maybe.
Have you ever gone on a solitary walk at night?
Well, have you, Chad? You ever been walking?
You
ever
walk
think about
under the
doing that
pale
again?
glow of street
Well, don't.
lights.
It's gross.
Shadows smother your familiar surroundings. No one ahead of you. No one behind. No one but the faint sound of passing cars and an infrequent, dull hum. It doesn't really matter where. A suburban cul-de-sac, some dark corner of a city, or maybe a dirt road in the country. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't,
Have
so
you
stop
ever
asking.
gazed up at those buildings, the ones cloaked by night, and wondered
second.
What secrets are they
Do another thing
hiding?
too. Don't mind me. You won't notice
Uses this place?
till it
Who's
does
in
happen.
there? That weird farmhouse you always pass. The crooked sign.
Now you'll
The
notice.
apartment above
Probably.
the boutique store, whose lights flicker rhythmically in the night.
It's just
Or
slightly
maybe the
noticeable
suburban home.
when I do that.
The one
I know I was
choked with
turned
weeds,
down. I don't know
You've never seen
what that was
anyone
about.
enter or exit, but you've always spied that same rusted car in the driveway.
Oh. Okay. I kind of figured.
And our normal, everyday
He's coming.
world,
That's
these
I
things
just got the
aren't
text
that
from.
deep. Inside the farmhouse
He
is
coming.
a normal family.
Normal
The apartment
family.
needs to call an electrician. The house is just vacant or has bad owners. Simple as.
Simple as.
The
But
darkness is a lot like our everyday world, but more specifically, it's the secret world.
ooh, secrets.
The one hidden just behind the mundane.
That's right.
The lights flickering in the apartment window aren't random.
Hello. Hello. Welcome.
Oh,
Oh no, that's Porky. That was Porky's avatar. Look, you've got an avatar now too. Welcome. You ha-
wow!
Your avatar is a medieval Ventru. Congratulations.
Nice.
That's what you get.
Good job.
You're welcome. One
Good
second.
job. Gosh.
And I got a Nosferatu because I couldn't find a fucking Zamichi in time. That's okay. Anyway, are we ready to learn more
Bye,
about
Porky.
World of Darkness? Because you know a good deal about it. You know quite a deal.
Yes.
But we're going to learn more today because there's some stuff you don't know, and we're going to learn some of that stuff today. But first, we got the Speaker D
And when
video essay.
decoded, they tell their beholder the exact time and date of their death.
Oh boy, that's
Within
some
that
race
vacant
shit.
suburban home, a coterie of vampires
No, not a
gorge
nacho
themselves on
coma.
slumbering neighbors.
Leave me alone,
As the night
Bob.
passed, more homes grow vacant. Missing
Gang.
posters paint the streetlights. And that farmhouse, the family, normal as normal can be. But if you look with the right eyes, you'd see the spirits of the countless buried in the dirt,
Oh great.
howling the names of their killers into bleak, uncaring night.
Fantastic.
World of
Lovely.
Darkness packs dark urban fantasy just past the everyday periphery.
The 99p store.
But there's one more twist. Unlike our lives, where most people are shut out from grim and hidden workings, here, you're in on it.
Yep.
In World of Darkness,
That's what
you
you are.
aren't the man on the street. You are the vampire.
I know I am, but what are you?
You are the
I don't-
ghost.
I
You're the
don't-
ghost.
You send the signal.
You sent the signal.
You bury the bodies.
Oops.
Sounds morbid. Gothic.
And it is.
It is. But you can throw all that in the garbage because World of Darkness is also clown.
Yes.
Hello, welcome.
Yes, it is also very silly. There's very silly stuff too. You kind of have to have that to juxtapose the whole, you know, horrible things. So let's go with some funny stuff now.
Dracula is real.
Yes.
He found his way to vampirism and everyone hates him because he's famous.
Dracula, guys, fucking scared.
It's an evil fast food chain that puts literal demons into their cheeseburgers.
And we saw old Tullys, remember? We've seen them in the latest one that we watched. That's O'Tullys. They
Yeah.
put demons and Fomori in their food.
It is owned by the same corporate
Pentex.
tentacle that owns the evil beer company, doing the same thing to their beverages. The reason they do this? To subtly convince random people to beat their wives.
That's canon. That's canon.
This is not a joke. You want more? Oh, I can give you more. In 1914, a deranged inventor named Sarvargo was so disgusted at the capacity for mankind to destroy, he brought a giant Zeppelin armada across all of Earth's cities and declared himself world emperor. A hit squad composed of secret agents, killer robots, and biofreaks were barely able to force him to retreat. And then real-life scientist Michael Faraday vaporized him so hard they both exploded. And everyone
Wow, amazing.
on Earth just forgot this ever happened because the New World Order.
Whee!
I feel insane, and I'm not even talking about the steampunk explorers fighting Nazis on the Hollow Earth, or the ancient kingdoms of the Lizard King.
So those are real things. Those are all real things in World of Darkness. Did you know all that? I bet not.
No.
The setting is off its shit.
Cool.
It's got some pretty crazy stuff in it, but unlike my maximalist lore drop, it's also cool. Let's take a step back.
Boop.
Save for those moments where the comedy of absurdity of a situation just completely takes the reins.
Oh,
you
like
probably
Fat
won't
Larry.
notice how
He's from
exactly
Vampire the Masquerade
the world is
Bloodlines.
Because WoD plays it pretty grounded. Only the DM, or storyteller, really sees how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, that's technically what you're called in World of Darkness. You're the storyteller. You're telling the story.
For most everyone else,
You fucking that thing just said you fucking lose.
we know. Just a little darker, a little more absurd. For example, WoD vampires are thought to bear the curse of Cain.
Yes.
The first murderer featured in classical hits like the Bible.
Like the Bible.
This literally doesn't matter at all to the 20-something stoner who got turned by his Tinder date.
Nope.
Hell, he could live and scheme for hundreds of years, and it still might not matter. In fact, it probably won't. See, WoD has a lot of advantages in setting itself in our world and our time. In World of Darkness, you aren't just relying on what a DM thinks a medieval world looked like. You're relying on a DM's knowledge of the real world.
Look at all these. How terrifying.
Most DMs have no idea what a medieval economy looks like. They haven't really thought through how the world would change if a 90-foot giant shit lightning in the local textile industry, nor should they be expected to. That'd be a lot to expect. Honestly, you'd have to be a messed up medievalist to get anything done.
How about that's Carl on the fucking left there.
You live in
That's
the world
funny.
you're playing in. You know what happens if you call in a bomb threat to an airport?
Oops.
You know about how long it takes to drive from Houston to New Orleans. You know how much gas costs, what can be found at a local grocery store. And the shit you don't know and need to research? Brother, it's the real world. What do you think's gonna happen if a 90-foot giant shits lightning on your local meadery? But beyond just being our world, WoD has its own feel too. Yes, a lot of familiar locations exist.
Look, Chicago,
but
Weeb.
World of Darkness is going for something a bit more elevated than an adventure localized entirely within your local Greg's.
Hey, Ramen, you're nice. You're a cool guy. You're like the cool guy. You didn't
No Country for Old
be a
Men,
bobble.
as directed by Suda51.
Oh boy.
No, that doesn't necessarily mean Anton Chigurh running around with a beam katana. Necessarily. Instead, it's the dry humanity of No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
Skirting the edges of the law and the world of the known. It's the familiar town where fiction...
Fantastic movie, by the way. If you haven't seen No Country for Old Men, definitely watch
Great
it.
fucking movie. Oh, hi, Jenny.
Heroes taking their chances.
You're just on time. We just started.
Well, evil is
Yeah, but you're just on the first
implacable,
video.
inescapable, mundane, and no less immune to the normative conventions of the world they live in. The coin travels across time and space, from minting to now, to save a cashier's life. And another makes the same trip, to take someone else's.
Yep.
Or maybe both were as meaningless as the money people die for. Into this formula comes the saccharine madness reminiscent of Suda51's No More Heroes or Killer 7. Hammer horror monsters run webs of shadows where blood is...
I'd say more Killer 7 than No More Heroes, because Killer 7 has like all that weird, more
lubricant
ominous
to
shit
an
in it.
uncontrollable mosaic of agendas. Just
And
as
ancient
characters
beings
can
that
be
are
drab
technically
like No
immortal.
Country,
It's great,
they can
right?
be bright and shining,
Yeah.
vibrant with camp, mystery, stupidity, or intrigue. There's a sense that you're caught in this bardo state, a place between life and death, between the pawn, the king, and, if you're fortunate, the errant spanner in the works. It's a celebration of mayhem, decay.
Look, a
or
luchador.
at least the people who live amongst it. Maybe
You're a
absurd.
luchador.
I am.
Those absurdities just mimic the off-kilter beats of our own manic world. That's just my take on it, though.
Not a bad
My
take.
World of Darkness. But to hear WoD describe itself, the term it lands on is gothic punk. I like it. It's got a nice ring to it. But what exactly does that mean? Well, to hear it from them.
Here we go.
The term Gothic punk best describes the decadent ambience and rebellious fervor of the world.
Does
of
that voice sound
darkness.
familiar?
Violence blends with elegance as wealth and privilege mix.
Because that's Arendelle. That's the one guy who plays that one bookish guy in their
Yes.
live play. Yep, that's him.
into the panoply of fear and cultural conflict. In cracked, squalid cities, people dance and while away the hours in glittering social clubs, trying to ignore the urban center's decay. The towering buildings of the downtown scene cling to art-graven styles. By contrast, slums roil with strife and warfare as desperate masses of humanity claw at their pieces of turf. Under the gleaming spires of the church, the halls of justice, and the artifacts of society, the masses strive for lives of comfort and refinement. The Gothic image of looming architecture is everywhere, chased with gold and silver as it watches over the dispossessed. In contrast, punk nihilism echoes in the overpowering despair of dreams destroyed. Ignored by society, the less fortunate rebel. The upper classes revel decadently in their wealth, while gangs, criminals, the insane, and the deprived maraud through crumbling neighborhoods.
It's fine.
The buzz of technology is nearly overwhelming
fine.
as disenfranchised groups revolt through shocking displays of brutality, art, faith, and mysticism. The world careens down a fast track to self-destruction, and everyone wants an escape.
Some big towers.
That's the creator's
The Port
vision.
Trade Center.
And honestly, it rings true. Most game lines have that kind of dichotomy. The one between the monolithic power structure versus the burgeoning voices of those that haven't quite bought in. What could a setting where Draculas control Amazon's board of directors be, if not Gothic?
Oh look, it's Adventure
What
Weeb.
is a setting where you can smash their faces
Yes.
in with a golf club, if not...
Oh shit! Fuck!
Before I get sidetracked down a never-ending ramble hole, though, besides the unique feel and elevated supernatural shenanigans, being set in our world has advantages other than knowing how much a hot dog costs. It also gives players at the table an honest to characters that feel real. Sure, those real people might be vampires. Or
We're
have
making
some
sure House Black Lung is
elevated
represented,
profession
Gene.
like
Yes,
hitman,
proudly.
rockstar, criminal, CEO.
Oh,
There
he
was
got
some
beat up.
PC, a 28-year-old garbage man named Chuck.
Yes.
Who just happened to get wrapped up in whatever game line he's in. In my opinion, it's
He'd
one of the
probably
most
be in
fun
Hunter
ways
the
to play.
Awakening.
Just make your
Sorry,
character
Hunter
sheet
the
what you'd
Reckoning.
expect a garbage man to have. Give him a few hobbies, figure out what matters to him, and then just jump
Oh,
off from there
okay.
and see where you amble. It's not some Dark Souls wretched playthrough handicap either, by the way. In my home vampire game, between the
What you
members
saying
of
was
the
gay now?
esoteric snake cult and the overworked car
I don't want to be a
mechanic,
garbage
it's
man.
the car
I want to be a
mechanic
garbage
that's left every encounter
supervisor.
body count.
Well, you can get that
The
way.
cultist
You can make
who
it
tends to
there.
have to staple
That's
their
called
tongue back in their
leveling.
mouth when some mean beastie caves their teeth in. All of this is probably overwhelming, and that's kind of on purpose.
Yes.
But WoD has this really bad reputation sometimes. It's a game only for ephemeral thespians who take their role-playing and setting very...
That was Carl. Oh my god.
Oh, that's just an Innsmouth nigga.
Yeah.
seriously. And yeah, those guys definitely have a place. Quite frankly, close-knit communities of goth LARPers built this fucking city. You might think that's cringe, but you might also think that the world is flat, so get over yourself. But, much like in our world, in my most humble of opinions, WoD is a lot weirder than that. It's not some solitary penumbral orb of misery and mope. It's fucking hilarious and strange and warm and heartfelt, just as it's tragic and dark. WoD is a place where, much like the real world, you can go from horrifying tragedy, harrowing encounters, dreadful monsters, and then have a 2-hour in-character argument stuck in line for fast food, trying to explain
Just like real life.
to Dale, the food service worker, while you're covered in Fomori blood.
It's fine.
It's a crazy world, and there are so many different flavors of WoD to choose from. Run as a monster, clinging to their humanity as a vampire. Be a frantic survivor, desperate to wake
See,
others
told you he'd be in the Reckoning. Look at him. He became a.
Yep.
What their basic thing is, they cannot be corrupted. By the way, I didn't realize that about hunters. They got this thing called it's something with almost awake. Their whole thing is some kind of weird force gives them powers. It's not really explained what it is that does. But when they have that, they basically can't get corrupted by worm taint or anything like that. After it's not even like they have the fucking wild on their side or anything. Possibly it's weird. I don't know. They don't really explain it what causes it.
to a
They're just
You know what my
like-
favorite thing to do is in the
Turn
Crusader
into an 8-foot
Kings
werewolf and fight
3
a
mod
radioactive-
What's
for
that?
World of Darkness.
What's it?
It's every time I hear the story of a famous hunter going around, because it's set in the medieval
Yeah.
times, I'll literally go out, fight them, capture them, and then force them into a dungeon and then forcibly turn them. That's my favorite hobby. Is forcibly ghoulifying them and then using their knowledge against them.
Yes. They they can be ghouled, but it's weird, worm stuff can't corrupt them for whatever reason. Technically, vampires are, I've said this, we were talking about this the other day. Technically, they are worm aligned, but not fully. It's kind of weird how they're in their whole situation. because technically they are like things of the worm, but they're not really understanding that they are. You know what I mean? It's weird. Also, look, it's a werewolf versus a wereshark.
Werewolf. Yes, this is the thing that happens to werewolf. Yes.
Yes. Look at that.
Also
It's
dumb.
good art.
Is all
It's
this
cool. It's
pretentious?
also dumb.
Yes, and maybe a little too subjective. I mean, I did just tell you that WoD isn't so self-serious before hitting you with a few film school essays. But cringe is dead and I'm still breathing, so that's the way it's gonna go. If anything I'm rambling about sounds even halfway interesting to you, keep watching, and you'll probably like what you see.
Yes. Let's keep watching. I love all of it.
Part 2. Game Philosophy.
Before I keep selling you the legend of John Hender's hammer, though, I should tell you how WoD earns the accolades I've been heaping on it. Most TTRPGs are built on the famous 3 pillars. That's combat, exploration, and social gameplay. Some games flex especially hard on certain pillars. Pathfinder First Edition wouldn't be Pathfinder First Edition if you weren't busting the mechanics open like some multi-armed gunslinger tycoon of the action economy.
Jesus Christ.
Meanwhile, a game like Call of Cthulhu is all about the mystery and horror of Lovecraftian fiction. Players aren't called adventurers, they're called investigators.
Even I know
And
that
that's
one.
because the game focuses more on the
Also,
thrill of
who makes
exploration
that? You might ask
than
yourself. That's Chaosium Inc. A whole group of fucking nerds that decided they loved Lovecraft so much they decided to make a role-playing game stuff about it.
rushing down Yogg-Sothoth with a blicky and a pocket full of dreams.
Whoop!
Likewise, as you probably guessed, World of Darkness is the role.
Let's see how many books he has, Weeb. Oh, look. There's 20th edition of both Vampire and Werewolf. Mage of the Ascension, 20th edition. You push both of them out of the way for Mage.
Essentially,
Guest
if you're
speaker D
tuning
likes
in for Vampire
Mage.
Diablo, then there are better games for you. The systems here are built around drama, suspense, and politicking. Combat's fun, but it's also incredibly lethal and risky.
Yes.
Any schmuck with a shotgun can get lucky and remodel your face into
Oh,
a
Jesus.
conversation pit. Unless, of course,
What an unfortunate thing to happen to a vampire with a shotgun to the face. That might be a little bit, fatal.
werewolf, an 8-foot-tall killing machine of Gaia's vengeance and fury, except for also, no, it's still possible.
Oh,
It's
shit.
just more difficult. You're not invincible. No one is. In WoD, the game isn't usually about plundering a dungeon. It's about maintaining whatever stressful life you're presently leading, struggling and changing as you bounce between unseen
Oh, look at Thunder
agendas,
again.
all while fighting to make your own possible. WoD is ultimately a game about the players, their decisions, their goals, more so than other RPGs. You set your agendas. You decide what's important.
That's
to
more
you.
Hunter art. That's
Your
Hunter 5th
storytellers
edition
are
art.
to guide you,
This,
challenge
oh my
you,
god.
and ultimately
This is from fucking... I love this art so much. I've shown this to Weeb several times too.
Yep.
So this whole thing comes from the Pentex book, and it's actually them making fun of themselves because this is fucking this is from their whole thing like in game called like the Black Dog Studio or whatever. So that's them making fun of themselves. And the whole thing is that the people you're all seeing play this, they're all a bunch of vampires just fucking playing like and like their own game. It's hilarious. I love it so much.
build a satisfying arc.
Oh shit, Weeb, there you are. Porky's the one holding the dice bag. I'm laughing next to you, and you're the one with the gun in the mouth.
Different game lines have
Hooray!
different ways to approach the more social, character-driven aspects of the game. These approaches are universally interesting and something I'd love.
There's a
to
lot
have
of
more
books,
depth
by the
of
way.
for individual game lines.
Even just supplement books, there's a shit ton.
Here's
The
the
core
thing
rule
about
books are fucking big. There's a shit ton
In
of supplement
Vampire,
books.
You play as a monster, forced to drink the
Thank
blood
you!
of the living
Excuse
to
me.
survive.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Struggling and compromising with your darkest self to retain your humanity.
Yes.
It's an experience best summarized in the signature phrase, "A beast I am, least a beast I become." In Mage, you are an enlightened will worker with a unique gift, the near limitless power of magic. And with that magic, you can quite literally change the world. The question is,
Should you? The question is, should you do that? Should you really do that? I don't know if you should.
how will you? Do you have the right? And have you thought through what happened to the world if you did? Or hell, what happened if you didn't?
Oh shit.
Wraith in particular has a very strong concept.
Here we go with Wraith.
You're dead and gone.
Yes.
A verifiable ghost with a whole world of ghost politics and ghost
God.
intrigue surrounding you. But all of it is artifice. At its
Wraith is
heart,
interesting because you're technically dead already, and you have to basically like it's almost like Vampire but different because you have to make like vigils and stuff and keep your like fucking. We'll get to it. There's a bigger video I have on Wraith tonight, just because I find it really interesting. And believe it or not, it will say it too in that video as well that Wraith is actually technically their first game they ever created, but it didn't really. It took forever for them to flesh it out till it was their like fourth release of games they made. Isn't that interesting that it was their first one they actually ever conceived?
Yeah.
But Vampire was the one they actually released first.
Wraith is about moving on.
It's Vampire,
Your
Werewolf,
goal isn't
Mage,
to become
then
the king
Wraith.
of Ghost Mountain. It's to confront your
And technically
path,
there are
accept it,
Changeling and
leave your
Mummy, but
character
those
behind
didn't
as
fully get
bravely as you
fruition
can.
things.
This act of confronting mortality, of essentially
At least originally.
starting
They do
play with
now.
a character who ideally won't survive, it's very interesting. I think it's pretty powerful and bold. And the only reason more people don't play it is because another player at your table contractually has to whack you with a horsewhip all game.
Yeah, someone has to be your shadow the entire time. Isn't that fun? They have to be a dick to you the whole time. They have to be literally your shadow and basically try to fuck you over everything you do. So, you know, you gotta have some good friends or you're gonna have people that are real assholes. More so than usual.
It's very weird, kind of adversarial, but it can be good. Only play it with your rabbi, your priest, your polycule, whoever you trust. But hey, you want to hear more about combat? Let's go. Depending on the kind of creature you're playing as, you have different systems working to keep you more alive than the average Joe when some psychopath is belt standing your skull.
Oh!
But no matter what you are, you need to plan your engagements, at least a little bit. Fight dirty. Try to strike first. Strike fast. Strike when the guys you're trying to decapitate aren't staring directly at you, because even if you'll probably win a fair fight, you could also suddenly and unexpectedly...
Ooh, that werewolf got fucked up.
This more realistic approach to combat not only encourages you to fight sparingly and find other means of resolving conflicts, but it also gives you
Yay!
a leg up on even the biggest of bads. This is because the...
What are you saying that's gay?
Sorry, I am very much, as a player of any role-playing game, always seeking out the next combat engagement.
But it's
Like,
I'm just saying usually that's not for those games though, for this game series.
Yeah, I know, but still, I'm a warhawk, Gene. I'm not a fan of any system or any DM that shies away from me retardedly running into combat dick first going, ah!
Well, that's what this game series is that though.
Yeah, I know. I still do it.
And that's why Weeb loses all his characters pretty fast.
People with shotguns hanging out somewhere they don't expect them.
Or they get like crippled.
That statement on the dangers of
right, Weeb?
combat should
How
be
many crippled
confused
characters
to me.
have you had in your life? 10,000?
Vampires take bullets
No,
like
I don't get
so
crippled.
werewolf pack
I die
decisively wins the
hardcore
opening
like a
round.
man.
And mages can essentially deal with
That's
anything
fatalistic.
as long as they've got prep time. But whether you're running a hunter's cell, a vampire coterie, or a wraith circle,
Ah, circle. Yes, it's called
circles.
circle.
Anyway, no matter what your boy
Yes,
band
they're
is
called Wraith circles. Oh, and if you want to do that, guess what Wraith has? We'll get there. They got something that you'd probably fucking love. Because that's a thing that
boy
Wraiths do
band is
too.
called the thing
You'll
that
see.
can be
We'll
the
get
edge
there.
of Supernatural's more
You're gonna
powerful
learn
move
tonight,
is
bruh.
this. The base rule for everyone else in World of Darkness is something to the effect of,
I love when you
"Fuck
learn.
you, got mine."
I love making people learn.
Most greater
Just like you love making me
societies,
learn.
organizations, or deeply troubled people
I guess.
tend to
Do
go
you like
alone.
making me learn?
When they confederate, it's usually on
I do like
deeply
learning.
unequal footing,
Yes,
with
me too.
strangled ambitions and treachery around every corner. Predatory people act like predators for all the good and all the ill that nets them.
Hey, Sasha,
So
jump down.
that's a strength for your special group.
Oh my
Your
god, look at that fucking
do
painted
not all
van.
hate each other and or are not actively plotting
Fucking
each
owned.
other's death. Ape together strong. So if tactical
Oh, that
tactical
was
placement
urine.
fails you, know that just having a circle of dependable friends and allies is a hidden X factor in a world like this. For those paying attention, yes, you're goddamn right. The power of friendship is meta in World of Darkness, just like it is in real life. This shouldn't be taken to think that all supernatural creatures are weenies, though. Vampires juggle dumpsters. The Fae
Yes.
can shoot death beams by playing the ukulele.
Oh, jeez.
It's just that even with that kind of firepower, damage in combat is kept somewhat realistic.
Yes.
Mark Henry is a very strong lad, but if I ran him over with an 18-wheeler, his strength would not avail him.
No,
Probably.
probably.
Maybe the best way to
Oh,
do it is...
if he was a werewolf, yeah, you'd be
It's
fucked.
not as if there are painstaking systems... meant
Mark
to
Henry is
kill
an
your
incredibly
wounds.
strong nigga. You put the Garou in
In
him.
fact, as
Well, look.
dangerous as combat is,
Oh, look,
it
it's
can
the
sometimes pull
Gene.
away with even the faintest of odds.
Yes.
Case
Oh, so
in
he's
point,
talking. Here we go.
I have one...
He's talking about the fact of what happens. Like, someone can get really lucky. Weeb, this would be you if you got good rolls.
I get great rolls in D&D.
Yeah, well, this isn't D&D, now is it?
Started doing kung fu shit at a group of heavily armed PMC board kickers.
He beat the snot out of one, but was seemingly oblivious to the fact
Oh shit.
he put himself point-blank range with his rear to a man with an automatic shotgun.
Oh fuck.
This should have been the end of his
Now that's a
character,
street sweeper,
for
Gene.
Despite
Yes.
their kung fu moves, they had no
An actual street sweeper.
Yes.
Yet somehow
He lived.
that bastard managed to walk away. Not just with their life, but with nary a scratch.
Wow, that's
Is
lucky.
that because it's a dice game and I rolled the worst damage in the world?
Yes.
Yes. But it also illustrates a point. Because on the other end of the spectrum, you have moments where getting shot point blank with a shotgun does not result in a small boo-boo, and instead bypasses powers granting invincibility and immortality.
Oh look, that's a
This is
were
best
shark.
seen in 5th edition's Conclave of Prague, a lore event where a surprise shotgun blast turned the perfectly chiseled face of Camarilla faction leader Hardestaff the Younger into a goopy splattering of extra.
Oh!
Despite the fact that the guy had a near complete mastery of Ventru super durability.
Rip.
Personally, I've had it both ways. The combat isn't realistic in the sense that things are modeled realistically, and you have to make sure your wounds don't get infected and Warhammer Fantasy shit. It's realistic in the sense that combat is confusing, tumultuous, and dangerous.
Dangerous.
Outside of Werewolf, WoD is not typically that combat-focused of a game, so when it does happen, combat accentuates the social consequences of battle.
Yes.
Namely, the risk of death. So, why then, if it's so dangerous, would anyone get involved in combat? Because, dummy, it's fun!
That's right, see, Weeb?
Also, your
It's
characters
fun.
probably have something to fight for.
Yes.
And if they don't, dumbass, you probably have a boss you're beholden to that's gonna make you do shit you don't want to do.
Yes. So
because
that's why
they
combat
don't
will
wanna
still
do it.
happen, regardless. See, it all comes
Whether
full
it's your
circle
ideals,
regardless,
your own
Weeb.
survival, or pure self-interest, most inhabitants of the world of darkness
Go away or die.
eventually find violence filtering into their lives. WoD has a strong emphasis on corrupt systems of power. Almost every game line has a heaping helping of row row fight the power baked directly into it. Unless, of course, you choose to row
Be the power, that's right.
Prerogative is making
Which you
sure
can
That's
be.
right.
You can be the bad guys. You 100% can be them if you want to. That's fine.
Rule the world through force, nigga, Ventru.
Success as the Bobby Fuller 4. Fight the yoke of the ancients as an anarch vampire, or jockey for your place at the top within the Camarilla.
Yep.
Toil to bring magic back to the world with the Council of Nine Traditions, or keep the masses moving towards your utopia in the Technocratic Union. Or fuck it! Sit it all out! Don't pick a side! Trouble, inevitably, will always come to you.
Oh, yeah.
But the choice and its consequences are always yours. So, if you're ready to play a tabletop role-playing game that focuses on exploring your own special snowflake as they struggle and suffer in a hostile world of freaks, if you're okay getting your head popped off because Soup Can Joe, the heavy-hauling hobo, rolled 6 10s on their
Jesus
firearm
Christ.
roll, if you like vampires, werewolf, wizards, and urban decay, World of Darkness might be for you. The only question is, where do you start? The answer is a video game.
It's a video game, yep. A lot of people do start with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Because that just introduces people to a wider stuff of the world itself. Oh my god, that guy went flying.
Sure did, boss.
Oh, look,
Crossbow.
Oh, against the Garu. Oh, Jesus.
World of Darkness is lucky enough to have several excellent video games under its belt, but the one everyone talks about is
There's
Legendary
Vampire, yeah.
Crime Against Semicolons, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
That's how you kill it, by the way.
Do not let
That's how you kill the
punctuation
werewolf.
fool
You
you.
get him in the
Bloodlines
tower and then
is
just do
very,
that. You can't kill him
very
otherwise.
good.
He's got too much
A classic,
regen.
some might say. Many people might say. Many people might say better than me might say. So I won't go into exhausting detail.
Stealth kill.
If you never heard of this game, there are many excellent breakdowns on Bloodlines to pursue at your leisure, but take my word for it.
Jesus.
If ever there was a WoD
Don't
primer,
drain 'em.
by God, it's this game. In it, you play a freshly embraced vampire of your chosen clan. Plunge
Malkavian,
headfirst
oh
into a
boy.
web of undead politics, treachery, and other hot topics. Your decisions matter.
Oh.
The characters feel human, and nothing has encapsulated the feeling of World of Darkness better, in my opinion. Is it flawed? You bet your ass it is. Don't ever ask me what a Quay-Jin is. But to
Oh,
begin
Weeb's
with,
favorite.
I highly recommend it to just about
I
anyone.
don't want to be a gay Chinese vampire.
Yeah, play the unofficial patch, because everything bad you've heard about Hollywood sewers is true.
Yeah.
But I know you want more. You want the TTRPG. So I'm gonna tell you where to start there too. But first, ad time.
That time.
Imagine, if you will, you are on an airplane.
Imagine, Weeb, you're on an airplane.
Crashes into the Atlantic Ocean, and miraculously, you survive.
That's right, we live.
Scream. Another survivor dragged into the brine. Fins emerge. the hungering, deadly maw of a great white shark swimming straight for you. In this situation, wouldn't you rather be at Noble
Night Games.
Noble Night
Here we
Games
go.
has given us a mysteriously sourced bag of money to
A
promote
mysterious sourced bag of money. I'd like one of those, please. Thank you.
this anti-shark propaganda.
same, please.
And also to remind you that it is
Oh,
the
Gremlin!
premier
Holy shit! I didn't even see that the last time. Getting your
Gremlin.
game face on.
for tabletop games and RPGs in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh,
where
boy.
you now live.
Where
Are
you
and your
now
coven
live.
Suffering from symptoms of dystopium and looking for a new, fresh RPG franchise to fill the void? Oh, you are? What? None better to help plug that gaping wound in your Sunday evenings. The Noble Night Game. You want to play Vampire the Masquerade? Which one? How about
Yeah, look at all the copies.
Vampire the Requiem. Oh, that one. That's gotta be. Oh, there it is! How do they do it? What's going on? And they have Mummy in stock. Okay, I'm less scared. It's safe to come out again. Wargaming? They got
Second
it.
edition.
Boards games? They got it. The
They got it.
Spear of Longinus? They keep it in the back.
They keep it in the back.
All the glue. you
Plastic
can eat.
addict.
But what to do when that Mafia book you need is sold out? Well, add it to your want list. You
Look, Weeb. Mafia in World of Darkness. A whole book about your people. The Mafiosos.
Hey, Nathan. Gene's bullying me.
What's new? Rip Ape Boy.
Or if someone sells it to them through their buy and sell program, which you can also do. All this with a free shipping within the U.S. for any order over $149, as well as a flat rate U.S. shipping option with all
Wow.
orders shipped
Your-
within 24
your shit
hours,
you
which
ordered.
indeed covers your order of 15 Blood Dim Tide supplements. You mermaid milk free.
Oh
You see
god,
this
someone wanted to fuck the mermaid.
night, he fights for your freedom. He does want to kill you, but he won't. Why? Because gamers like you populate his web store, buy his goods, and temper his wrath. In conclusion, who
B.B.
was
Cooper.
D.B.
D.B. Cooper.
I don't know, but you might find the answer at noblenight.com.
Ed. And there you go. Oh, and if you want to know too, they have an eBay store as well. If you have eBay, they do got that. Now give me a sack of money too, Noble Night Games, please. Thank you.
No. Hold on. All right, chat. Do you see the blatant hypocrisy of our host here? 99.9% of other ads from creators who have given us lots of content. No, let's skip this gay shit. But Gene finally finds something he's really interested in, and he goes, "Oh, we're gonna watch this ad."
Well, if they give me a sack of money, I'll be more happy about it.
They're giving you a second money.
They might.
Lines. Yes? Great. Did you not? That's fine too. I mean, it's a great game worth your time, but not all necessary, just useful. It's a great way to step into the world, especially if you have problems getting a stable group together for a tabletop game.
That's always my
But
problem.
supposing you're ready for that step anyway. You've got a table wanting to try out World of Darkness. You, know how to play a tabletop role-playing game, or otherwise excited to learn. Where, amidst all these crazy WoD books, do you start? That's a complicated question. Let me lead you to the answer. First, you'll need to pick which game line. Each game provides different creatures for you to take the roles of, different
Demon,
themes
mummy.
and toolboxes to play around.
Oh, there's the
with.
Quagen. We
For
think you did
instance,
get pushed out for
if
Mafia.
you're
Did you see
talking about
that?
Combat, Werewolf is
Good.
and always will be the most combat-focused WoD game. Start your search there. Want intrigue? Every game line does intrigue, but few do it as well as Vampire.
Yep.
Or fuck off, disregard all of that. You think elves are cool? Play Changeling. Cast a mighty spell and play Mage, if you fucking dare.
This is the deep end.
All the shit I talked about in the themes is optional. You can make any kind of game you want with these systems.
Yes.
I'm just covering what the default is slanted towards.
Yeah.
Here are the issues you're going to run into, though. For one, WoD has been around since the 1990s.
Best
It's
year.
easy to get overwhelmed by choice. Which book should I play? Which edition is the right
Right,
one?
Weeb?
Etc. That's number one.
Yes.
Here's number two. Despite the wide bevy of WoD games, they're not all updated to the latest edition,
Nope.
5th. In fact,
Fuck
at time
5th.
of writing, only 2 are.
I say that
Usually
because
there's
they
not
added
too
a
much-
lot more gay shit in 5th. Like gay shit in 5th of stupid shit that's very stupidly
is.
liberal.
Yeah.
Issue playing between editions, but with 5th, there is one. Or well, more of one. Slight changes in how difficulty, damage, stats, and other things are handled make it harder to cross over with older games. This means you have several essential choices. Option 1. At time of writing, only Vampire the Masquerade and Hunter the Reckoning have 5th edition variants.
This was out like 3 years ago. I
Thus
think
far,
everything is
compared to
now.
earlier games, 5th edition games focus on smaller stakes and slower XP growth with weaker characters. This is done in service of creating a more intimate feel for the players, and it works. It focuses on making you feel less like a character in the world of darkness and more like a person. In my humble opinion, it's quite successful at that. Early trends involve bigger factions being weaker and more flawed, and more of the onus is on the younger generations to fight for their place in the world.
Oh boy.
I have overall less to say about 5th edition, largely because it's pretty self-explanatory. Pick it up, play it, and enjoy. Just know that everything else is yet to fully arrive. It's a strong edition, and I'm sure the best is yet to come. It's also worth noting, if you watch the very excellent LA by Night live plays,
and these are the I've listened to the New York by Night. It's okay so far, but listen to the first one. You can tell this is LA by Night. Looking at these people, look at them.
The version of the game they're playing. There are new resources being pumped out for 5th with increasing regularity, and it's not going to remain the edition without all the other goodies forever. I'm just giving it slightly less focus, just because there's fewer caveats here than other places. But it's genuinely worth your time. If you want to run a vampire or a hunter game, this is definitely the place to look. Option 2. 20th Anniversary Edition.
Here we go.
Before 5th edition, the edition of the land was WoD 20th Anniversary. These were released, get this, in celebration of WoD's 20th anniversary.
Good job. Yeah, woo!
Released for veteran players of the day, and as a result, they can be kind of rocky to learn at times. The idea being, you should already have a firm grasp of the concepts within. The lore has a slight tendency of being either too referential to old material or just plain sparse, but it's the edition I started with, and I turned out alright, so I still highly recommend them. Most games enjoyed a pretty cool 20th anniversary release, and in my opinion, it's still the edition to run if you want crossover shenanigans.
Yes.
Compared to 5th edition, you'll likely be able to roll out with a comparatively more powerful character, but
That's like getting door instead of boy. See? It's like getting door instead of boy.
but there's also a lot more jank. Balance isn't really at the heart of WoD, given it's just, not that kind of game, but it's a lot easier to break than 5th edition for damn sure, for better and for worse. It's not enough that I'd not recommend them to a newbie, but it is enough to warn about, so consider yourself warned.
Warned.
Despite these caveats, though,
Beware of
outside
trains.
the occasional weirdly worded subsystem, it's not like 20th Anniversary is a major downgrade. In fact, I know plenty of people who still prefer playing this edition to the newer ones, and I can't really blame them. Even for games with 5th editions, if you wanted to run a vampire game where you're all elders and not snot-nosed neonates, fuck it, 20th ain't a bad choice. These editions are hideous, lumbering monsters. You'll notice I'm insulting them a lot. That's because I love them. I don't own just one 700-page Mage 20th core rulebook. I own two. And
I own two of them. Oh, that one's got a stain.
one has a weird stain, and I don't know where it came
Ew.
from. 20th is also so accommodating that you can easily just take older supplements and quickly adapt or even straight up use their adventures, powers, merits, and flaws in your own
That's
game.
cool.
Even if the content you're looking for is ancient, you can probably dig through any old WoD book and find something that can fit in your game with a few tweaks.
Plug and
My
play.
friend Odoroshi once ran the prehistoric crossover module Midnight Circus for our home group of 20th anniversary characters to great success, even though it was originally printed 2 months after my birth. Sure, a lot of the content aged poorly.
It just shows a bunch of stuff. A lot aged poorly.
God.
the content
Yeah.
But the underlying concepts and many of the characters and situations were fun and easy to translate to 20th parlance. The parts that didn't, well, our storyteller just filled in the gaps with her own original content, got rid of the stuff she didn't like. It's not just modules either. Area splats, faction guides, hell, even some main
New World
games
Order.
languished in earlier editions. But it's all still accessible thanks to how adaptable the older storyteller system is.
Well, that's cool.
I mean, think about it. Before the D&D 5th edition reprint, could you imagine running classic Tube of Horrors in the modern system? Well, you could with WoD. I mean, not Tube of Horrors, but, Evil Circus Hell and this crab thing.
Blood Damn Tides.
Anyway, the TLDR is this. If you want to play Werewolf, Mage, Changeling, or Wraith, or if you have a style of play that clashes with 5th's design philosophy, 20th is the spice you're looking for. Have fun. Option 3, Stygian Madness. Sadly, not all games got a 20th anniversary release. Some games have languished in their sordid states for eons with barely an errata in sight.
This
There
fan
are
stuff
few
that I'm gonna assume.
that are infamous.
Let's see.
Some people really
Really like them.
Essentially, if you're looking to get a
Mummy!
game of Demon the Fallen or Mummy the Resurrection, you're going to be looking at old rules.
TM.
Fortunately, these are going to be relatively self-contained and explicable within the language of their own text. WoD game lines be like that.
They do be like
I
that.
cannot advise much in this juncture, for I have rarely afforded
I
myself
didn't
such
finish that,
terror.
but I just said
I've
that.
used Demon the Fallen rules for NPCs in certain games, and it was universally a harrowing experience.
Ooh.
It was like being submerged in the dim waters of the river Styx and losing all that I am.
Losing all that I am.
That being said, the games have their cult followings for a reason. Be brave, play them, and have fun. But know that if it's your first time, it's probably a bad idea to start here. It
Yeah.
won't be too challenging once you have a game under your belt, though. Option 4, Chronicles of Darkness. Oh boy, this one is... It's gonna take a hot second. Here's some history. Sometime during the run of WoD, the developers decided that enough had been done on the meta plots to warrant a global apocalypse.
Global
Modules were
apocalypse.
released for end-time scenarios for all game lines. You got to pick your favorite ending, and the idea is that they'd say goodbye to the setting forever. In its place came the new World of Darkness, now known as the Chronicles of Darkness.
Which sounds really gay.
This is a completely different, confusing continuity that is extremely different from the old World of Darkness. In Chronicles of Darkness, you do not play Vampire the Masquerade. You play Vampire the Requiem.
Oh boy.
You do not play Changeling the Dreaming. You play Changeling the Lost. Confused yet? So am I. This isn't quite WoD. For Warhammer fans, think of WoD as fantasy and Chronicles as Age of Sigmar.
Oh,
Okay.
The rules and systems
That
have been
translates perfectly to me.
in a way
Yeah.
that even 5th edition.
So
couldn't.
crap.
For 2, the world and game lines are similar but very distinct, with some real standouts. In particular, Hunter the Vigil is a very cool take on the Hunter experience. Whereas the older version of The Reckoning focused on supernaturally augmented Imbued, Vigil
Imbued, that's
focused
what they
on
call 'em, yeah.
normal hunters, introduced numerous cool and creative hunter compacts, as well as the concept of becoming a slasher, a fucked up kind of hunter that went from being a slayer of the supernatural to a metaphysically augmented serial killer.
Ooh.
H5 no longer focuses on the Imbued, and I think that's because Hunter the Vigil just kicked so much ass. Changeling the Lost also gets its fair share of accolades. Changeling the Dreaming is well known to be somewhat inscrutable, difficult to understand, and a massive glowing orb of madness floating silently in the classic WoD catalog. Changeling the Lost simplifies the story a bit. Instead of playing as the Fae, you play as someone cursed by the Fae,
Oh.
which grants a very distinct play experience.
Look, it's a
It
little
also makes
gremlin.
the games radically different.
I
from
hate
each
the
other, to
Fae.
the point where I'd almost
They're
willing
your
to say
favorite.
the Lost is just its own weird little thing. Chronicles is still getting.
You know how many
updates,
times
such as
I've
the
heard
fact that
elves
the
say,
original
"I'm not
game
gay, I'm
is-
fey." All right, listen, no, you're gay, bro. I'm sorry. Just because you're a magical forest entity doesn't mean you can get bummed on the weekends, Thomas.
several unique permutations like Deviant, Promethean, and Geist.
Yep.
If it tickles your fancy, it's not a bad idea to check out. But you should know that if you're looking for World of Darkness books, Chronicles is something different, so be aware. Now, all of these different ways to play may sound intimidating,
But technically,
but
you
don't
can
worry.
plug
There's
and play
even
those
more.
other ones too. To probably the 20th edition. I wouldn't be surprised if you could. The ones they're talking about,
I wouldn't be surprised.
because how 20th edition is. Even 5th
WoD
probably
Dark
too.
Ages, WoD Wild West,
But I'm
WoD
gonna,
Victorian,
we
WoD
always shit on
incredibly
5th
vibrant-
because it is 5th, and it's like, and it's like D&D 5. Nobody
Hey,
doesn't like.
I was just about to say, hey, I hate D&D 5th edition. I'm sure I'd hate this 5th edition.
Yeah, it's made by the same people, so probably is why you would. It's made by because Wizards of the Coast decided to do all this shit after
It's a
buying
legendary
everything
warp
up.
Scene. There's a lot. Fortunately, it's not all half as intimidating when you realize the base mechanics of World of Darkness are all incredibly simple. Better still, for all their subvariants and additions.
Hey, it's
and blah,
Nosferatu.
blah, blah,
Sorry,
blah.
no, it's
Outside of the unique
that's
gimmicks
Vlad.
for each supernatural subtype, the core mechanics deviate
That's our
very
Samichi book.
little between the games. That's because every mainline book you aren't playing can serve an additional purpose as a bestiary. Your non-furry friends deny you the opportunity to run the werewolf game of your dreams? That's fine. Throw a mid-level Get a Fenris into their condominium and watch the fireworks. The sole exception, of course, is 5th, but even then it can be done. It's different. But not
Yeah, you
that
crossover stuff. You can 100%. You can 100% cross over every single fucking thing in this game series. You can, because they have rules for it, and they're easy to do.
Mechanics!
So how simple is
Mechanics.
it? Simpler than D&D, to be honest. The core mechanic of WoD is this. All editions utilize a simple D10-based dice pool
Yep.
system. D10s look like this, and character sheets look like this. At character creation, you decide which skills and attributes your character has by filling in the dots with the game's allotted budget. Dots
Yes.
represent how good you are at something. 1 dot is below average, 2 is average, 3 means you can make a career out of it, 4 means you can make a great career out of it, and 5 means that you're one of the best in the world. Someone with Strength 5, for instance, is one of the strongest people on the planet.
Yeah.
Someone with Medicine 5 might be an internationally acclaimed neurosurgeon, whereas a med student might have Medicine 1 and a nurse Medicine 2.
Yeah.
So, putting that into practice. This character has 3 dots of firearms and 3 dots of dexterity.
Oh,
they're
boy.
a good shot, and they're fast to boot.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, a blood-sucking freak of nature is running right at them. They need to put those skills to good use. They need to roll to shoot that bastard into the Stone Age. When making a roll, you take a relevant attribute with the skill you're using, in this case, dex and firearms, and count their combined dots.
6.
Then you just roll that many dice, and boom.
How many
You have a
successes do you
target
get?
number, usually 6s, and everything above that on the dice are successes.
Yep.
Tally your successes, and that's the result of your roll. In this roll, we got 3 dice hitting our target number.
That's
So we
not
got
easier than
successes.
D&D at
Majority
all.
ticked. With rare exceptions, this is essentially how every action in the game is
I'm sorry,
performed.
D&D,
One stab
roll
attack,
D20.
plus melee.
Okay,
One
what
attack,
action are you
plus
doing?
melee,
Look at
plus
sheet.
special.
Add number to dice roll. Congratulations. You can figure out whether or not you passed or not. If you succeed and you're doing a combat, you roll a separate die
Simpler
for
than
damage,
D&D,
depending
I
on your
agree.
weapon.
of this system are its ease of use and flexibility.
I could go.
Example,
No.
Firearms' typical function is to point guns in people's directions and pull the trigger.
Don't do it. Just because I'm making jokes. Why you do this?
No, it's not jokes. You're poking a bear.
The D&D bear? How's your D&D going on your phone,
Yes.
by the way?
Perception plus
Fantastic,
firearms
actually.
determine
Thank
what
you.
kind of guns
You're welcome.
took some poor victim's brains out. Hell,
The guy's
You can't
dead.
just buy me out that with cheap praise, skank.
Impress your fellow
Cheap
gun
what?
freaks by speaking enthusiastically
What?
like your Raifu with charisma
Raifu?
firearms. Alternatively, if you're about as intimidating as a baby capybara, as a last-second desperation ploy, perhaps you can scare off an encroaching foe with a sick display of gunmanship.
Wee, spin.
Manipulation plus firearms. Roll high, or else you might catch a hollow point in the skull for your troubles.
Ooh,
Are
oops.
these combos the only combos?
Did you see that? Did you see that? His body just fucking bent like a fucking putty.
That happens.
Absolutely not. Sometimes actions can actually be accomplished through multiple combinations of skills and attributes. For instance, a storyteller might allow you to field strip a firearm with the firearms, technology, or craft skills, but not all roles are equal. A storyteller may require more successes for roles they think are a stretch. I typically wouldn't disallow a Dr. PC to synthesize a drug using medicine, but I might make it easier if they used science, chemistry, or botany instead. Personally, I love letting my players get creative with skill use. It's the same reason why I encourage most PCs to have a few useless skills. Sure, your 2 dots in law might seem useless at first, but when the party face fails to convince that cop that you definitely 100% know nothing about the string of disappearances you've been causing, your Dark Horse law skill could be the difference between getting him to come back with a warrant and a prison arc.
Oh shit.
That's sort of the soul of what makes WoD, you know? It's got an incredibly easy to get into dice system that doesn't overly concern itself with mechanics bloat. It's not completely rules light, like Powered by the Apocalypse, but it's less
I've never heard of
hindered by
that.
exacting systems and, like, I don't know.
Have you ever heard of that?
Item carry weight.
I have
What
not.
can you carry? I don't know. What the storyteller thinks you can carry. If it beggars belief, make a check. Okay, you'll know how carrying all that weight affects you. A good, adaptable storyteller and a gaggle of creative miscreants can have a
my
hell
God.
of a time telling their
Look at that wig that
stories
guy's
of the
wearing.
system. And really, what more can he ask for?
Part 6.
Part 6. The end.
The end.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's more. A lot more. Too much to willingly shove into one video. I could clobber you with tales of the spirited LARP scene, talk about all the incredibly poorly aged WoD supplements, like the Mafia book. Oh my god, Elsa loves the Mafia book. Next slide, get it. Being honest, each WoD game line would take its own video to get into the gritty of them, the unique mechanics, themes, and other nuances. So fuck it. If you want more videos breaking down individual WoD game lines, let us know in the comments. But for now, to avoid a deadly bloated mass, we'll wind down here. So let's review. Step 0, play Bloodlines.
Yes.
Step 1, get a good group. Step 2, pick your game and edition. Step 3, pick a day, time, and place. And step 4, start running. Do all these things, and the world of darkness should open up to you. I love WoD. It's the most fun I've ever had rolling dice. I hope with this video and Hunter the Parenting, we've helped some folks get into this incredible game and community. And if we haven't,
Failure. Perhaps next time.
You have watched an Ogre Popenang video essay.
Yes.
Written and presented by Speaker D.
Him, the guy still talking.
Animated by Carl the Deranged, Garrett, Alpha Busa, and Dr. White.
Yes.
Script editing by Speaker D, Erndil, Alpha Busa, and
Dr.
White.
Wyrm.
Audio composition by Carl the Deranged and Alpha Busa. Audio mixing by Stringstorm. Music by Macker, Glowtide, Stringstorm, Carl the Deranged, and Vrinde.
Well, WoD is
In-house art
more
made by
focused on
Install
role playing than
Two,
dice
Iron
rolls most of the time. The dice system is
Elephants,
very time consuming. I agree, Nate.
High-end male
I've played a lot of games,
modeling
and
by
sometimes the
Speaker
rolls
D.
can be
Mutilation
time consuming for
of
WoD.
high-end male modeling
But if you like
by
more role
Vrinde.
playing, then
Additional
yeah, I would
examples
recommend
of
WoD over
vampire the
D&D.
Masquerade Bloodline
Which I
But
would
if you
do.
like a healthy balance of combat and storytelling, then hit Weeb up anytime for a DM. I got you, nigga.
For a DM? Slide into your
Yeah.
DMs?
Yeah, and I'll dungeon master any game you want, nigga.
Okay.
By Alex Sheichman, Leif Jones, Michael Gatos, Guy Davis, Rob.
Yeah, moving on past that. Look, modern genie expectations.
The lamp! The lamp! Ah, my wish will be granted! I wish you were my girlfriend, mommy, sister, wife, toe mistress!
Oh god, Porky, the last part there. Mommy, sister, toe, wife, mistress. Toe.
yes.
Toe wife. But look what it is. It's a dude! Look at that genie. Look how disappointed he
I
is.
don't like him.
Look how disappointed he is.
Yes.
I wish you were a girl.
No,
No.
With sexy feet.
I'm just going to leave you in the desert to die, okay?
Okay. Alright. Now time to learn about the Wyrm, Weeb.
What happens when death goes
Yeah.
crazy because it was tied up?
So this
by
is
one
the
of its
Maple
siblings?
storyteller. He's Canadian, but he knows things.
Oh, he's a
It turns
gem
into a
Yeah.
three-headed hydra of entropy, death, and destruction. That's what.
Ah,
Today we're
that's
talking
why
about
I'm
the
getting
Wyrm.
cold. My heated blanket turned
Hello,
off.
everyone. Welcome to the Maple Table. My name's Nathaniel. This is a channel
The
where we
Maple
discuss
Table.
lore around
Not
some
Maple
of your
Lodge, excuse
favorite
me.
role-playing games, such as Starfinder, Werewolf the Apocalypse. If that's something you're
I
interested
don't know what the
in,
fuck Starfinder
I would love
is.
to have you join me at the table. And you can do that
Do you
by
know
hitting
what that
that
is?
subscribe button and that bell notification as well. If you didn't
Is that
understand
related to
the joke that
Pathfinder
I
put in
just made,
space?
then I will suggest you check out the video that I did on the Weaver up here. Link will also be in the description below. Outside of Gaia, the Triad, the Wild, the Wyrm, and the Weaver are the three greatest spirits that exist in this spiritual hierarchy. And there's also a name that's given to the three heads of the Wyrm, and they are more of a perversion of the original concepts of the Wild and the Weaver. Each head of the Wyrm has its own name. It is referred to collectively as the Triadic Wyrm, but you will also find that the names of the individual heads are Wyrm of Calamity, Wyrm of Consumption, and Wyrm of Corruption. In the Guru history and some of the other
Garud.
Changing Breed histories, they all tell the same story, but they tell it in very different ways. The three spirits,
Starfinder
the
is
Triad,
Pathfinder,
were
but several hundred
responsible
years
for
in the future. I
creation,
see.
preservation, and destruction of life. Depending on who you ask, they would tell you that Gaia created the three. Some would tell you that they always existed, and others would tell you that they were created one after the other in a logical order. Whatever the case, life still does have a beginning and an end and an order in between it. Some mages or the Ascended might even call this entropy. It also goes by another name, and that would be oblivion. And that's a whole other space that you really don't want to be involved with.
We'll get there, eventually, because that's part of Wraith.
Entropy is the force of destruction.
We're getting there,
decay,
eventually.
Death. And in its ideal form, it also represents purity. Entropy is also representative of the Wyrm, as that is the Wyrm's duty. It was the Wyrm's job as part of the Triad to complete the cycle of life. The Wild created, the Weaver made order, and the Wyrm completed the life cycle. It consumed,
ends.
destroyed. Everything needs to have an end.
Yes.
But since the Wyrms slip into madness, entropy is actually a very dangerous thing now. It has been tainted and corrupted now by the essence of the Wyrm. When the Wyrm lost control after Weaver had imprisoned it,
Oops.
Wyrm thrashed about. It was very much unhappy with this situation, and it was trying to get out of this. The Weaver was sick of the Wyrm's destructive capabilities and messing up its perfect order, or what it perceived to be its perfect order. And the Wyrm, in response to losing its place in the cosmos, losing this balance, drove itself to insanity and split itself.
That's fine. That's fine, right? It's fine.
Into 3 parts, thus creating the Triadic Wyrm.
Ooh, look at
the
that.
Croatan also have a connection to the Triadic Wyrm, and I will talk about them in a little bit.
That's Sasha.
The first head of the Triadic Wyrm is called Beast of War. It is called the younger brother by the Pure Tribes. It is a monster of boundless and endless rage.
What do you think of that art, Weeb?
That's pretty fucking sick, dude.
And it seeks to
That's really fucking sick.
Destroy everything.
It's scary. I don't like it, but it's sick.
Warhead would actually have similar powers to that of the Wild, were it not bound by the Weaver.
Oh.
Albeit it would have a corrupted version of this. Its limitless rage fuels this head onward, and it has a destructive instinct that will guide it along its path. It's this rage that it draws its creativeness from. The Beast of War head also has many, many minions that it controls, its forces of destruction. They range themselves from self-destructive...
That was, those were fucking, the Beastmen from Warhammer. That was that image, I could tell.
Shock troops...
From Warhammer Fantasy.
Kamikaze and explode in their enemies.
It's fine.
And they go all the way up to giant, hulking monsters. On the human side of things, Beast of War can take what would be healthy competition and turn it into a brutal battle. Friends become enemies over trivial things, or what would start out as trivial things. And during the Banestorm event, the Beast of War minions were unleashed on Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Eater of Souls is the second head of the Triadic Wyrm.
That
This
sounds like
one
a
is
fun.
called
Oh,
Moon
look
Brother.
at that one. Look at that worm. How's that make you feel? Look how cracked it is.
I really don't like it.
By the Pure Tribes. And the Croatan have another name for this, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, but I'm going to give it a shot anyways. Japijkam. I
Japijkam?
probably killed it, but the spelling will be right over here. The Eater of Souls is the worm of
Japijkam.
consumption, and it feasts and gorges on matter, spirit energy, spirits, anything that it finds delicious and satisfies the tummy. Eater of Souls holds humanity as a special case for them. It really, really likes them. Not only are they delicious, they also have lots of nutritious food for worm spirits who want to feed on corruption.
Ooh,
In
good.
the 16th century, the Eater of Souls nearly brought about the apocalypse. It had drawn so much power from the disease and the hunger that was running rampant in the New World. It had drawn enough power that it was able to actually breach the gauntlet
Oh,
and
shit.
come into the physical world.
Oh,
and
boy.
where it had actually broken through and come into the physical world was at a tribe of the Croatan. Under a desperate circumstance, the Croatan tribe was actually able to banish this
You know what the
spirit
Croatan
back
are?
to the Malphaeus.
I do not.
They are werecrows.
But it cost them everything. The entire tribe got together and performed a rite, and this rite was so severe that it cut them off from their totem. It also prevented any kinfolk from giving birth to any more or new
I think.
Croatan with no connection to their totem.
Rip.
It just went to sleep.
Yep.
And when their totem had actually gone to sleep, it rendered all of their magical items useless. The ancestor spirits were also gone. They had no connection to them anymore. The Eater of Souls consumed them.
Oh, boy.
It also consumed their spiritual essence as well, and this led to the ultimate downfall of the Croatan tribe. I know I haven't really talked about them. If there's enough interest in them, I'll see what I can do about putting together a video on the Croatan.
He's got a lot of videos
Despite
on his
the
channel.
Massive cost
Obviously.
to the Croatan and everything that
But we're
they
just watching a few from
sacrificed.
him. We're gonna watch 3
All
videos
that
from
they
him
were
tonight.
able to do
This is the
was
first one was
banish
about the Wyrm.
spirit back to the
So we can
realm
learn
from
more about
which
the
it
Wyrm.
came. They didn't hurt it.
He doesn't
They
know all
didn't
that much about
destroy
the
it.
Wyrm.
They
He kind of
just
does, but he knows.
I do not
sent it
know.
back home.
But now you know more.
Before we talk about the Defiler Worm and some of the lesser
The Defiler. Now that
worms,
sounds like a great guy
if you
right there.
enjoyed
The
video today,
Defiler
then please let me
Worm,
know by giving
right?
it a good old
I'm sure
thumbs
nothing
up.
bad will happen
That's
with
right.
the
If you want to get
Defiler
more
Worm.
videos like this for myself, then please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. The channel crossed a major milestone last week. We crossed 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Thank you.
This was a few
everyone
years ago, by the way.
who
This video was
subscribed to
older.
the channel
It was
to
like
make
2 or
this
3 years ago.
possible. I never really thought when I started out that 1,000 of you would think what I had to say was interesting. Nor did I think I would have as many patrons as I do right now. There are 3 of you.
Wow, 3 whole
Kingroot,
patrons.
Warpony, Duckminster, thank you so much for your
Warpune.
above and beyond support. The last head is the Defiler Worm, and this is the head of corruption. It's a
Yep.
little interesting because
Oh,
this
look at
head
that art,
represents a
Weeb.
mockery of
How's that make you feel?
That's. I mean, it's again icky buggles, but it's really good art.
Oh, yeah.
Really
worm
fucking well
itself.
done.
The Defiler Worm is actually able to see inside your thoughts.
Oh, boy.
And know what your weakness is and exploit it. Once
That's
it's gotten
fine.
a hold of you, it will play to your weaknesses, play to the things that draw you that maybe you shouldn't, and it will make you take more and more risks as it calls you with its siren song. Some of the Shadow Lords and the Uktena, they believe that the first victim of the Defiler Worm was the Defiler Worm itself.
Oh.
They believe that the
Oops.
Defiler Worm is driven by its endless self-loathing. And they also believe, maybe correctly, that if the Defiler Worm was to corrupt everything, that is how it will restore balance. And during the Bane Storm, its minions were actually released in Asia. Some ways that you
Oh,
can
boy.
see the influence of the Defiler Worm comes from mages who try to summon powers that are greater than them. It also manifests itself in some arrogance of werewolves who think they can control spirits greater than them. A tribe who also succumbed to the influence of the Defiler Worm would be the White Howlers. And
The
I will
Black
do a
Spiral
video on them
Dancers.
later. But suffice to say, they
That's
thought
the
they
Black
could
Spiral
just
Dancers
go
before they
into
became
the
the Black Spiral
Labyrinth
Dancers.
to grab some forbidden knowledge
Holy
which they could then
dancers!
use in the fight against the worm. You know who else is under the influence of the Defiler Worm? Pentex.
And we'll get to Pentex actually as the next video after this. The big mega
Oh.
corporation. That's right.
A lot of the influence of Pentex and its operations can be traced back to the influence of these 3 worm heads.
Yeah.
There are so many
Not just the
creatures,
Defiler
and
Worm,
there is
all
so
3
much
heads,
worm
but the Defiler
influence
Worm's the
that
biggest
needs
one
to
they
be
use.
managed. That is why the 3 heads now exist. They now control these worm
That's
minions.
How do you feel about that
The
art?
Eater of Souls is being fed
Look
from
at that.
That's pretty badass.
the foulness of the world, and there's a lot of foulness that's going around right now. Beast of War uses its influence to start fights, instigate riots. A lot of the things that we've seen happen in North America right now, you could trace back to the Defiler Worm. And the
There's no
Defiler
one right now.
Worm rejoices in the suffering on the minds and souls of people everywhere. And each of these heads controls an army of
I mean, I don't know when he says right now, like what time he's talking about, like what do you mean by right now? Because this is not recent. If it was recent, I know exactly what you'd be talking about. I don't know what it was right now because this is an older video. Like what, the Floyd fucking riots, the summer of George Floyd.
Emotions. They will take on corrupted elements. For example, you have urgeworms of hate,
Yep,
urgeworms
urgeworms.
of lust and fear, as well as many other powerful emotions.
It's
You
fine.
will also have urgeworms that take on corrupted elements. Balefire is one of these such examples, and it has also affected the Rokea, and I have done a video on the Balefire sharks, which I will link up here and in the description
And
below.
yes, those are corrupted sharks. Were sharks. That's great, right? Balefire sharks. That sounds great.
Yeah, fantastic. I like, good sharks on land, Gene. That's that makes me happy.
Street sharks. Street sharks. That are evil.
They wouldn't be street sharks.
No, they'd be evil.
They'd be asshole sharks.
They'd bite for sure, and then they'd fight.
And each head is near impossible to sever. The worm repeatedly lives events that have happened. It is reliving its past, its torturous past. And with it being stuck in the Malphaeus, there really isn't
That's some cool art too, isn't it?
anywhere that it can go. It's trapped
Yes.
physically in the Malphaeus, but it is also trapped in a
Tempest,
prison
Kingdom
the
of Obsidian.
mind.
Ah, that sounds like a
It's
badass
desperately
place.
trying to
Kingdom of
figure out
Obsidian
what
is
went
related
wrong
to
with the
that is actually Wraith stuff. That is their kingdoms. We'll get to there. We're getting there.
cosmos and what
That's
it
just
can
that's gonna
do
be the
to
longer
correct
video.
it.
Wanna know how long
The
that
only
video
saving
is?
grace for
9
reality
years.
That
is
video
that
isn't 9.
each of
No,
these
that video isn't
3
9 years
heads
long.
of
It's
the
an
worm
hour
have
and
their
12
own
minutes long.
personalities, their own goals and
Oh, wow.
motivations.
Yes.
They are not aligned. However, if the 3 heads were to ever start cooperating, I believe that would be highly unlikely.
Yes.
But if they were, it is said that these 3 would become powerful enough to swallow Gaia whole. The worm is interesting and made out to be the de facto bad guy in much of Guru lore and the way that everything's written. But the worm, I would argue, is more of a victim of the Weaver. If the Weaver hadn't decided to go crazy and get mad at the worm for destroying all of its stuff, none of this would really happen. But because it has been trapped for so long, the influence, the corruption, the ill intent has just been there for so long, it has really built up a horde of unpleasantness.
It's fine.
And it's through this unpleasantness that you can throw a lot at your players. There's lots of ideas that you can use in the Book of the Worm, which I have behind me. And I will
Yes,
also
and I will soon have that book. That will be mine soon. I bought that.
Nice.
And I will also have some affiliate links in the descriptions below. You can also look at creating some of your own insidious monsters, things that would be attached to maybe a strong emotion or maybe powerful spirits that have affected current events. It is very easy to integrate these into stories that you would like to tell. The
Yes.
worm is always good for being an influence for your baddies, but don't make him the actual big baddie because your party will most likely never ever fight it.
No.
Nor do you want to have death just disappear. That's bad for everybody.
Yes.
If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you...
Alright, another one of these meme videos. Based Pinky.
Quinn, I lost all my money on the horses again.
You know what that's like, Weeb.
Should I jump the bridge already?
Mhm.
Would you take care of Woody?
Pippi, sweetheart, you're not allowed to die until you at least paid off your tab. Maybe pick up a second job like what I'm doing.
Oh, I got no taste, no feminine appeal like you do, Quinn. I can't pull it off. I'm worth less than the mushrooms on Woody. You know he makes more coin than me.
I know something you can do, sweetheart. In fact, I think we can help each other out.
Oh boy.
I've got an eye for talent, you see, and I notice you've been singing so sweetly when you're alone. I want you to perform tomorrow night in the Soggy Pantaloons. We'll be making mad mithrills, darling. Oh, I'll finally have customers! This is the best way to promote my tavern.
Oh boy.
Maybe I'll finally have
boy.
regulars that's not a coinless bum like you, Pippi. I'm talking nobles and rich clientele.
Well, it's true. That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
In it.
Don't worry about promotion and marketing, sweetie. I can pull some strings if I really need to. All you need to do is sing. They're saying the worst ranked jester is singing? This is going to be hilarious.
She got the Pink Powder's endorsement, though, so she has to be decent.
I'm so ready to boo her and throw tomatoes. Thank the fundamentals. You're finally singing on a stage.
Seems like you're more popular than expected, Jester Girl. This takes a lot of cojones, amiga.
Cojones.
I wouldn't
was
miss
that,
this for the world.
was that a fuck? That goblin looked like that goblin was like Mexican.
That was.
Bippy, we're here!
All right. Well,
Embarrass
Gene, let
yourself,
me.
Rob.
I hate to break it to you, but in the newest, well, edition of D&D, Wizards of the Coast has made all goblins and orcs look Mexican coded. I'm not shitting you. Nate can confirm it.
Why is that? What the fuck?
Properly
Because gay
bribed.
California
No
liberals, maybe?
I'm not here to collect
Pro-
your debt
more than
today.
likely.
Show me your stuff.
Why did you all come here?
Alrighty. Now it's time to learn about Pentex,
Do
Weeb.
you see it?
So this is the, what is the name of this guy's channel? This is the Primogen. So let's take a listen about Pentex. You ready to learn about super evil?
See, right there,
Do you see
Mexa orcs confirmed.
Can you smell it?
Like they literally have fucking like Mexican mustaches and shit too, and wear ponchos and whatnot. It's like it is like legitimately wild.
Yes.
Stop.
I'll shut up now.
No, you're fine.
Breathe
You don't have to shut up. I paused because
Centuries.
I'm not gonna let the video be interrupted by
There.
that.
Now you have.
You can speak. You know I let you
That's
speak all your speak,
stage.
bruh.
It
But
is corrupt.
I'm gonna pause the video if you're
It is
if you're talking
death.
about something. I don't want to
It
interrupt
is
you.
all around you. It has surrounded you since you were born. You grew up in it. You have become blind to it. Your toys, your games, your
Yes, it's so here's the thing, Weeb. Imagine like Amazon, Facebook, and Netflix as one big corporation. Imagine that.
Oh.
That's what Pentex basically is. And they're not just that. Guess every kind of thing you probably ever had. Like, I don't know. The fucking let's say the queso you eat made by Pentex. The meat you
shit.
the fast food place you go to made by Pentex. Everything by Pentex, pretty much. The Pentex is a huge corporation.
own, your food, your clothes.
Yes, everything.
All
Pentex.
of it is tainted.
By Pentex.
All of it is
And
vile
Wyrm.
beyond compare. And all of it springs from one of the Wyrm's most devoted servants, Pentex.
Pentex.
You would not be at fault for not knowing about Pentex. They rarely act in public anymore, employing one of their countless subsidiaries
Yes.
to do
Just
the
imagine
deed.
again. Imagine if you knew Netflix, right? Let's say you know Netflix is a corporation. But let's say you don't realize the streaming service you use now is by Netflix because it's used from like several other shell companies. So it's like it's called itself like Quick Flicks or something, or Holy Flicks or something like that. You know what I mean? Keeps the name Netflix, but it's not really fully there. That's what Pentex is because they have massive other corporations
for them,
and shell
eventually
companies.
gutting said business if it becomes a liability, liquidating its assets and shifting human resources to any of their other tendrils. It
Look
is
at
a
that! Look at that
hybrid.
fucking doll
It is a
she's holding that
logical
has the
beast
huge double D
bloated
tits.
with corruption and evil, an
I'd buy
evil,
it.
toxic spewing head.
Oh
serves
look,
only
video
to
games that
bring
encourage you to
Gaia
kill
further
werewolves.
into the destroyer's grasp. Surely, you say, something this twisted would be discovered, rooted out. Is humanity so blind to
Black
something
dog, there we
threatening
go.
its very existence?
Making fun of themselves.
Perhaps. Or perhaps the mayor of a small, dying town chooses to look the other way as he signs the fracking permit for Endron, knowing that it
Endron,
means the
that's another
survival
company.
of his beloved hometown. Perhaps consequences are difficult to think of when you are struggling to make ends meet, working
Oh,
dead-end
and just in case you're wondering, Weeb, yes, there are vampires that are higher up in Pentex's corporation too. Because of course there
That
are.
makes sense.
Because of course there are.
jobs and living in a condemned apartment where
Some
the water
Ventru,
is
some
rust
Malkavian,
red
some-
and the heating only
I don't know,
works
there's a
half
lot.
of the time.
Maybe
the
some in the
promise of
Sabat, maybe
paid
some from the
holidays,
Camarilla, who knows?
Stock options and top health insurance is enough to make one not read the fine print too
Probably the
carefully.
Camarilla though.
The Wyrm corrupts, and who is more easily corrupted than the desperate and the destitute? Certainly there are many unscrupulous senators, CEOs, and sales executives who won't bat an eye when the reports come in about the environmental destruction caused by their greed. But ultimately this system can only exist because it is
Look at
self-perpetuating.
look at that seagull. Look
Creates
how
the same
fucked up it
misery
is.
it promises to fix. The Garou may slaughter Fomori servants and burn factories, but as long as there are mouths to feed and rents due, there will always be those desperate enough to sacrifice what they have so that those they love may have it better. The Fomori will multiply, new meat in the grinder, and the factories will be rebuilt. All in the endless cycle of short-term profit and callous disregard for natural balance or human lives. And it is all so much easier than the alternative. Human greed and laziness likewise are two of the Wyrm's most potent tools in its arsenal. But to return to the subject
he's
at hand,
speaking
Pentex was once
maggots.
premium oil,
Yes.
owned and managed by a ruthless oil tycoon by the name of Jeremiah Lasseter in 1865. Lasseter was inspecting one of his drilling sites where there had been a series of accidents when he found himself facing an ancient Bane spirit that
It's fine. An ancient Bane spirit tried to like attach himself to this guy. I'm sure it's fine, right, Weeb? Ancient Bane spirits aren't like totally evil.
It should be fine. That'll be
had
all
been
right.
imprisoned
Don't worry
long
about it.
ago by the Garou. Lasseter was a man of tremendous will, and the creature could not dominate him, and thus the two struck a deal. Lasseter
Literally, I'm too willpowered to say you're taking over my body. Fuck you. Okay, I got a deal then. Okay, that works. Businessman him if you can't take over his mind, because that makes sense.
Lassiter keeping
Take
his
over
life
Porky's wallet, and I
every
got
creature
you.
working through him
He doesn't
and
have a
his
wallet.
company to further the Wyrm's goals.
He's a poor.
His coin purse.
Lassiter was
His
already
coin
a
purse.
brilliant businessman, but this gave him the edge to expand his company far beyond his wildest imaginations. Yet, as it grew and expanded, his control over it would loosen, and eventually he committed suicide, cut off from his own company.
But did he though? Did he though?
Company would
Did
then
he,
go
though?
through a series of executive directors and had its name changed to Pentex under the leadership of Colin Jenner, who also founded a board of directors to more easily manage the company's vast holdings. Jenner acted under the influence of the very same Wyrm spirit that had once struck a deal with Lassiter,
Yep.
and found, to his surprise, that most of the other board members he'd recruited
Yes, have the same spirit trying to influence them too. Isn't this great?
similarly had a business relationship with a member of the Triad.
It's fun.
One after another, the executives would come and go, most suffering horrible fates, yet new men, and eventually women, in tailored suits would be ready to take their places.
Yep.
Finally, it would fall under the stewardship of Benjamin Rushing, a former professor at a major university who had sat on the board for several years before ascending to the throne. During the company's rise to power, not only did Pentex form an alliance with the Black Spiral Dancers, they also joined in a collaborative agreement with the Sabbat of the Vampires, Harold Zettler, a depraved and twisted
Okay,
Malkavian
so yes. Oh yeah, it's the Sabbat. Never mind. It's not the Camarilla, so the Sabbat helped them as well. Isn't that good? Isn't that great?
tribute, earning
my
himself a
boys.
seat on the
Oh,
board.
it's but he,
Porky is a Porky is Diddy.
Porky is what? Porky is a what?
A Diddy.
Wow. Did he though?
Is kept to this day.
But
To
yeah,
those employed by
the guy who
Pentex,
basically
their
did this
work
stuff for them
quickly
was an
becomes a
anti-tribute
high, if
Malkavian.
not the highest priority
So that's
of their
fun.
life. Through subtle and not so subtle influence from both
You know what Malkavians
corporate
are in the
slogans,
vampire
team
lore,
building
right?
exercises, and weak Banes
Know of their
introducing
name. I really don't.
watercolors,
I
food
didn't
plots, and offerings.
Know what
delve
they've-
too deep into their lore.
So Malkavians are. Let's imagine the fact you basically know the truth about everything, but you're like schizophrenic. So that's pretty much what the Malkavians. They know things they shouldn't know. Like the world, they understand stuff, but because they're fucking anti-tribute blood. Sorry, not their anti-tribute. Their antediluvian blood. He was kind of a crazy person that was a seer. So yeah, they all have that. That's fun, right? That basically they can know the truth.
Always,
about things.
yeah, always fun.
Oh yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
Supplies, the drone-like workers who compose the majority of Pentex's employees soon come to view everything but the growth in their quarterly reports as secondary. Pentex's management is split in a strictly hierarchical structure with
When we watched Seth's
Benjamin
video, he
Rushing
talks
at the
about the
top,
Malkavians,
the
that
other
you know
executives
things that you
given
shouldn't
different
know,
branches
which is,
or
it's
divisions
the
over
game's
which they
technically
maintain
spoiling you without
almost
realizing
full
it's
autonomy.
spoiling you, you know what I mean?
There is a constant struggle
Mhm.
for power even within the board.
Look at that.
And over time, prominent members, including
Good luck,
Mr.
Hal.
Oh, you know.
Giovanni of finance,
It says good
have
luck,
Oh,
Hal,
hey,
on the
there's
thing.
Hal.
gone
Yeah.
missing permanently.
Wow, Hal, you got a really
Paranoia
chiseled
runs rampant
jawline. Damn,
amongst the
nigga. My
directors,
bad.
and
I've been
like
making
with
fun of
many
a
other arms
fucking
of the
pimp.
Wyrm, this internal strife is one of its major failings. The Wyrm cannot control its agents wholly, and thus it might find its process hampered by the cutthroat culture of Pentex and its many allies and associates. Ironically, the same issue that plagues the Werewolf Nation cripples its enemy, and should the forces of the Wyrm ever unite, they would be utterly unstoppable.
But they don't, though.
The four main divisions of Pentex are acquisitions, operations, project coordination, and special projects. These four divisions also have multiple subdivisions, and the executive director sits atop it all, overseeing the other directors' work and having the power of veto in any decision making, although rarely using it. The executive director also has a personal group of spies and assassins named Team Prime, expert operatives handpicked from other divisions and
Oh boy,
subdivisions
having your own assassins thing in your company is a good idea.
who are extremely loyal to the executive director, and him alone.
I think the executive
offering
director,
Rushing
by the
an
way, is a
extra
Fomori.
edge over his fellow members. Acquisition's main purpose is to incorporate more companies, subsidiaries, and
Look at
allies
Fomori.
into
Oh
the
god, look at
family.
that.
Oftentimes, those they seek to incorporate are already doing the work of the Wyrm anyway, and happily accept these new corporate sponsors. But this division is not above blackmail, libel, and outright assassination to get the job done. Acquisitions also handle all communication and dealings with the Black Spiral Dancers and the Sabbat, some of whom are employed in the first teams. Crack
Yes.
teams of operatives sent in by Pentex to deal with substantial threats and situations, such as particularly troublesome Garou or other changing breeds.
Oh boy.
The Information Collection Systems, the ICS, is the only subdivision of acquisitions and is, as its mother division, managed by Chase Lamont, the joint director. A psychopath and serial killer, Lamont has rapidly climbed the corporate ladder due to his obsessive fixation on detail and information. Nothing slips past him, and the
Jesus, look at those three. They're gonna go. That's a fucking werewolf they're about to fight. Oh no. How unfortunate for them. That's fucked you up territory.
ICS is a monster of a database with dirt on more or less every person with a smartphone,
Vampire.
amassing vast, incomprehensible networks of data in the Umbra maintained by Black Spiral Dancer Thurgs. This information
Thugs.
is even used to spy on company employees, ostensibly in order to improve workplace efficiency. Operations handle the day-to-day running of the massive conglomerate, and thus are in charge of everything from transportation of highly volatile mutagenics to replacing printer ink and paper cups. The director of operations, Adrian Newberry, is an organizational genius who would give FedEx
Wow, Weeb, it's you.
a run for their money in terms of efficiency.
How dare you say
Yet,
my
as
beard
he
looks
has
like
little
that, you
care
Nick?
for
I got a
workplace
full
safety,
beard.
It falls upon
Well, he's got like
Catherine
the
Mollett,
apish
the
look, I
director
think,
of the
maybe.
Human Resource
It's
Development.
not really. It's not like. Look, almost. Look at that. That's a weird face. A little bit.
Yeah, I don't like it. It is a little apish.
Yeah.
To ensure that staff
That guy's just
work,
dead.
eat, sleep, and live Pentex. She is equally ruthlessly devoted to her work, knowing that happy employees, or at least gratified ones, are far more likely to improve the company's results in the long terms, and it has shown results. She is constantly at odds with Chase Lamont, whom she loathes for his murderous practices, as well as the attention it's gained from the FBI, and
Oops.
whose data-keeping practices she feels infringes upon her subdivision. Operations also handles coordination with regional directors in more or less every major city of the world, meaning that Newberry has quite the amount of power at the tips of his fingers.
Oh, we're just smoking
Project
a pipe.
coordination is the biggest division in Pentex, and
that's a cool guy.
as the name implies, ensures that the larger projects of Pentex run smoothly and without interference, and that
I'll take your
market
advice,
shares are
Dr.
cornered
Nathan.
by Pentex-owned subsidiaries without interference from other tentacles of the mega corporation. Franklin Rubin is the current director of the PCD, having filled the shoes first of Enzio
Biological
Giovanni, former director
warfare.
of the financial subdivision, and then Benjamin Rushing after the latter's ascension to the executive director position. It is rumored that Rubin, who keeps to himself when not reporting to the board, is affiliated with an outside organization rivaling Pentex in power
Oh,
and
boy.
influence called the Syndicate, part of a possibly even greater unknown entity. PCD has two subdivisions of note.
I don't know. I kind of doubt that with how this one's tied to the Wyrm so much.
Public
Unless it's the
Relations
Weaver or
and
something.
Finance,
Is the Syndicate
managed
the
by
fucking
Andre
Weaver?
Baptiste and
That'd be
Ursula
weird.
Crane, respectively. Baptiste, a former drug kingpin
Baptiste.
turned PR chief and spin doctor, ensures that public knowledge of Pentex and its operations remain at a constant low, and carefully micromanages its many subsidiaries in order to buffer suspicion and redirect investigations. Crane, meanwhile, rose rapidly through the ranks after she began to hunger for what her co-workers had, drawing the attention of multiple Banes with whom she has formed pacts to
Oh,
reach
boy.
new heights. She is being consumed from the inside out, something troubling her, but she is loath to relinquish the power she has attained, having been handpicked by Rubin himself for the job.
Boy.
Finance approves of all expenditures of the other divisions, and it operates like a clockwork under her care. The SPD, Special Projects Division, is run by Harold Settler, a depraved Malkavian antitribu who finds great pleasure in his experiments upon the human body, plants, animals, and more or less anything else he can get his hands on.
Oh boy.
While the SPD is the smallest division, it is given a significant budget to continue its work, as the tailored Fomori coming out of its labs offers some of the most reliant and destructive agents that Pentex can employ. Hiro Yamazaki is the director of the subdivision
That guy's Japanese.
of Project Odyssey and Aenid, and Francesco, a Black Spiral Dancer, manages Project Iliad. Odyssey's primary purpose is to develop psychic abilities in their test subjects,
Oh.
ranging from psychokinesis to telepathy, and has met with quite some success, either
that's good.
inviting or kidnapping potential candidates and indoctrinating them in the service
That's not creepy. That thing in the bottom that's hiding. That's not creepy at all, right, Weeb?
No, it's not at all.
Project
Just like a
Iliad,
little
on the other side
demon
of the
beast.
spectrum, works primarily with the creation and perfection of Fomori, training agents far more reliable than your usual spontaneous creatures that arise from overuse of Bane-infused Pentex products. Combining the two is Project Aenid, which has seen great success in melding special mind feeder Banes with psychic operatives.
Oh, great.
Yamazaki having saved his career by finally succeeding in this after years of fruitless results, much to the pleasure of Zettler, who is watching this project with keen eyes. There are 3 more directors on the board who only recently were recruited, but who have proven themselves valuable members already. Frederic Pochard, an enigmatic problem solver who
Look at that. It's werewolves dumping toxic waste.
currently has no
Oh, you know,
division
it
under
happens.
him. Ian Robertson, an enemy
Pretty sure it's
turned
a vampire
ally
right
of
there.
Pentex, who was given an offer he couldn't refuse, and who now manages to process
That
and
werewolf's fine. He
integration
just got dumped
subdivision
toxic
under
waste dumped
Franklin
all over his
Rubin.
face.
And finally, Mike Dragonswrath, a refreshingly kill first, ask questions later Black Spiral Dancer in charge of Pentex security.
Never mind. That's not toxic waste. You know what that is? That's biological waste because it's got the biohazard symbol on it. That's kind of even worse in some ways.
What we have covered
Black
today
Dog
is
Game
only the
Factory.
very core of Pentex and its corruption. Through powerful subsidiaries like Endron, an international energy giant, and Magadon, a pharmaceutical megacorporation
Endron and
in its own
Megadron.
right, these agents of the Wyrm continuously expand and secure their position as the cheaper, easier, and more gratifying alternative to more or less every branch of consumerism they can get their claws in. And that's not even counting government contracts.
Yep.
Pentex's size is also its weakness. Rarely does the right hand know what the left is doing, and clever Garou may use this to their advantage, sowing discord amongst the many divisions and their executives. Yet the old adage never runs as true as it does with this foe. Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. For when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you.
It's fine.
This video was brought to you by my patron Dugal, who insisted that we
Dugal.
learn more about this shady foe. Perhaps we shall learn more about their servants in the future.
Maybe. Anyways, from drive-through to live view.
What? 200 more? Why? Okay, I get it. I'll fix that by myself. No need to add that to my rent. Thank you, by the way. My paycheck arrived a bit late this month. Can I pay you this month's rent in the next 2 days, please?
Look, it's Pennywise.
Hey, Pogo, what are you doing there?
Pogo.
The gay bar is on the left 2 blocks from here.
Good evening, Jill. Do you like scary movies?
Haha, very funny, Chuckles. But you need to do better than that to scare me, buddy. Where's my rent?
Oh, it's fear. Where's my rent? 'Cause it's a shapeshifter.
Right.
Where's my rent?
Pay me right now, I'll personally throw you out of my house. Then you'll live with a crackhead under the bridge with those infested rats you complain so much. Hello, 911. There's a scary clown behind my restaurant and he is creepy around. Right now, he has turned into my landlord and threatened my life with the evicted paper. Send help, please.
Send help, please. Alright, we have time to learn about the Black Spiral Dancers, buddy.
The existence of the Black Spiral Dancers represents one of the most tragic losses to the Garou Nation. They are crazy, they are insane, and they believe some pretty weird stuff. Today we're talking about
The insane in the
Black Spiral
membrane.
Dancers.
Yes.
Hello everyone,
Ow.
my name's Nathaniel. This is a channel where we discuss role-playing games such as Starfinder and Werewolf the Apocalypse. If that's something you're into, I would love to have you join me at the table by hitting that subscribe button and that bell
By
notification
hating
that-
so that
by
you get
hating that
notified
subscribe
when
button?
my videos are available.
Yeah,
The
hate that
White
subscribe
Howlers
button,
were once
nigga.
I
one
do
of
hate
the
it. I do
greatest
hate it.
tribes to the Garou Nation. They were the total embodiment of what it meant to be.
Hear that, guys? Gene hates you.
This is
Got
why
him.
their
Got him. I'll be right
complete
back.
disappearance
I'm still
from
going to be
the
listening. I'm just going to be out of
I'm
range of
so
talking, so I'm just going to
stunned
mute.
their European counterparts. The Wyrm was so ravenous that it had consumed the entirety of the White Howler tribe. But
Yep.
instead of completely destroying them, what it did is it took everything that was good about the White Howler tribe and replaced it with its own characteristics.
That's fine.
Basically making a complete mockery of what it meant to be Garou and what that was like. When the Garou Nation first encountered the Black Spiral Dancers, they had an advantage in this encounter, being that the Black Spiral Dancers, when they came out, they were completely disoriented and had no idea what had happened.
The fuck happened?
Essentially, the entire tribe had been walking around through the labyrinth, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So when the Black Spiral Dancers emerged to the physical world as we know it, it was loud, it was disorienting, and when I say it was loud for everybody else around them. For the Black Spiral Dancers, when they came out, it was their souls that were basically screaming around their bodies. The souls of the Black Spiral were so tortured that the way that they were whirling about them physically ripped air from their lungs.
Wow.
And that's what made them scream. They all
That sounds like it really would suck. Like, massively. Awful. Anyway.
also wore
Continue.
the spiritual flesh, as it were, of their familiars
Oh,
around
boy.
them, and this gave almost a burning green glow to them. And they lashed out at everything. In the W20 Book of the Wyrm, it is said that when the Black Spiral Dancers first spoke, they spoke as one voice.
No,
They
like
spoke
Legion?
as Legion.
Oh, that's not
They
good.
begged for release, and they cursed Gaia in the same breath for having created them. Although that's not accurate to what actually happened, they blamed Gaia for their hellish existence. And they blamed the Garou for abandoning them. The first encounter with the
did.
Black Spirals was a vicious and destructive battle. The only reason that the Garou Nation was able to actually win was because the Black Spirals
We're
were so
confused.
disorganized. The way that the Spirals fought was unlike anything that the nation had seen before. They were completely unbound by any of the rules that the nation had imposed on themselves
Oh,
to
boy.
protect the Veil. What isn't entirely clear is exactly where this first encounter happened. My assumption would be that it would have happened in the Scottish Highlands, as
Oh.
that's where the White Howlers were originally from. That's where they threw themselves at the Wyrm. So it would make sense that they would come back the same direction that they had come. Very plausible that that's not the way that it actually happened, but that's how I see things going down. What is clear is that the Garou Nation won by a very small margin. And although they did declare themselves the victors,
Teen would be World of
they
Darkness,
did
Don Beach.
not
I would be,
kill
Bub.
every Black Spiral that came out
You're
of
not kidding.
that battle. And it was after the realization that the White
Just
Howlers
I'm
were
going through
gone
chat now.
that the rest of the nation
Cyrex, so
tried
Cyrex is
to
Mexican, that's why it's good
integrate
eyes.
the
Hi, chat.
kinfolk of the White Howlers into their own ranks, specifically the Get and the Fianna. They told themselves they were doing it because of noble reasons, but really, they just wanted the good breeding stock. The first major mistake of the Garou Nation was assuming that the Black Spirals were just like any other Bane and would be mindless, throw themselves into pointless battles that would damage and destroy themselves. So after the battle, the few Black Spiral that had gotten away did not concern the Garou Nation. The Black Spirals were intelligent, even though they were driven crazy by the labyrinth. The Black Spirals that got away, both figuratively and literally, went underground. There they grew their numbers. They figured out the way the world worked that they were now living. The way that the Black Spiral went about building their numbers. When they were able to stop and think and get their bearings, they were able to realize that they still had their old memories. They still had their old knowledge, where their old hideouts were, where their old tribes were, where the kinfolk were hiding. And basically, they went after all those resources. They pulled their kinfolk down into the Deep Umbra and into the Malphaeus, not necessarily throwing them in the labyrinth, but keeping them there as a breeding stock. The Black Spirals do not have cairns, they have hives. The
Yes,
very
hives.
first Black Spiral hideout was eventually found. The problem was the nation was so divided on what to do with not only the spiral, but also how to divvy up the White Howler tribal resources that they began infighting with themselves, and instead of fixing the problem, they instead fought themselves.
Oops.
So what is the Black Spiral Labyrinth? I've mentioned it a couple of times, and it is something that someone who wants to become a Black Spiral Dancer, although I don't know why you would ever choose to do that willingly, has to go through before they can join the ranks of the BSD, the Black Spiral Dancers. This maze is also called the Ebon Maze.
The Ebon
To
Maze.
the Black Spiral, the labyrinth is a sacred rite. It is a holy place to them, which is terrifying.
That's wild.
Really? David Bowie's bulge is a
and the very act
sacred place to them.
Now he's in range. Hi, buddy.
Hi, yeah, I'm going back out of range. I just had to make that comment. I'll be right back.
Okay.
through the labyrinth is called dancing. Before we move on, this is your mid-video reminder. If you are enjoying the video today, then please
I'm not doing
give me
it.
a big old thumbs up.
I'm not doing it. You're not forcing me,
it lets
Canadian.
me know what kind of content to make for all of you because you appreciate it. And if you want to keep seeing more like this from myself, then please hit that subscribe button and
I'm
use
good.
that bell notification so that
I
you
hate
are notified
that subscribe
as soon as my
button.
videos are
You kept
available.
popping up several
I will
times
have
during
links
this
in the
video. That
description
makes me
for
really
other
not want to
videos
subscribe.
related to what we're talking about today, and some affiliate links if you wanted to pick up
I'm using you for information. I'm doing it. I'm pausing.
some of these books or
I'm not stealing your content. I'm just letting people know what the Black Spiral Dancers are because you're an easy person to use.
Willing or unwilling, will communicate with worm spirits, and these are commonly referred to as urge worms.
Urge.
If you impress one enough, you can gain some form of knowledge or some special gift that would be bestowed upon you by this spirit. Within the spiral, there are 9 circles, 9 levels, if you will, that
Dance
you
of
have
insight,
to
dance of
pass.
rage, dance of endurance, dance of cunning, dance of combat, dance of corruption, dance of loyalty, dance of paradox, and dance of deceit.
Horrendous test that
9
you
circles.
have to pass to be
With
able
the
to
9
move
circles
on
of
to the
hell
next
in
level.
Dante's Inferno.
None who enter the labyrinth escape unscarred in some permanent way. To a Black Spiral Dancer, whatever derangement you get after exiting the labyrinth is worn as a mark of pride. Some believe that the maze hides entrances to other realms,
Oh boy.
such as the underworld. Some believe that it would lead you to the jail of demons or the infamous abyss. The Black Spiral do share some commonality with the Guru Nation in the sense that they have their own litany, their own clan rules, I guess you could call them. And it should come as no surprise that they are to further serve the purposes of the Wyrm. Just one more thing that was corrupted and tainted from the White Howlers and repurposed for the service of the Wyrm. The Black Spiral believe that this is the age of the Wyrm and that it is his time.
It is
your
Wyrm time.
duty as
It's
a Black
Wyrmin
Spiral to
time.
do everything within your power to serve the Wyrm. The Black Spiral do respect the territory of each other, believe it or not. That doesn't stop
Wow,
somebody
amazing.
from claiming it or from challenging another territory or leader of another territory for theirs. They do respect the law or the boundaries of each other's tribes. The Black Spiral are also supposed to teach those who want to learn about pain and suffering and convert them to being Black Spiral Dancers themselves. Sometimes killing your opponent turns them into a martyr and makes the followers of them or the followers of whatever they believe that much stronger.
True.
If you take them off of their pedestal and bring them down to your level, that's much more effective and much more demoralizing for your supporters or for their supporters. The Black Spirals also respect strength. That's how their hierarchy is formed. You're strong, you lead. And with Black Spiral Dancer tribes, they do subscribe to the fact that if you make a kill or you get some spoils of war, the biggest portion goes to that who is your leader. When it comes to fighting for a Black Spiral Dancer, basically nothing is off the table. Unlike the Guru, who would be bound by honor in many cases, it would not be common for a Guru to fight dirty or dishonorably. But the Black Spirals, they're not bound by such morality.
No.
Another tenet of theirs that is probably the most deranged, to me is the most scary. It is indulge your desires. This is your world. Do what makes you happy, whatever that is. And for a Black Spiral, that's a pretty scary thought. And the Black Spiral, they do respect the veil in the sense that they're not ready for it to be lifted yet, but they do desire a time when there is no such thing. There is no separation between the physical world and the spiritual world.
Oh boy.
And the Black Spiral will not suffer the sick or the weak or the
They'll
infirm.
kill them.
They will basically destroy them and cut them out of their ranks. And Black Spiral can challenge their leaders at any time during peace. One of the few things that a Black Spiral will not tolerate is the challenging of a leader during wartime. And lastly, the Black Spirals have a tenet to specifically not endanger a pit.
Their pit.
Pits are
Pits and
integral
hives.
to a hive's survival.
Yep.
And the Black Spiral want to make sure that they do not endanger the safety and
I like this art. It's so cool. It's so damn cool. Just the spiral dances around this like worm pit. I like it.
security of their hives and their pits.
The fact they all look like
I
mutated
really like the
werewolves
Black
too.
Spirals. I know that they're kind of horrific and you should really only play them as the bad guys for any of their stories, and they can make some really good and interesting, quirky bad guys. The Book of the Wyrm contains so much information on, not unsurprisingly, the worm, but also around
Garu, maybe,
and some
maybe
of
perhaps
the interesting places that exist within that.
Look at that!
realm.
It's more of that
It's a
art
very
again too. Look at all that shit.
Yes.
However, I will
the abyss, the
give
kingdom of
a
Jade.
It's been interesting to listen
someone who
to.
has delicate sensibilities, is easily triggered by things.
I don't know much
this
about
book.
Warwolvens.
Why are you
or whatever
playing a
you
werewolf
crazy
the
kids call
apocalypse?
them
This
nowadays.
book and this tribe explores some of the darkest aspects of the world of darkness and puts it basically forefront. I like it. I don't know what to say. I'm personally drawn to the macabre, and I think that shows. Hence, I'm doing lore videos on the world of darkness, and if you can see it, I've got the Wraith the Oblivion.
Oh, he's got the 20 edition behind him.
I enjoy this. I enjoy.
He's not the guy we're going to be watching talking about that. There's another guy that has a longer form video that talks all about Wraith, and you get to learn all that too, Wabe. You'll learn that tonight too, all about Wraith.
First did it, and Onyx Path for their editions, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Hunters is going to do with the 5th edition. And I really hope that they don't shy away from some of this darker material. I know that in today's day and age, that's a big ask.
Yeah.
Tell me in the comments below what you enjoy about the Black Spiral.
It shouldn't be.
Do you use
But
them?
it is with these
Have you
people.
played a game
They're the
where
ones who
your
got into
party
stuff, and they're the
was
ones who really shouldn't be
entirely
getting into
Black
stuff
Spiral
because they can't
That
handle
would
it, little
be
piss
dark.
babies.
But tell
Exactly.
me if you've done that. Up on the screen, I will
Yes, you can. There are rules in that Wyrm book because I've looked through it too. They give you plenty to do if you want to make an actual player character Black Spiral Dancer. So you can play them. You can play these things. Just you're probably going to be doing an evil campaign if you're playing them. Just a thought. Alright, now then one of these.
There was a time when my ego went unchecked. You dare stand against the Inquisition?
Oh boy.
Do you know who I am?
Bitch.
I know who thou art, Sir Pascal, the chosen of temperance. Leave this place with thy dignity, or be struck down like a dog.
Being the chosen of temperance, I could simply disable most forms of magic by simply looking at the caster. But she did not employ any forms of magic. She moved with grace and precision of a veteran elven spear dancer.
Oh boy.
Despite being human. However, I was also no pushover. In fact, I was considered one of the realm's top swordsmen. I had faith that my experience, intuition, and abilities would lead me to yet another triumphant outcome. But I was wrong. Perhaps the wrongest I have ever been in my life. I can't believe it. Bested by a woman. Finish the job, you cool harlot.
Foul mouth to the end, Sir Pascal. Have I not earned a modicum of thy respect?
For once I met my match, but I still lost. This was the only time I lost so fairly, that it almost felt sweet. Tell me your name, so I will remember this slight. At first, anger and hatred consumed my heart.
My name? I am Jeanne, just your average wandering knight.
It's Jean. That would be
I
Jean.
am thy end.
Skank.
But then I realized.
Weeb loves women.
Good Sir Pascal, I will tell thee once and only
I do.
once.
Which one? When their
If
names
thou
said
dare
right though.
cross paths with me
Like
once
Janice,
more,
that's a name he really
my
loves.
face will be the last thing thou
Right, Weeb?
shalt ever
Janice
see.
is a great
Her bloodied face filled with such resolve was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
That sight alone was forever ingrained in my head. I couldn't get her out of my thoughts. No other woman could grab my heart so thoroughly like she did. For once, all my pleasures and vices feels empty and meaningless
Wow.
without her.
Deep. Anyway, time to learn about the Fomori, Weeb.
The Fomori are some of the most recognizable, yet varied enemies of the Guru. They come in a myriad of shapes and sizes, and while they may initially appear as chaotic and random as their patron triad, the Wyrm, there is sometimes a certain method to the madness behind their creation, and one may grow to spot similarities in these creatures depending on how they were created. But before we dive into the specifics, it is important that we first establish what a Fomor is. A Fomor, the singular form of Fomori, is a living creature, most often a human, but not exclusively, that has merged with a Bane spirit and has become an amalgam of the two. Bane spirits, as we know, are those spirits who align with the Wyrm, and they are
Look
not...
at that art, Weeb. How's that making you feel? Look at that thing.
It's ooky.
It is ooky, isn't it?
not the only ones capable of doing this. Indeed, both spirits of the Weaver and the Wild have the ability to create...
So, hey Nate, you want to know what's happened to my D&D game?
And these operate under somewhat different circumstances.
Do you, Nate?
So Nate, what I ended up doing is I somehow managed to talk my way into becoming an emperor, and I'm now ratifying a huge army to sweep over the continent for my vision of a say, hey, everyone can rule their own shit, but I'm just above them. And they're like, that's a revolutionary idea. I'm like, sure, yeah, that's a great idea, and I'm going to marry all your daughters. Yo, how diplomatically brilliant of you. So we're all bound to you, and you can be truly neutral. I'm like, yeah, it's not so I can, have like hostages at all times in case you guys start wiling out.
To cover here.
Yes.
There are countless different kinds of Banes, all representing different aspects of his corrupting influence. But those Banes who tend to possess humans are those closely tied to human concepts and emotions like greed, envy, lust.
When you make Banes, you kind of make on the 7 deadly sins.
Tend to be the ones creating Fomori is simply because they understand their host the best.
Yes.
A spirit may temporarily reside within a host body, but that is not the same as merging with it, which is how a Fomor is created. Emotional Banes tend to feed off from the emotional residue of humans, and therefore often come to haunt locations where powerful negative feelings are prevalent. They, unlike elemental Banes, cannot feed from toxic waste or pollution, but rather need to propagate those festering negative emotions that we as humans may sometimes feel when we set foot
Look at that Bane.
I don't like it.
Certain places.
So that Fomori. That's a Fomori. There's a Bane in that thing. That's still human, by the way.
Children tend to have almost
it's just mutated.
Surging, and I'm the Queen of France.
Is where these
Your Majesty.
May be born.
I'll kill you!
No human being is actually safe from these Banes, for while they may want to feed off particularly emotional individuals, the very presence of these emotions can be enough to attract them, especially if they're hungry. Thus, should you find yourself having a bad day after you accidentally spilled your takeaway coffee on your suit, as you heard to catch the metro, this can be enough for an anger Bane to spot you and follow you. It is not enough for you to be angry, of course. A Bane spirit might ride you for a while, feeding off that anger, but unless you provide a consistent source of its favorite emotions, it might actually eventually move on and try to find a new host to feed off of. Some Banes might create a feedback loop to their host, however, where they influence the human into feeling more of the emotion that the Bane desires, and these are often more successful in creating Fomori. Banes tend to be short-sighted and single-minded. They rarely make plans and can easily be likened to parasites that you find in nature. They don't necessarily even know what they're doing to their hosts, only that they want to keep feeding. Most Banes don't even want their host dead, but due to the negativity of the emotions they feed off of, their presence is
look
very
at that Bane.
Beneficial to their host.
Sorry, look at that Fomori. Keep saying
rather
Fomori.
Driving them closer
but still,
to the
look at it.
point.
How's that make you feel?
Should their host be
I
killed,
really don't like
they
it.
usually don't feel very sad or upset by this, unless they are a particularly vengeful and powerful spirit, but instead just escape into the Umbra to recover their strength before they set out to find a new host to suckle their particular brand of emotions from.
Suckle.
In
Suck.
essence, Banes simply want to keep going.
Soup.
The analog of them being like parasites is an apt one, because they care only about their own survival. If that coincides
Oh my
with
god,
their
look at this
host
guy's
remaining alive,
physiognomy.
it is simply because that is the best way for them to remain fed. This doesn't hold true for all Banes, of course, because just like with other spirits, some
What
are so
the fuck
powerful
is
and
this?
old
Look at
that
him.
they have developed sentience and self-awareness.
Oh, hey,
They
Jigsaw.
actually plot and scheme over hundreds or
Look at all the snakes.
even thousands of years. These spirits rarely possess hosts, however, but should they do so, they often pose a formidable challenge to even the most seasoned of Farah fighting them.
Hey, it's Cyrex.
It is worth mentioning that when a Bane is riding a mortal, feeding off their emotions, that mortal is still able to be rescued. Oftentimes this is a difficult process, but they have not yet hit a point where they cannot be saved. Anger management,
If they
learning
fuse
to
with
feel
them,
hope
however,
again,
that's how it's a
change in
problem.
lifestyle, or even a exorcism.
When they
may be
fuse, it
all
can't
I could
be
tell that
saved.
could be a
to make the
problem,
host
Jimmy.
less
Yes.
interesting for the Bane spirit to try to possess. Of course, considering the times we are living in, it has never been easier for a Bane to find a new host frustrated with their lot in life, angry at the world around them, or unable to break a self-destructive cycle they are stuck in.
Oh, look at that one.
Before we move on from Banes, one of the worst aspects
Look at
of
that
Pentex
Fomori.
and its many subsidiaries
Look at that thing.
Sorry, I'm eating. Yeah, Porky would
they
hate that
found a
fucker.
way to systematically manufacture Banes. In the
Sorry, I
past,
was like
Bane
mid
spirits
burrito
either
bite.
spring
Oh,
from
God,
ancient
look.
sources or from the
Oh my
aftermath of
God.
spiritually
It's
charged
it's
occasions.
got a gene head.
Through
Yes.
extensive research, trial and error, and of course a complete lack of regard for human safety, these
Gene wore that to
companies
the
have found ways to imbue their products
you know how
with
like the
small
Make a Wish
amounts of
Foundation, they
Wyrm
usually send like a
or
clown or
outright
something like
Bane
that to cheer them up
possessions.
before they get their big wish.
Mhm.
Well, Gene got volunteered to be the clown, and he thought that would brighten them up. It didn't work.
It worked
Product, when
fantastically. They
consumed
brightened
or
up all the
used
way to
over
the
a longer
grave.
period of time, twists the mind of the person until they are a suitable vessel for Bane possession. Cheap beer, plastic toys, fast food burgers, or even tainted videos have all been shown to have this influence on the hapless consumers. Of course, not everyone who consumes these products will become a host to a Bane spirit,
No.
and then eventually a Fomor. It is not known if people are willingly allowing these spirits to merge with them, or if they are simply
Oh, look at that
overpowered,
lady's
but considering
face.
how insidious the entire process is, at
Oh.
some point that distinction becomes meaningless. If an
Oh, it's a
anger bane
brain
has been
gnawer. She's
battering
eating that
your
guy's
walls for
brain.
years, feeding off and encouraging your aggressive behavior, then when they offer a release for all that pent-up anger, is it even really a choice at that point? Weakness is a difficult word to throw around, but many researchers into Fomori agree that most of them are created because their hosts were unable to fight off the Bane, or Banes haunting them, and in a
You can have
crucial
multiple
moment
Banes,
where
yeah.
they lack the strength, their souls and flesh will merge with the Bane, becoming a Fomor.
Look at that one.
Whether or not one can blame the victims, and victims they are, of this happening, it is a fact that once this merging has happened, it is close to impossible to save the host. Oftentimes a Bane spirit can be exorcised out of the body, but this will often fatally wound the host. And depending on the changes done
Also,
to the
depending
body,
on what time we
saving them
end,
may
I
be
will probably be showing some spooky shit in the Discord.
Okay.
possible.
I just don't know
The
how
Bane
long Gene
spirit,
has this
however,
planned for.
will
So
survive the destruction
No
of the
promises.
host body
Look at
just
that thing.
fine, which once again
Mhm.
drives home the point of their parasitic nature and the victim
Look at the eyeball.
of becoming Fomori. Human beings may have no intention of causing harm with their actions, or may make the decision that the harm they do cause is justified.
Is that a pregnant
due to
woman? Is
circumstances
that a
outside
baby
of
in
their
there?
control.
What the fuck?
They may
I-
have
I
simply
think
had
so.
a bad day,
Awful.
or they may have been unwittingly consuming products that have been slowly poisoning their minds. They may have been a horrible person, of course, but any Garou who slaughter Fomori without considering the misfortune of these poor wretches may in turn never come to understand the true threat against Gaia and the balance of the Triad. That unless the core cause of this corruption is stopped, there will never be an end to creation of new Fomori, or of human suffering. Once again, it takes a long time for a Bane to possess a human to the point where the two may merge, although this can of course be sped up due to continuous exposure to the Wyrm's baleful corruption. And thus it lies
Pretty sure that
in the
cash
Garou's
register
interest
guy,
to
I
try to
mean,
prevent the source of
with
this
a fast
corruption
food
before it
service
fully
was
takes
a
root.
Fomori.
When a Bane has
Just
first
because of
entered
what
a
he
human,
was, he was
it
like a burger
cannot
ghoul
fully
or
control
something.
their host. They may act
Burger
subtly
ghoul, you
or
say?
directly,
Yeah, he was
trying
some
to
kind of
steer their
fast food
future symbiote
monstrosity.
into acts that will strengthen their bond and make future
fast food
corruption
monstrosity, you say?
easier.
Yes,
Can and
Otellius,
often
your
does
favorite place
resist
to eat.
this, but since one cannot
Where
be
they cook
diagnosed as
the demons
possessed
in the
by
I
evil
would
spirits
never
with modern
eat
medicine,
at
or even
anything
if we
named
should
after
seek
by a
medical help,
fucking
they will
Irishman,
often
Gene.
either be dismissed or
Your
I'd
favorite
rather shoot
On the other
myself
hand,
Your
in
favorite,
the face.
your favorite people, the Irish.
if they receive
I-
actual help in, for example, finding
Now it's
positive-
now it's time for one
Yeah.
of Weeb's favorite questions. All right, Weeb, we've come to that point where you usually ask a question of what would you rather be, but I'm gonna ask it now. Because it's gonna be
Oh
a double hell.
boy, I hate it already. Go ahead.
All right. Would you rather be Irish
Fucker.
or would you rather be Indian?
I'd rather be Irish because my skin might be white, even though ethnically I'm a nigger.
There you go.
But then a street shitting fucking heathen Pajit.
The host
Yes.
might not even want help. And the clever
And hey,
Bane
if
can
you're
stimulate
Southern
the
Irish,
host
you can be
into
Catholic
thinking
still, too.
That it is actually a positive and even pleasurable thing to commit more acts of evil. Eventually, a
Titties.
bond is
You see
formed
that? That
between
was
the spirit
titties.
and the host, and the Bane can move in to take
Let's take a
control.
look at that again.
Positive and even
Look, titties.
pleasurable thing
Those are
to
titties.
Be
commit
like
more
double
acts of evil.
DCC.
Eventually, a bond
Yeah,
is
be like
formed
double
between the
DCC.
spirit
That
and the
too, the
host,
doll.
and the Bane can move in to take control. This stage
Oh
of
my god,
the
he's wearing the fucking, like, cat ear things on his head.
Yes.
possession is a violation of the human, as the
Wolf
Bane
killer.
begins to transform their host's body to better suit their simplistic, darker needs. The human host most often retain their own thoughts and perceptions, but these are tainted by the Bane, and will often
Tainted.
drive the host further and further into corruption. A Bane cannot appreciate music, has no time for socializing, and they abhor love. These reactions seep into the heart of the host, who gradually begins to exhibit the same apprehension to what once made them human. The Bane has no concept of biology or physiology, but it has needs and wants. Often it will find that the host they possess lack the proper appendages, organs, or other traits that they need, and they will force the body to adapt. They very rarely care how the host perceives or experiences these changes, and this in turn further helps break the mind of the victim. Some Banes might instead transform the pain of these changes into pleasure.
And yes, guess what? You can also play Fomori if you wanted to, too. There are rules for these. Isn't that great? You can play
Have you
these
learned
things.
That this may act as an even stronger motivation with humans, especially if this rush can
The
be
funniest
brought
thing
on
is,
again
like, oh
when they
yes, there
perform
are rules
dark
for making them
deeds.
characters for the storyteller.
Once the
Those
possession
same
and
rules can be used to
transformation
make
is
them player
complete,
characters,
the
too.
Bane
Isn't
spirit
that great?
No longer has any control over their host.
I
The
think
human,
that's great.
or what was once human, is essentially the same person, but their twisted perception of reality remains forever. Their bodies may be hideously mutated, or almost completely intact, at least on the outside, but they are now servants of the Wyrm. If they choose to do as the Wyrm wants them to, they may actually become more powerful, but Fomori who instead resist their master's whims, or even still try to retain their humanity, may find their forms further changing. Indeed, Fomori can be slavering monsters or appear perfectly normal,
Yes.
and this is one of the greatest threats they pose. They may insidiously corrupt others around them for years if they are careful and not discovered, and there are stories of entire communities all falling under the sway of Bane spirits and becoming possessed. Pentex is exceptionally good at this and may send their most twisted experiments off to fight in the Amazons, while keeping their more human-looking projects close at hand to further corrupt or entice mortals
Yes.
into becoming Fomori. The sad lesson to be learned from these creatures is that even with good intentions, Bane spirits are purely evil. The changes they bring on their subjects are corruption, even if at first they may seem to be wishes come true. Banes exploit our insecurities, our frustrations, and our often justified sense of injustice to enter into the back of our minds and become that voice that urges us on to more and more extreme measures, until we are so far gone that the only release is death.
Yep. You can play anything
This
in
video
World
was
Tournaments that
brought
the
to you by
storyteller
my
allows,
patron
even regular
God.
mortals. The regular
I
mortals
thank
are
you for your
generally
patience
powerless
and
compared
for
to
the
even the
idea for
lowest
this
level
video.
hunter. Yes.
I hope you enjoyed
It's
it,
true.
and that it provided what you sought.
It just reminds me of the fucking thing I had sent Weeb before, that joke thing. Human, the normal. Just that fucking
Human, the normal.
the plain ass white dude. Just you have no understanding of the supernatural whatsoever. You just live your life and pay taxes. Amazing. Anyway, next. Here we go. The crushing weight of authority. Crushing us weight of
Fate's
authority.
forces are encroaching Great Europa from the north. Unity's digging underneath my holds. Hope sinking my ships, making trade with my son nigh impossible. And who knows what that trickster curiosity is up to. You have your work cut out for you.
I love that design.
Worry not. I've personally saw through the newest batch of your Exalted. I'm also making headways with the Scarlet Sun Empire. We're about to force their borders open for trade. One way or another. The Grey Lords from the north are also
Grey
being
Lords?
dealt with. We've torched several of their settlements and captured some of their leaders. And we're proceeding on our investigation with Piera Panini over rumors of curiosity-based magics.
What of the Bright Wing? Have you found more? You of all people should be aware we cannot build permanent settlements without Bright Wings. The unfamiliars would bring everything to oblivion. You must spare no exception, even if your heart is stricken with guilt. We need more of everything.
Of everything.
You will expedite your process at once.
My king, I am hurt. Don't think of me so weak. I know what must be done for the greater good.
Oh boy.
The exalted shall get their tears. They will be as perfect as you desire.
Look, Lady Iglesia, I've made you a cat. You said you really like cats, right? You always look so lonely and scared. I thought you needed a little friend.
Dawn,
Oh.
Oh, sweet child of mine.
Oh, that's where we got the wings
My
from.
radiant king, please.
You said
Just
no.
this-
You
just
said
this
no. You
once.
wouldn't do that. You gotta take the wings for those things. Wow.
Oh.
Okay, now let's talk about the
Gaia is
Wyrm.
not the only one who can create changing breeds.
Here we go.
Have you
Mockery
heard of a little
breeds.
company called Pentex?
See, it's
They
all
decided
coming
to
full
try their
circle.
hand at making their own changing breeds.
Time to talk about the
Today
Were
we're going
monkeys.
to talk about Chinese Bigfoot. They are called the Wyrm. Let's get into it. I realized as I was editing and going through this video that I'm actually pronouncing
Urine.
the Yeren word wrong throughout this entire video.
It says Yaren, it's
So,
urine.
Oops. Before anybody decides
you're saying
to let
urine,
me know
but
about
it's
my
urine.
horrible white boy pronunciations, I have found out that that's what it is. So just really quickly note
White boy pronouncing foreign words.
that I am pronouncing it wrong throughout the whole video.
Do do
and the
do
correct
do
pronunciation
do.
is Yeren.
Take a book,
Hello,
my nigga.
everyone. Welcome to the Maple Table. My name's
Reading
Nathaniel.
pork
This is a channel where
bow.
we discuss lore around your favorite role-playing games such as Starfinder, Werewolf the Apocalypse. If that's something you're interested in, I would love to have you join me at the table.
Ow.
You can do so by hitting that subscribe button, that bell notification, so that you know when my videos are available.
I hit my finger.
In Chinese folklore, Yaren means wild man. There is also a legend in Chinese culture that talks about the Yaren as being a mythical creature that lives in the mountains, specifically around the Hubei region.
I don't know where
This
that is in China, but
basically
sure.
Chinese Bigfoot. And I'm
Xing
wondering
chong
if they
fong
have just as many
chong,
blurry
ping
photos
ping
of it
tong.
as we
Look,
do
if
of
it
the North
if
American
it doesn't have
version.
any Szechuan peppercorns, I'm not interested. All right.
The Yaren were actually created by Pentex, and we'll get into Pentex in another video. They really deserve their own.
Don't worry, I've already heard about them.
Think of Pentex as the head of a shadowy cabal of nefarious companies. They actually have their hand in everything. When Pentex set out to create their own changing breeds, when the Guru found out about this, they named them the Mockery breeds because they were created by man. They were not created by Gaia. But make no mistake about it, they are worm-aligned changing breeds. Pentex had a program called Lycaon, and this was designed to create these new changing breeds. They wanted something that was
They're not the
more
only ones either. They got
pliable to
other mockery
themselves
breeds too. They're just
and
like
a little
the
more
pinnacle of the ones they were able to
reliable
make.
than the Black Spiral Dancers. I have also covered the Black Spiral Dancers. If you're interested, they will be up here or in the
We watched it, we know.
description below. Black Spiral have a tendency to be a little bit mentally unstable, unpredictable, and of course,
I
with
love this art so much. I love it. I just love this art.
It
slaps.
It's cool.
It's cool. It slaps. It's just the idea of like these corrupted werewolves that are all mutated and shitting around their fucking little hive here. That's their hive. That's where the Wyrm comes in. It's great.
their unreliability.
The worms
Pentex
become
wanted
my
something
fate.
that they
I
could
believe in
control a little bit
entropy.
easier.
I'm fine
And
with
they
that.
also wanted their creation to have access to worm
I don't think. I
magic,
think the wild's
like
a
the
little up
Black
its own
Spirals
ass, and I
do.
think the
And this
Weaver,
creation
you know,
also had to be able to
doesn't
hold
hold
its
up
own
anything.
against
So
a
I think
fight
you know,
with a
entropy and
werewolf.
decay is just where it should
I don't
be.
think their list
really.
of demands was unreasonable at all. Project Lycaon was actually responsible for 5 variants of changing breeds who were loyal to Pentex. The Yaren were one such breed. The first successful breed that came from this program were the Warwolves, but they are not the point of this video.
So the werewolves are basically, let's say you want like Garu, but they're not like Black Spiral Dancers, and you use like domesticated dogs instead. That's what the werewolves are. Get it? Because they're like warhounds. That's the idea.
but do stay tuned for
They
them.
didn't work as
The
well as I
Yaren
wanted.
were named after a legendary group of humans who lived in China.
China!
The Yaren also excel in urban areas. This is where they were designed to live, and they
Look at the
thrive
soundboard.
in these areas.
Donald Trump, don't
Reading,
trust China.
reading Porkbo,
China is
but Porkbo
asshole.
can't read.
To
Yep.
be the most
That's why they're
successful
audiobooks.
of the mockery breeds. Their ambition would actually rival
Listening
that of-
Rainbow.
It's currently known
Is
by
your
the
kid
Guru that there are
stupid?
some
Oh yeah, listen to this. This is another Garou species.
Were-tiger.
Yeah, were-tigers. That's right. The Khans.
Yaren in places of power. They are leading corporations in North America, and it is believed that they are also looking to expand their influence. Due to the Yaren's drive and their ambition, it's unsurprising that this is where they make their home, and it's also why they are anticipated to expand or want to expand their influence. This would happen largely in the corporate world, in corporate America,
Yes.
where greed, avarice is quite popular right now. It can really
Make that
be seen in
bag,
some of
dog.
that divide between the haves and the have-nots. The Yaren
I don't know,
also
stop being a
have
poor.
the same regenerative abilities as the Guru, but they are not limited in some of these areas as the Guru. And what I mean by this is the Yaren are not weak to silver.
Nope.
The Yaren can also step sideways into the Umbra like the Guru. However, they do need the assistance of an unnatural object to do this.
AKA
They
like a
still
mirror.
need that reflective surface, it just can't be a natural material for them. And because they are unnatural creations, they do actually have some drawbacks that the Guru or any of the other changing breeds do not have. Unlike all of the Farah, they can only reproduce with someone who is of their same breed. That means if you were born as a human, you can only produce another mockery breed with another mockery breed born human. And it
Okay.
should also be noted that a Métis can still be produced during this union. So it becomes really challenging to further the species or to further the tribe of a mockery breed. The mockery breeds are also barred from learning gifts. The spirits tend to not look very kindly on these as they are not really part of a spiritual pact. Even Banes will disregard the mockery breeds because they view them as artificial beings and don't really have a place in this world. That's how the Banes look at them. But some mockeries, even the Yaren, possess some Fomori-like abilities that they can use to
Oh,
make up for
boy.
this lack of spiritual gifts.
So,
And
Bob, I'd like to offer the Tardlands a very beneficial deal.
Oh boy.
All right. We'll give you guys bronze weapons. All right. Like, you know, we'll actually give you metal weapons instead of the rocks you guys use. But the Ooga Droogas are trying to steal your Stretch Armstrongs. And you got to go to Ooga Boogistan and get them back. We're prepared to arm you for that endeavor.
lastly, all mockeries have a very distinct worm-tainted smell. This means
Yes,
that
they
they
smell like the
become
worm.
immediate targets to anyone who senses this or can smell this.
Got that worm
Guru,
smell, that stinky
any of the
stank.
changing breeds, any of the Farah. As soon as they get a whiff of this, they immediately
You know, I always,
associate
it's really funny because, you know, people always say, like, oh, you'll smell like trash or something. I just like to think the fact they probably smell like that cheap-ass cologne. Like the cheapest cologne you could possibly get.
probably.
associate this
Like artificial
smell
smelling.
with Fomori. So
Or
this
maybe
will put a
burning
target on the
plastic. I
back
mean,
of
either
the
one
mockery
works.
breed.
I just,
Almost
trash is just always so
always.
overused. I
Even
think it's
though
got to be
many of the
something else,
Farah
like
may
burning
not
plastic
know
or some kind
immediately
of
what
weirder
the
smell like
smell
that.
is, they will most likely associate it with being Fomori. The Yaren were created by Neurodynamic Labs.
Yes.
They are a subsidiary of, guess who?
Pentex.
Pentex. Neurodynamic Labs stole their research from another Pentex lab that was actually working on curing the changing breed DNA. They were trying to write that out of the code. Pentex didn't want to have that. They
No.
wanted the shape changers and the Farah to be a weapon.
Yes.
And they wanted to be able to
Control
control that
them.
weapon. So the right hand stole from the left hand to get the plans and figure out everything that they wanted.
Yes, because this is an organization that's so big they don't realize when they're doing something that they don't want. That's great, isn't it? I kind of love that.
Right?
You're so like this quote unquote evil organization, but you don't know when you're doing something that goes against your whole shit anyways.
And it was a big old mess.
Yes.
It was the board of directors who actually commissioned the Yaren. For those of you who don't know, the board of directors is the shadowy cabal group that actually oversees all the subsidiaries of Pentex
Yes.
and controls what the company does, what they
We've
invest
actually
in,
seen a joke version of
they
one of the board of
create.
directors members
What they
too
were
in
hoping
Hundred of the
for was
Parenting
a
as
weapon
well.
to counter the
Remember the guy who
Glasswalker
calls
and the bone-
Palmer and basically tells him about the shirts and everything in Noble Knight Games and all that
Yes.
there too? That is based on Michael, who is a Black Spiral dancer. He is actually one of the Patreon people that got that Wyrm book right there to be made. So he was able to become one because he had like a pitch. Like you had this, like you were a backer of it, how much money you did, but if you had like a certain pitch, they would actually make you a board of directors member. He got made into one. So that's cool. I thought that's a cool idea. Because all that shit, the 20th anniversary stuff came because of fucking Kickstarter and stuff.
I mentioned a little bit earlier that the Yaren were drawn to power, and that's why they were running corporations in America. The Yaren are also extremely territorial, and this made them actually really good competitors to vampires, the Black Spiral dancers, criminal organizations, and
like
most
the
of
mafia.
the Yaren are actually sitting in middle to upper management. And some of them have actually set their sights on getting a seat at the board of directors.
Oh boy.
But for the most part, you'll find them in banks, law firms, just that upper corporate management type thing. If I haven't mentioned it already and you haven't figured it out, the Yaren are were monkeys.
Yes.
They are the
Were apes.
embodiment of avarice, unending greed, short-sightedness, pettiness, everything that's kind of rotten with the corporate world of North America. The Guru actually use a derogatory term for humans. They call them apes. This is mostly just because humans share some of the same qualities as the
Apes together strong.
Yaren, although humans probably had them first since
yeah.
humans have been around a lot longer than the Yaren.
Well, yeah.
Humans also traveled in groups. They lived in groups. They were very territorial. And the were apes, like I said, they do this.
Boom, look, were ape. How's that make you feel, Weeb? Look at that thing. Look at that fucking were ape.
No.
What?
No. No.
You just see that would terrify the shit out of you. Yeah.
No, Gene.
Now imagine.
I can't shoot.
Yeah.
I can't shoot that easily, Gene. All right, that's more than like 3 bullets. All right, and I can't afford any more than that. Nigga, I'm broke.
A very tight-knit community, and it's because of this community.
Also, silver doesn't kill them too. You gotta keep that in mind as well.
New threat to the Guru. They often don't realize
They're not weak to
that
silver.
they're in a lot of danger or they're in trouble until it's much too late. Before we continue on, if you're enjoying the video today,
don't tell me what to do.
Good old thumbs up to let me know that you are enjoying this content. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification to get notified when my videos are available. I would also like to give a huge shout out and thank you to my first patron, Caneroot.
See, this is the first time he had one patron, because he gets others later on for the other video we saw, but now he's got one.
Thank you so much for your support. I really am speechless at this. Thank you so much for your support. I know I said earlier in the video that the mockery breeds can produce Métis.
Monkey. Big monkey. Nate, big monkey.
The Yaren only have one breed form, and that is
the war
Hamid,
form, yep.
And they also cannot produce Métis, nor are they capable of engaging in any reproductive shenanigans with apes. The Yaren also have no kinfolk, and everybody who is a Yaren has actually been converted. And even further to that, the only ones who have been successfully converted to the were apes or the Yaren are the ones who have large amounts of greed or ambition. Nobody else has been able to be turned into a Yaren. And how they
gotta have that drive, and you gotta have that dog in you.
What the Koraks do that turns an initiate into a Yaren.
Oh, Koraks. Sorry, the thing the Kronos are not the Koraks are. The Koraks are basically were-crows.
Those upon them their changing abilities. They call this ritual the passing on of the shadow of the ape.
That sounds like a band.
4 days to complete. This is a somewhat destructive ritual, as the purpose of this is to go around finding parties, taking advantage of people, and eventually they will stumble into the Umbra, to which a deal will then be made. At the end of this rite, the initiate, or the person who wants to become a Yaren, will go through their first change. And this will be a bloody and messy ordeal, as is usually a first change. The Yaren also only has two forms.
Who's your leader, Weeb?
Or
his name is what, from my country
they will be well dressed, well groomed, and
in the world of Hereticlandia.
Heretic Lands?
Borderline resembles a mild psychosis.
Yeah.
The Krenos form is obviously a giant, scary ape. There have actually been many versions of monkey or ape that have shown up in the observed tests from Pentex.
Oh boy.
And of course, this form does also incite full delirium.
Yeah, of course it
now,
does.
Again, the Yaren are a bit of a special case when it comes to some of the other mockery breeds, and this applies when speaking specifically about their rights and their gifts.
Here we
Normally, a mocking breed cannot take a right or a gift.
But they can.
That's because they are not connected to the spirit world. They have no umbral connection. The Yaren do, at least a little bit. And because of their greed and their voraciousness, they actually do a bit of favor.
He's King Brandon the 14th of his name, Frostmane.
Brandon Frostmane the 14th.
Yep.
Are you ready for the worm they're going to be talking about? Time
Yes,
for the worm.
I'm excited.
The urge worm.
Urge worm. Oh, Slaneshi worm.
Relshab.
The Yaren are actually able to use human gifts and some human rights.
Yeah.
But because of the favor that they've gained from Relshab, they're actually able to take some rights and gifts around greed.
Yep.
And they have been bestowed by this greed urge worm. But because this relationship and this power is so new to them, they have not been able to do many advanced things with their gifts or with this urge worm. None of them have been able to advance beyond rank 3.
Okay.
At least none that we know of. Relshab is the Faceless Eater. That is the name that the Guru have given him. He is an urgeworm of greed. He is the totem of Vorus. He is a Bane incarnate that manifests himself as a huge, fat man with large rolls. The skin kind of crawls.
Look at that. Look at that. That's not him because he has a face and he's called the Faceless, but that's some good art. Look at that thing. That's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
And ripples as well when he moves or just even when he's sitting still. That's kind of how big he is. The only difference is because he is known as the Faceless Eater,
He doesn't have a
where his
face.
face normally would be, there is only a slab of fat. It's actually his right arm that he
Yeah, look
uses
at that's what it looks like. Look at that.
to consume his
He uses people to cut.
It functions a little bit like a tube. It it sucks up stuff, digests it a little bit, and you'll pull it all inside, and it's a lovely visual picture.
Yeah.
Did I mention that his stomach is a furnace?
Yep.
Because it is, so he can eat just about anything.
That's great, right?
So he's kind of gross.
He's
This
kind of
video
gross.
came at the request of a viewer. I actually didn't know much about the mockery breeds until they had suggested it, and then I kind of went down this rabbit hole, and here we have a video about it. I think the Yaren are extremely useful. They bring a new bad guy that you can use, especially if you're wanting to tell a corporate espionage story. It allows you to bring in some different aspects of Pentex.
Yeah.
You can have various subsidiaries, and depending on what type of corporate story you want to tell, using a Yaren as your antagonist would actually be extremely effective and very fitting.
But
Now, these stories don't actually have to be set in North America. The Yaren can be found in North America as well as China. So if you were looking to have some of that Asian flair for your story, absolutely you should look at using the Yaren as an antagonist. If you're not looking for a corporate story, a Yaren could be an unlikely NPC.
Yep. You could be an NPC.
Information dealer,
Yeah.
perhaps. Someone that maybe could be introduced to the
Or
party.
you could even play them too. Imagine that. A yarn that's not working for them but working for you because money.
And he helps them, they help you. Do this kind of thing sparingly, as depending on how your party operates, they may or may not want to kill it with fire.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily suggest having your party go exploring and try to kill an urgeworm. That's a bit of a big undertaking. But
Yeah,
you can
just like trying to
definitely use
tackle
it
the
as an
Wyrm, the
influence for
Wyrm.
your stories. These guys are definitely easier to work in than some of the Rokea. If you've made it to this point, thank you so much for watching and for listening. Don't forget to hit that
No,
subscribe button.
I'm not doing that. Anyways.
Yeah. Bob, your first answer was better fitting within your Tard theme. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yes, this is the fundamental of lust talking about desire.
Desire is not a sin. It is a question. What do you want and why are you afraid to admit it? You should delight in longing more than possession. Want is sweeter than I have. Want is sweeter than have. What is it that you long for? Love? Adventure? To be wanted, perhaps? Look at me!
Oh God, look at our ball.
Squeakins, listen! If your smile lingers, follow! What is lust if not desire? What is desire if not passion? What is fashion if not what it means to be alive? Here's the simple truth. Even the fundamentals were shaped by want. Otherwise, they would never have reached for form. The soul does not seek purity. It seeks intensity. Burn so bright that even love can't blind you anymore. Then take it by the hand.
That wasn't creepy.
I really don't like that.
Now, here we go. The beloved horror franchise that no one plays, Wraith. You ready to be spooked, Weeb?
Oh, good. I love being spooked. I said lying my ass off.
Wraith the Oblivion is a tabletop RPG about being dead. Well, actually, it's more like a game about being really sad about being dead.
We're gonna put it
was
at
the
1.25
fourth
speed.
and least successful of the original World of Darkness games from the 1990s. The most successful, of course,
Is
being
Vampire
a
the
little game
Masquerade,
called
yep.
Vampire the Masquerade. Wraith was, in fact,
This channel, by the way, his name is, just to get it, William SRD. And this video is, I think, a few years old. Whoop, don't want to play that. That's going to play automatically on its own. Let's see when this video came out, because I want to see how old it was. Scroll, 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 scroll. 3 games about World of Darkness. No. This is actually a year old. He talks about a lot of video games and stuff like that, and lore things. He's got a decent channel. Here we go. Let's get into it. So here's the first, here's the first thing about World of Darkness that, I mean, not World of Darkness, but Wraith is going to talk about. So it says the 4th, he said, but let's go back again and get this. Let's see what it says.
called Vampire the Masquerade. Wraith was, in fact, the only one of the original 5 World of Darkness IPs to get cancelled before the intended run was finished. And yet, nearly 30 years later, in 2021, Wraith the Oblivion receives a video game.
Yep.
A VR horror title
That's right, called Afterlife.
Afterlife released in a difficult spot. Most horror and VR players didn't know very much about the IP it was based on. Meanwhile, World of Darkness fans were generally skeptical about the game, especially since the community faith has been flagging in Paradox Interactive's handling of the World of Darkness for really ages now. Thus, people seem to have just let this one pass by uninvestigated. So, with this video, we're going to bridge the gap for both audiences. We're going to talk about what Wraith is, why it failed, and also why people love it anyway. Then we're going to dive into the VR game and see if it's a good use of the source material. And I mean, spoiler alert here, I think it's exactly the game that this IP needed. And I hope that this video convinces you to take a look at Afterlife, or one of the old Wraith TTRPGs if that's your preference. Wraith is a curious little IP that not too many people are acquainted with. Games like Werewolf, Vampire, and Mage dominate the World of Darkness fandom,
They do.
leaving Wraith as a bit of an afterthought. It was never a successful tabletop system. Not many groups, even in the 90s, played very much of this game. But the weird part of this is that people love Wraith anyway, even if they don't actually play it. For many people, it was their favorite part of the World of Darkness.
That's because it's just the lore behind it's like so fucking immersive. Wait till you hear this shit, Weeb. It's gonna blow your mind.
They just didn't want to actually...
Hold on 1 second. I'm actually going to turn this other thing completely off and turn this up a little bit more.
Okay.
All right. We're good. I'm paying attention, boss.
Extends to the devs. It's clearly a passion project for them, despite being an abject failure. Even after it was cancelled, they still kept trying to bring it back in various forms. This system that couldn't even keep up when the World of Darkness was in vogue has never truly been shelved. It got a 2021 VR game, for God's sake. What's going on here? There's something to this game that captivates writers and readers. There is a reason that the TTRPG of the dead will not die. Wraith the Oblivion is a game about ghosts, and it's...
He put a fucking blanket over himself to be a ghost. So silly. Look.
I've completely lost confidence already. How was I supposed to live up to the vampire and werewolf costumes here? Cut me a fucking break. You know, this is just fucking embarrassing.
There, now he's a ghost.
I am my own Reaper, okay? And you know what? For most of you, that joke, it's going to make sense in approximately 10 to 15 more minutes. The World of Darkness has always been heavy on themes. Vampire is about outcasts. Werewolf is about everything being your fault. And Mage, well, Mage is about ambition. Wraith, however, is a game about it being too late for you. You're already dead. and there's nothing you can do but regret it. And this is part of the reason why people don't usually like to play Wraith all that much. There are many upsides to being an outcast in Vampire, and Werewolf, there's a lot of family and honor involved in learning to change and be a better person. And I mean, Mage, as I said, it's about ambition. There's no shortage of upsides to that. There is, however, no upside whatsoever to being dead and regretting your life. Your character already had all of your chances to have a fantasy life, but they wasted it. This lack of playability, believe it or not, actually predates the game considerably. Wraith the Oblivion is actually not the fourth World of Darkness game.
That's
It's
right.
actually the first.
That's
In
right.
the back of Wraith Revised Edition, creator Mark Reinhagen tells it that Wraith began long before Vampire the Masquerade. It was originally a game titled Inferno, about being a sinner trapped in hell, and the players were mostly humoring old Mark as he tormented their characters.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Some strange events occurred during
They
the
play.
broadcasts, leading the group
See
to
that for a few seconds, no one spoke, no one moved. To tell the truth, I think we were scared shitless. No one knew what to think, at least me. Finally, I figured to go outside and see what the hell had happened. A few minutes later, the car exploded into flames. A half a minute after that, the gas tank blew up with a dull thump. I tried calling 911, but halfway through my call, the electric spike took out every phone in the house, and the fax machine as well. Damn it all. Because you want to know what he did to the first session of this Inferno thing, what he did first before playing it? Let's go fuck with the Ouija board and then play the game.
Oh, boy.
conclude that the game was cursed. They might have just been saying that so they didn't have to tell Reinhagen that they didn't like the game. Who knows? If you want the full story of the Inferno,
the near experience cursed game, RPG horror story,
I actually strong-armed my friend Jacob Crow to cover it on his channel as a Halloween episode last year.
Oh,
so I'm going to drop a link down below and you can go check it out. For us, the important part of the story is this: no one enjoyed playing a game about suffering while dead. And despite all the changes when Inferno eventually became Wraith, that legacy carried on. The reception at release was remarkable, honestly. The writers wrote the hell out of this thing, and this setting is, in many ways, it's as close to art as tabletop RPGs have ever gotten. Fans loved reading about it, but there were huge problems playing it. The fantasy being unappealing for a role-playing game was only one part of the problem. It encouraged that guy behavior through the shadow system. Its themes could be spread thin, and also its lore had a very big identity problem that made it quite difficult to know what kind of
We're gonna get to what happens with the lore in this. It's wild, because it's...
Oh, boy.
Because imagine, the original first thing is, oh, you're regretting your life basically being dead, right? That's the whole, like, gimmick story behind it. There's going to be a lot of tonal shifts besides that, so keep that in mind as we keep listening.
They were actually going for. The writing was clearly good, but playability was an issue.
Oh, they'd asked for a video link.
White Wolf kind of doubled down in a
I
very
believe
weird
so.
direction.
Sure, Nathan. I think I've actually posted it before, but I'll post it again in, I posted in like a long form thing. Give me 1 second to get this. If you're actually interested in this yourself, let me get this. I'm going to post it in Fans of Fiction. You'll find it there. Because I have posted this before in like something else. I think it was in like Odd Corner or something. But now that we have Fans of Fiction, there you go. There it is. It's right there now. There you go. And let's continue.
Ultimately choosing to make the game even darker.
No. To that video he linked.
Oh,
he said. I've seen this video before.
Oh, the video he linked. Oh, I'll get that then. Give me a second. I think it's linked in the video itself too. So 1 second.
I got your back, Nate the Great. Also, Nate, I would like to have you know that in my D&D game, I've used your realm for the Dwarven Kingdom, and I gotta say, dude, your king's pretty cool, dude. Pretty cool. Thordrak Stonebeard. Nigga's got a mithril hand.
Wait, why did it go all the way to the end of that video? Okay, Crow's Perch. I got it. Give me a second to actually copy the video link. And that's going to be posted because when it's being spooky, I'm going to post that in the Eerie Hours, actually, instead of Fans of Fiction, because it's a spooky video. So there.
And in the battle to reclaim this capital, he like when he went to go punch this orc warlord, like as he made his fist and punched, a blade came out of his mithril hand, and it was like, and it just like cleaved through the thing's head. It was badass.
To play. Some of you at home right now are saying, hey,
free idea for you to steal, pimp,
no,
nigga.
you don't. Let me tell you how dark this thing got, because this all culminated in a book called Charnel Houses of Horror.
Oh yeah, here we go. Charnel Houses of Europe. Are you ready for what this is?
Oh boy.
Wait till you What do you think when it? I probably think, what is it? This is something
X.
they wanted to role play.
Oh boy.
Are you ready for what it is? You're not ready for what it is.
Yeah. No, I'm not ready.
Charnel Houses of Europe. That sounds vague, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like really vague?
No, it sounds like a whorehouses or slave houses.
You're gonna find out what it is.
Horror. Where
Yeah.
we're all playing ghosts who died in the Holocaust.
The Holocaust. Yep.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
show
Can I
was-
be a Nazi?
No,
This was
you have to be a
very
victim.
book. Although there were no
Nope, never
shortage of
mind.
reviewers
Not
at
gonna
the
play.
time, it
Gay,
announced it on
cringe,
site,
never
and-
happened.
I mean, basically the most offensive.
And if it
thing one
did,
could
should've
imagine.
been more.
Many more were forced to admit that the
That was the
book
Holodomor,
written
the
with
one that really
tremendous
happened,
respect
and
for
that's
the
what
time.
the-
Yeah, the
And
Holodomor
many
is an
American
actual
review,
horrifying
horror writer
event.
and child
Yes.
of Holocaust survivors, Janet Berliner.
A well-documented
The idea is not
starvation.
to
Yes.
trivialize the Holocaust, they wrote, to reduce it to the level of just a game. Rather, the concept behind this book is to use the medium of role-playing as another way to tell the story of the Shoah. The story that must constantly be
Oh
retold.
gosh, of course.
Despite a fair amount of begrudged respect for what they had accomplished with Charnel
No.
Houses, pretty much everyone, even the people who really enjoyed what they were going for, were pretty much unanimous in their agreement that this thing was worthless as a tabletop game.
I'll say
In creating this
if
book,
I was forced to play
rather
that
than
game,
more
I'd say I'd be a
adult
Nazi
publishing wing,
sympathizing
Black
Jew
Dog,
ghost
stumbled
who
across
got
something
caught,
that may not
who got
seem
killed
obvious.
trying to,
There's
you know,
actually a hard limit
stop
to how
a
dark
Jew
you can take
rebellion,
your themes
a
in
Jewbellion,
tabletop
if you will.
role-playing game.
Okay.
Because really, at the end of the day, you're trying to have a good time with your friends. And
Yes,
while the
but
debate
that's the
certainly
thing
rages
about
on
this. Like
as to
even just regular, like what you're trying to have
Why?
fun. Like why you're trying to have fun with play? Like what? Why are you being like mopey ghosts?
Yeah, unless you let us play Nazis, we're not gonna have
No,
fun with the
no,
Holocaust ghost game.
No, I'm just saying regular right too. Like burning posts are just weird. But we'll get there.
Dude, again, if I could play a Nazi ghost, I'm in, dude. I'm like, oh, look at these fogs. They can't see you, Hans. I know, but look at them. If I was still alive,
Here's
I'd
exactly
hit
the
them with
line
mine
is, which
sticking.
topics are too heavy for the medium.
They
There are
might
few
like
who
that,
disagree
Hans.
that Charnel
Yeah.
Houses is more or less unusable as a role-playing
have
game
fun.
due to being far past wherever the line is, even if it may still be valuable as a work of fiction or even as a work of art. And to some degree, this phenomenon with charnel houses was actually also true of Wraith in general.
Just, yeah.
Even though a lot fewer people are going to take any kind of offense to the base game of Wraith the Oblivion, when compared to charnel houses, we still run into the problem that most people don't want to hang out with their friends and pretend to be sad ghosts who regret their life.
Yeah, that's
The
just
result
weird.
was that Wraith was cancelled in 1999, 4 years before the various End Times events ended all of the other World of Darkness metaplots. Wraith was mercifully
Again, like I'm
given the
saying,
end-
that's not even the one that's the big tonal shift. We're gonna get to one that's a big tonal shift that happens with this. You're not gonna be ready for the tonal shift, Weeb. You're really not. Because it's that. If you thought that was the tonal shift, that's not the tonal shift. That is a weird one to go into, right? Just as a thing, as an idea for an RPG. But we're getting there. Don't you
in the
worry.
Vampire book to finish its
Oh.
own timeline and tie it into the End Times
Oh, boy,
events of the other
Gene.
systems. The devs didn't necessarily have to do that, but they clearly loved Wraith and didn't want to abandon it without a proper send-off. In fact, they came back with a short reimagining of Wraith
Don't
in
look back.
2003 with Orpheus. This version was a limited run that was always intended to be wrapped up in 6 sourcebooks. See, White Wolf by now was starting to learn their lesson about spin-off overinvestment. Orpheus differs from Wraith in that it is centered around a corporation named Orpheus that is attempting to profit off the world of the dead. You play as Wraiths employed by the corporation, or as living workers who astral project into the Shadowlands as their 9 to 5. There have
Wow,
been more attempts
fantastic.
to spin off of Wraith over the years, such as
Geist
Sin
Sin Eater. Yep.
but none have ever really managed to capture the audience in the same way as the original. Ultimately, the sad legacy of Wraith is that it's an amazing work of fiction, but not a very good tabletop role-playing game. But that's actually okay, because Wraith could easily make a comeback as a series of novels, an internet miniseries, or even video games.
Video
Yes, that's
games.
right. Let's not lose sight of the fact that this video is supposed to be about the Wraith Afterlife VR game. I think I've already made the case that Wraith might be better in other mediums
Yes.
than it is in its original form. So that
But we're
makes
still not to the
Afterlife a
fact of
very
everything else
exciting
that's a tonal
prospect
shift.
indeed. Frankly, whether or not Wraith ever receives a 5th edition of the tabletop system in the modern day, I wouldn't really look to it if you want to see Wraith in all its glory. Spin-offs are where it may finally have the chance to thrive. Now, all of this has actually been quite vague so far. People liked Wraith a lot, and all I've really talked about thus far is why it doesn't work as a tabletop RPG. What makes Wraith so good? And why is it everyone's favorite system that they don't play? Before we get to that, quick interjection. If you're enjoying the video so far, please take a second to hit the like button. It's always risky for me to cover franchises that aren't Dungeons & Dragons on this channel, so liking the video helps provide a little bit of an algorithmic boost to make this a little safer for me to do, and I can do it more frequently. And something else that helps is leaving a comment down below. Hey, what's your favorite ghost in fiction? Me personally, I'm kind of a King of the Dead head. Big fan of that guy. What about you? So this video actually got age restricted the first time, and this is a re-upload with the sensitive bits taken out. And don't worry, I'm really not pulling many punches even in this version. I had set a like target on the original for a bonus stream about a minor Wraith the Oblivion game called The Orpheus Device. It's basically a seance you play on your phone.
On your, you play video games on your phone? Nobody does that. Don't play games on your phone. That's evil.
We were actually very close to smashing that target before we got throttled by the algorithm screaming,
Nobody.
"Think of the children!" So I'm just going to say, we hit the goal. Good job, everybody. And I'm going to hold the stream in the coming weeks right here on YouTube. I hope to see you there. Wraith the Oblivion begins at the moment of death.
Here we go. Time to learn all about it, Weeb.
Expands from there.
You ready to learn all about Wraith the Oblivion now? All of it. Here you go, buddy.
So, let's suppose, my dear viewer, that you are the subject of today's Wraith story.
You died, Weeb.
You have died. Picture it just now. Is this a good time to die? Do you have things you still need to do, things left unsaid? Did you leave things poorly with any of your loved ones? Well,
too bad.
You're dead. And that's not fair. But we really don't get to choose these things, do we?
No.
Now, for what it's worth, most souls do not become wraiths, but you have. You are now bound to the Shadowlands, a mirror version of our own world. Where
you ready for the Shadowlands,
Weeb? You will see the
yeah,
you're not ready for the Shadowlands.
I'm not ready for the
And to
Shadowlands.
you, the skyscrapers on the horizon
that doesn't sound good.
Crumbling husks. You will be confused when you first arrive in the Shadowlands. Nothing will look right. Likely, you don't even realize you're dead yet, as you replay your final moments over and over. This is because wraiths are born into unlife with a protective cocoon of plasm called a caul. Maybe a cowl? I'm pronouncing it caul. If someone doesn't take it off of you, your confusion may fossilize and prevent you from becoming a wraith. Instead, you'll become a drone, a confused spirit reenacting its life over and over.
That sounds
Fortunately
fun.
for you, a hand pulls the plasmic caul off of you. The wraith that did this for you is called your Reaper. Ghostly tradition sees it that the two of you are now obligated to one another.
Now you got a Reaper.
The Reaper is obligated to teach you and mentor you to survive your early time in the Shadowlands. Likewise, you owe them, and you're expected to assist them for a time. The agreement is informal. Your Reaper may simply ask a favor in return.
Yes.
Or they might treat you like a squire or apprentice, or they might even just take you as a slave.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on that angle later. But for now, let's assume this. Congratulations. You're one of the lucky ones. Your Reaper is kindly and will show you
got
the
me
ropes
as your
and
Reaper,
won't
Weeb.
take too much
Congrats.
from you in return. Your Reaper begins to explain the nature
Wouldn't that be,
of your
what kind of afterlife would that be,
Your
Weeb?
body isn't what it used to be. It's no longer flesh, it's corpus.
You got
an
corp flesh.
approximation of what you think you looked like, molded from plasm. In time, you might learn to change it, but most never do. So I hope you visualize yourself in your favorite jacket, because you're not getting changed anytime soon.
Nope.
Your Reaper tells you that your stay in the Shadowlands is more of a privilege than a right. You're not naturally here like a human bound to Earth by gravity. No, you've been tethered to this place by your fetters, which are objects, people, or places that were important to you in life. If your loved ones die, if your mementos are destroyed, and your treasured place is desecrated, no more Shadowlands for you. And no, that doesn't mean you get to move on to the next life.
Nope. It's worse than that. Guess what that means? It means you're gonna fall down to oblivion. Isn't that great?
If you can't stay in the Shadowlands, you go somewhere so much worse. A roiling
excited.
vortex of nightmares that your Reaper calls the Tempest.
The Tempest.
And now that you mention a next life, the hereafter, nobody has any clue if it's actually real. Transcendence to the hereafter is possible, and some wraiths do succeed at moving on to something else if they can come to be at peace. But it's actually so rare that most wraiths view it as a fairy tale. Your own Reaper is coherent enough to tell you that it might be real, it might not. So to most wraiths, most probably including you, accepting your fate feels like a waste of time and effort compared to just about everything else you're going to have to deal with in the Shadowlands. The other way out of these dark realms is going to consume a lot more of your attention: oblivion.
No.
Oblivion is the howling void, spilling out into the Tempest from a dark labyrinth at the very bedrock of reality.
Oh, good.
It will haunt you always, it will hound you, and in all
That
likelihood,
doesn't look creepy at all, does it,
win,
Weeb?
because when you died...
Oh, no, that looks totally pleasant.
In each of us, there are dark,
Totally
urges,
not
impulsive
fucking
thoughts, self-destructive
curse.
tendencies. These slabs of meat we inhabit are able to inhibit the worst of our dark sides. Our body more or less forces us to work together to keep our protein mech alive and in one piece. But your body is gone, and your corpus hasn't got the same instincts. Your shadow, the dark and self-destructive half of your heart, is free. It will pursue you, torment you, and trick
Enjoy.
you
You now have
both have
you now have a shadow being that's literally your inner darkness. Isn't that great? It's fantastic.
dragged screaming into oblivion. When you inevitably fall, oblivion will not consume you completely, because it still needs you for now. It will put your shadow in command of your void-soaked corpus, and
boy.
you shall be a wraith no longer. You will be a specter. Worse, your shadow is capable of allying with monstrous specters to try to break you.
Oh, fantastic, right? Your shadow, that's the evil part of yourself, can ally with other monstrous things out in that pit and try to take over your soul. It's fantastic stuff, right? Great.
This is called a
harrowing.
This is
Yeah,
called
yeah,
a
you know.
a time when you are assaulted by the forces of oblivion from both within and without. You will likely
Again,
lose
this
touch
is
with
still not the
reality
tonal shift, by the
before
way.
losing touch with your own soul.
Just keep
In-game,
that all in
a
mind
second
when I say
player
that
is
tonal
chosen
shift is
to
really weird in
actually
this
control
game.
your shadow, and it's their job to ensure that
So
your
this is just
life
the normal
never
game.
free of the angst that dominates your unlife. Because that's just how it's going to be, your Reaper explains to you. You will watch your loved ones grow old. You will watch your fetters decay or be destroyed. And when that happens, you will fall into the Tempest and the slavering hordes of specters that live inside until every bright patch of your soul has crumbled away.
Great.
With so few wraiths believing in transcendence, it would seem to most as though oblivion is inevitable. Wraith is a bleak and a hopeless setting, but you're not without strengths of your own.
That's
For
right.
starters, this corpus of yours is extremely durable. It regenerates quickly and easily in the presence of your fetters. You will have affinities for certain arcanoi, the ghostly magics of varying schools that you can learn and use to navigate the afterlife.
Look at that motherfucker dressed on the fucking left there. Look at him.
Yeah, look at these fucking Drukari looking
Also
ass
may have
motherfuckers.
relics.
Oh, yeah.
These are rare, and they're
There you
not
go.
going to last you your
Titties.
whole eternity, but they will help
Titties.
you in the short term. Relics are objects that were destroyed alongside you, or were buried with you.
Yes.
They will help you in unique ways, and may even have special powers.
Yes.
Lastly, you have your Reaper, since you were fortunate enough to find a kind one, and perhaps in time you'll do some reaping of your own to find followers who could help you. I mentioned that Wraiths have a code binding Reaper to newborn Wraith, but why? What does that mean, and who made this code? Well, that's a secret that your Reaper has been kind enough to keep from you for now. Wraiths have a code, but also a society. Your
Yes.
Reaper's reluctant to tell you much more than that, but you're taken to a haunt to serve as your new home. A haunt is a place of tragedy and death in the mortal world. This makes it remarkably habitable to Wraiths. You will feel much more human when you're there, and will be able to tangibly affect the world to a greater degree than usual. But it's also the place where you're safest from specters and maelstroms from the Tempest. Haunts vary in size,
Black
from
lung
a vast
represent, right?
derelict hospital to a burned-out car abandoned
Yes,
in a ditch.
Dr. Skinner.
Most likely, though, you're not alone here. Other Wraiths will make this place home.
That's
and
not
it's
creepy.
difficult to trust them
Right, that's not
because
creepy.
they
No,
may
it's-
end up
that's
getting
not
jittery
terrifying at all.
and sell you into slavery before you can do it to them. Keep your distance, though, and things will most likely stay cordial. But maybe, just maybe, you're able to build a decent partnership with a few other Wraiths here. Maybe you are all reaped by the same guy, or you come together to deal with a problematic ghostly roommate in the haunt. You have now crossed the threshold from an independent Wraith to becoming a part of the basic unit of Wraith society.
A circle.
The group of you are now a circle.
Yep.
And with luck,
That's what
this
they're called.
is going to be as
Remember,
far
Speaker
as
D
you
said that.
interact with the greater Shadow World. In a game of
If you're lucky, he says. So keep that in mind, what the greater shadow world still might hold. Fantastic thought, right?
Oblivion, you
Oh, yeah.
are a member of a circle. It's taken a lot of luck just to make it this far. Someone had to remove your call. They needed to not be a bastard, and the haunt they sent you to had to be safe, and then you needed to have not fallen to your shadow or get run off by those who have. You have all you need in this state of things to play Wraith the Oblivion. You have a good grasp on what Wraiths are, a basic understanding of their living situation, and the basic threats they face each day. Maybe you've even found a handful of Wraiths who will pay you for solving problems, with strange deathly coins. Much of the gameplay will be
Wake
very
me up,
personal.
wake me up, wake
Maybe
me up,
you'll
wake
have
me
to
up.
protect the loved ones who are
Wake
your
me
favorites
up
and
and
become something of a
bark.
guardian angel. Or you might need to stop acting like an angry poltergeist and learn to let your spouse move on. You might develop Arcanoid to try and get back your beloved photo collection before those ungrateful children of yours can dispose of them. Or ask a circle for help when your widow calls an exorcist, because your ghostly presence is kind of freaking everyone out. Which is definitely not your fault, because honestly, you'll be damned before you let death stop you from being there for family TV night.
That's
Honestly,
right.
who cares if you're giving everyone a chill and knocking paintings off the walls? You know what? Death will not stop you from keeping up on weekly episodes of Shogun. These stakes are actually not as low as they sound. You pretty much have to to maintain contact with your old life. There's no other way to protect your fetters. Abandoning them will doubtlessly end up in them being destroyed at some point, sending you reeling into the Tempest. Much of Wraith the Oblivion is reactive. Work with your circle to cling to the fragments of your life, defending your fetters from threats, both living and dead, while also ensuring that malevolent spirits stay the hell away from your haunt. But there's still a problem. Is this
no, that's just not a terrifying, massive Black Death.
To more than forming gangs hiding out in haunted houses? Well, no. There's far more. When Wraith gets summarized...
There's far more, but this is just like the basics of it. So you think, oh, you're pouting ghost. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. There's more. But wait, there's more.
The very personal side of undeath. But the problem is that there's kind of not a lot to do. The developers might have decided to flesh this out so that you always felt like there were clear objectives of personal horror. Instead, the writing went a very different direction.
Here we go! The tunnel shift's about to happen. The tunnel shift is about to happen. You think, oh, maybe they'll expand more of what you do as a sad, pouty ghost in a haunted-ass house in, like, the middle of nowhere. No, they didn't do that. Instead, we get this.
While the core themes of Wraith are very personal, the lore is much more expansive. Maybe on your journeys you've been warned about the ferrymen, strange, distorted wraiths paddling their rafts across the stable routes of the Tempest. You must never interfere with their duty, for they are dangerous to the extreme. Yet, so too are they needed to allow wraiths some ability to travel the Tempest, even if it's still with great risk. If you can pay the ferrymen, they might even allow you to come with them. These ferrymen are the key to the wider world of Wraith, the connection point between the huddled lonely wraiths and the vast, dark kingdoms of the unliving. Your Reaper wasn't honest with you, and that was a kindness.
Yep, the Reaper was trying to be kind to you, because you're gonna figure out why. Here it comes.
Because what they called the traditions and custom of wraiths, those were in fact laws. You are living in a ghostly state, the Dark Kingdom of Iron, based in the ancient city of Stygia. It was founded by Charon, the first ferryman who proclaimed himself the Emperor of the...
So Charon basically, like, sounds like, carrying the first, like the Greek ferryman and stuff. That's not who that is. Would you like to know who that really is?
Who's that?
That's Abel.
Really?
Yes. Charon's Abel. They reveal that in some other part that's actually Abel. He's the first Wraith, as Kane's the first vampire. Isn't that great? That's funny.
Yeah, that's
the
fine.
long shadow of Stygia hangs over all the lands of the unliving. Charon has been missing for decades now, but his foul and tyrannical empire has ground ever onwards, drowning the afterlife in tyranny. The influence of Stygia touches all. The haunt you live in may merely be a small corner of a necropolis, an inverted city housing the dead, and governing the local wraiths on behalf of the Stygian hierarchy. But how could you not have seen this? How could you not have known? The signs were all right there, right from the moment your call was pulled off of you. You were told you were lucky that you weren't taken as slave, but why would wraiths need slaves? What work is there even that needs doing? Who would they have sold you to? And whose face was printed on the strange death coins you were paid earlier? The city of Stygia stands atop a lofty isle in the Tempest, and though the ferrymen keep the paths clear that all roads shall lead to Stygia, you must never go there. A wraith who sits in a haunt and weeps that his loved ones have moved on without them is about the most privileged and coddled on life a wraith can have. Many, perhaps most, reapers.
Look at this.
That's a fun image, Gene.
Tens of thousands of wraiths have their call removed, only to find themselves dragged in chains into the Stygian mines.
The Stygian mines. Yes, the mines. That's right.
To make a kingdom of the dead, there has always been
one
problem.
Gene, I hear that the children yearn for the mines again. Remember back in the day when the kids would work from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. down in the coal mines, how much abundant coal we had? Stop kids from doing crack. That's all I'm saying. You didn't have crack. You had mine.
Here we go. Look at this.
Plus they play Minecraft. It's like a win-win.
Yes, it's totally the exact same thing.
That the blackened substrate
exactly.
Of the darkest depths of the labyrinth, the place just before dark oblivion.
Look at that. Look at the walls. They got faces. This is the
they're just spooky faces.
This is the labyrinth, by the way. Remember how it talked about the black spiral dancers?
Magic dance.
But remember how it said the same thing with the black spiral dancers in the labyrinth? Possibly connected to this labyrinth too.
Oh.
Yes.
Oblivion could be mined. The dark legions of Stygia descend the stairs, going ever downward, lazily providing a half-hearted defense of their charges as they are assaulted and harrowed by the powerful specters.
Yeah,
The
they're down there.
substrate these slaves pull from the walls is hauled back to the city, where great spires are built for the vanity of Charon's council. And when these slaves break, their minds shattered and bordering on falling to their shadow, the legion drags them back to Stygia. Not for their safety, not so that they can recover, of course not.
Nope.
They are taken to the Soul Forge.
Yep.
Powerful wraiths with horrific arcanoi hammer these wretches into basal soul metal.
Yeah, you heard that right. Their
Oh,
their
boy.
souls are put into metal and then coins and everything else. Yep, the souls are ground down and made into
This
weapons.
is the fate of most wraiths down
Yep.
here. Not oblivion, but endless toil, and eventually being reduced to slag,
Yep.
and being used to forge the Legion's weapons and armor and industries. And in a way, you're
I agree with
complicit,
Nate, Bob.
aren't you? What did you think those coins were made of? Didn't you wonder why they weep? So maybe now you can comprehend why you're so lucky to stew in your misery, in your safe, secluded little haunt.
See,
Because the
now aren't you
Empire
glad
of
that you just are
Stygia
crying
is
about your little
undergoing a
sad
foul
life instead of being down
industrial
there?
revolution, and to them, you're little more
Exactly.
than a hunk of iron pulled from rancid soil. If you're smart, you'll stay hidden. But if you're the player of a TTRPG, I'm certain you'll have questions and feel
Yes.
a need to seek out answers. And if you dig deep, they are there to be
Yes,
found.
they are.
The afterlife wasn't supposed to be like
Nope.
this. The Tempest didn't always rage,
Nope.
and Stygia didn't always loom over the dead.
Nope.
This all happened because Charon the ferryman failed. But he didn't just fail, he failed you. Hi, just a cheeky little upbeat chapter break here. Just wanted to let you know that the video was actually brought to you by the patrons. Listen, hey, do you consider yourself an SRD bag? Well, head on over to the William SRD Patreon page and sign up to get amazing perks, like early
Let's see. Let's skip ahead of this. Almost there. Why you should? Yeah, I think it's right here.
tabletop to truly understand a game, and in this case, there's a lot of tabletop to get through.
Yeah.
And if this is your kind of thing, please consider hitting subscribe, and we can come together, you and I, and we can explore all the random little intersections of video games and tabletop.
Here we go. Chapter 3. Why you should fear the Reaper.
Before Charon was a ferryman, he was nothing but a simple wraith, and before that, he was a Mycenaean. Mycenaeans being one of those pre-Bronze Age collapse peoples, they were basically Greeks who did not yet know how to Greek very good. The Mycenaean...
At least that's what was believed till it's revealed later on that he's actually able. So, you know, he's able. Which it's really funny that both Cain and fucking Abel are fathers of undead things. It's really funny.
was considered to be the great age of heroes for Proto-Greece, and Charon's story was likely wrapped up in such deeds. Such that when he died and passed into the Shadowlands, he was greeted by Lady Fate herself.
Wow,
who had
Lady
taken a
Fate.
liking to him. She granted him power, but also a duty. He was to be a ferryman. He was to be the great guide of the dead in this dark underworld. There was much work to be done. Charon became the first to sail the placid black waters of the Sunless Sea. It was there that he found an island to serve as his headquarters, a place that
Stygia.
would come to be called Stygia. The first ferryman gathered the worthiest wraiths to become fellow ferrymen, and then their whole order got to work on Lady Fate's mission. Most of the ferrymen devoted themselves to finding lost wraiths in the
Come here, Sasha.
Shadowlands and guiding them safely to the Isle of Stygia. Other ferrymen got to the work on the other half of Charon's quest, namely, figuring out what the hell was on the other side of
Yeah.
the Sunless Sea.
What
You
the
see,
hell?
Stygia was simply a place to gather the dead. It wasn't where Charon was supposed to be sending
No.
them. Charon departed at some point at the behest of Lady Fate, descending down into the labyrinth that encased Oblivion. When he returned, he did so with a great wraithsmith, and the two of them began turning Stygia into a proper city, in the stylings of Athens and Rome.
Of course.
Material was short, but the smith was talented, and they drew stones from fallen civilizations and temples.
No, as you
Charon
do.
called the ferryman home. He had reached
Yeah, you
the
know,
far side
as
of the
one does.
labyrinth while he was down there. He had looked at the foul void of Oblivion itself, and he had a revelation. It was growing. Every soul that the ferryman failed to guide would feed the horrid mass and allow it to grow larger. Monsters had been seen of late. The first specters, who the ferryman had failed. Charon declared that they would need to do better. Every lost soul meant that this place came one step farther to being swallowed by the hungry mass at the abyss of reality. Fortunately, the explorers returned from across the sea, calling themselves the Shining Ones. They spoke of distant far shores. Every one of the islands there was a different afterlife belonging to one of the mortal religions. There were hells and heavens and Valhallas abound, waiting to be filled with wraiths. While it was certainly fascinating that religious belief seemed to create these places, and thus every religion became more or less true, it was clear to Karin and the ferrymen that these were mainly a sort of therapy to soothe wraiths until they could transcend to the hereafter. An arrangement was set up. The ferrymen would guide the dead to Stygia, where Karin would protect them, and then the Shining Ones would send barges to retrieve these wraiths and bring them to whichever far shore Charon deemed best for them.
Which one do you
Karin
want,
knew that
huh?
The world was too fragile for him to not take this seriously. A bureaucracy was needed to see the work done. Karin began to notice the success of the new Roman Republic in the mortal world.
See?
And began
Time
styling
to
Stygia
Ooh.
off of it. From this moment onward, Karin became
New
convinced that
Roman
his ghostly
Republic,
nation
you
was
say?
best ruled by adopting the ideas of
You have my
wraiths.
attention.
Too many wraiths had slipped from his grasp and fallen to the great enemy.
Oops.
When the armies of Rome began to conquer the Mediterranean, Karin proclaimed that they must be a dark parallel to the burgeoning empire.
Yep.
Builders set to work constructing otherworldly roads across the Dark Plain, stretching all across the European and Middle Eastern Shadowlands.
Oh boy.
The ferrymen contacted the living, as this was not yet taboo, and requested that the dead be buried with coins on their eyes to pay a death tax to Charon. These coins would pass on as relics that Stygia could take and forge into weapons for their new legion.
Oh,
if the dead didn't have
okay.
these coins, wraiths were expected to trade their own hands or eyes
Ooh.
instead. Where the armies of Rome marched, Stygia followed behind, gathering up the wraiths left in the slum.
Look, it's like
and
a
setting up
pig,
ghostly outposts and
rhinoceros.
roads. The Tempest did not exist in this time. The Sunless Sea was nothing but calm and dark, as
Yep.
Charon's empire began to give it form. But all was not well in the ghostly nation.
Nope.
Their mirroring of Rome didn't sit well with the ferrymen. Their duty was to be guides of the dead, not to help Charon become a deathly prince. Worse, the Roman stylings of Stygia meant that the armies of the
Oh, that
Spartan
means
Empire
anybody
of the
who's
living would instinctively rebel.
Yeah, that means anybody who's technically against Rome during that time, who's becomes a wraith, isn't exactly gonna be happy seeing that in the afterlife.
Yeah, you know.
Shadow in death. Soon there were tribes of ghostly Gauls, plasmic brigands, and undead Christian martyrs abound,
Oh boy.
throwing the whole order into chaos.
Oops.
It all came to a head when the Roman Empire fell.
In real life, when Rome fell in real life, it's like, oh, whoops.
Oh,
Stygia itself was sacked. Charon's
oh.
great experiment,
Oh.
building Stygia as a mirror kingdom, had been a disaster. Untold numbers of wraiths slipped through the cracks
Whoops.
at an accelerated pace, and soon the first great maelstrom ripped across the afterlife. Stygia was shattered by rampaging specters, until little more remained of the Dark Empire than an ailing capital and endless roads through the void. The surviving ferryman crawled out from the wreckage and told Charon that, you know what, they played a pretty good game, but the other team just wanted it more.
The other team just wanted it more.
But at the very least, I guess we've all learned that LARPing as human empires and tying ourselves down with mortal politics is a bad idea. Well, thank the Lady Fate.
You would think, right? But let's see what Karin thinks
you would
instead.
think.
Let's see what Karin says instead.
That we discovered this lesson early on into our history, and we can go back to normal now, yeah? And Karin said, no,
No.
I know what the real
Here we
problem
go.
was. Stygia had stayed a republic, even when Rome had thrown out their senate and become a dictatorship.
Oh boy, oh boy, so democracy was to blame.
Democracy.
That was clearly the problem.
Yes,
when
clearly.
Charon put a dark crown atop his head and declared himself Caesar Eternal of the Dead,
Oh boy.
the ferrymen denounced him. This was not their duty. Their duty was to guide, never to rule. Charon, the first ferryman, cast his own order out from Stygia, never to be allowed to return. For their part, the ferrymen went back to work. They still brought the newly dead to Stygia, even if they no longer entered it themselves. They suspected Charon's fall to tyranny was the work of his shadow.
Which it was. The first one, he fell to his own shadow. That's just so bad. You're supposed to be the one to lead everybody, and you end up falling to the dog. You're the one that fell to your own inner darkness, and that's not good.
Even the chosen of fate could succumb like this. Maybe it was best for the ferrymen to find a way to solve this once and for all. They cracked a deal with Anubis, who might actually just have been a Garu werewolf who got trapped in the afterlife.
Wraith is weird, because that's just like, it's Anubis. Anubis is here now. Isn't that great? He's just here.
Just like, oh,
This is weird.
yeah, look at this guy.
Taught them a
He's,
ritual
yeah,
to
I got him
split
carrying me
their shadows
around.
of themselves. The shadows
I'm
could
big
not be
chillin'.
destroyed, but they
I don't
could
roll
be
for
separated.
shit.
Every ferryman, save the stubborn tyrant Charon, went through this ritual.
So they cast off their shadows.
Trade-off. Their shadows were now loose, independent,
Oops.
and malicious creatures.
Oh, great.
But at least the ferrymen were now of clear mind and judgment.
Yes,
The
but now the
Sunless Sea had
ferrymen have
become
clear
a
minds
tempest
and
during
judgment.
the maelstrom, but it had calmed somewhat since then. For the rest of time, the pattern would emerge. Great periods of traumatic mortal death, followed by vast maelstroms breaking free of the labyrinth.
Oh,
and
boy.
when they would recede, the Sunless Sea would be left a little more turbulent than before.
Yes.
Charon decreed the Code of the Dead. Wraiths must not interfere with the living as they had done in the past. He decreed that Stygia had rightful ownership of all the newly dead, and that any Reaper who removes an infant Wraith's call had a duty to keep them safe, but they were entitled to extract payments from their charges if they wished, just as the ferrymen had.
Yes.
Every Wraith, Charon concluded, could now essentially be a ferryman and guide souls to his city. This did not work well at all, and Stygian attempts to keep up with the arrivals of the newly dead failed en masse. But despite Charon's failure to protect the wider afterlife, Charon's autocratic rule did end up stabilizing Stygia. As the maelstroms of the Crusades and the Black Death ripped the underworld apart, Stygia held strong. Charon's knights fighting to keep the specters at bay. The Sunless Sea had begun to transform into the Howling Tempest,
Ooh, look at
but
that.
the stable roads carved out in Roman times held fast. But soon, something else
Look
would
at those
happen that would
specters.
change the dynamic once more. Charon's spies and emissaries returned from surveilling the far shores.
Oh,
The shiny-
they totally didn't corrupt it. Wait, look at that. They're totally not corrupted by their shadows. Look at that.
No, he's fine. You know, you're overthinking it, Gene.
grown corrupt and overcome by
Just
their
don't mind the
great
slave
charges carrying the dead
collars.
from Stygia
You know.
wouldn't go to paradise or to perdition as planned. They would simply be herded into vaults and
Ooh.
buried for all time.
Wow.
While the Shining Ones above lived as gods and warred upon one another. Furious that the Shining Ones had failed in their mission to allow the dead a chance to transcend, Charon declared that the dead would no longer cross the Shining Sea.
The
He
Sunless
ordered
Sea.
that the entire concept of transcendence was now heresy. He would gather every wraith across the breadth of the afterlife and drag them to his city. Here, they would be his eternal servants. Here, he could keep them safe from oblivion.
Oh,
The
God.
colonial era had begun in the mortal world, and Stygia took part,
Look at that
establishing
art.
colonies in every major city in the Western world that would come to be called necropoli.
So this is in the actual book I've seen on eBay too. This is from the Legions of the Dead book.
Made devastating war
cool.
against the other dark kingdoms, seeking to finally rule all mortal dead as he proclaimed long ago. Many wars were fought against the African, Asian, and Mesoamerican lands of the dead. The final piece of the awful puzzle of what Stygia would become began with the Triangle Trade.
Yup.
As Stygia was flooded with the dead he had captured, Charon began trying to put them to work en masse, taking them as slaves. Many were thrown into a moat surrounding the city, forced for all eternity to serve as a demented psychic barrier from the howling tempest beyond Stygia's harbor. The rest were sent, accompanied by the legions, down
Booty.
into the labyrinth, to carve stone from the very depths of reality itself. Despite what Charon told himself, his legion barely lifted a finger to stop the specters down there from carrying slaves in their millions off into oblivion.
Yeah.
And even those unfortunates who managed to survive the toil down there were not free. When they were no longer useful,
Yep, look at that.
the thralls would be dragged
That's what they do to them. They burn them down and turn them into weapons. Look at that. Still got the face and everything too, because the slag. Look at that.
to the dark foundries of Stygia, and their souls hammered.
I
into
don't like.
weapons,
I'm not a
toys, or
fan.
Industrial goods. The actions of Charon did nothing but accelerate the suffering of those he was meant to protect, and accelerate the expansion of oblivion. But Charon, near mad with power, had his detractors mulched and forged into accursed railroads, battleships, and bomber craft. When World War I raged, Stygia was unharmed. A
Yeah!
fortress that kept the specters away with weapons the underworld could no longer comprehend. As millions died in the trenches, the shell-shocked wraiths born from the devastation were loaded into ghostly trains and carted off to the mines to toil away the eternities. The Sunless Sea was now little more than a small region of the roiling tempest, the Stygian roads now offering no more shelter than a shaded avenue in a hurricane. Spectres were everywhere, hounding the Shadowlands and the newly dead even on the calmest of days. Oblivion was nearing victory.
Yep.
And then came World War II. Now, we may remember that the ferrymen, way back after the Roman Empire fell, had divested themselves of
This is gonna get wild. You ready for this shit?
shadows, but Charon
Yes.
did not. Now, it's unclear exactly when he had this realization, but I presume it was probably after Charon sent a fleet of ironclad battleships built from the screaming souls of those he was supposed to protect and start carting away all those sweet souls killed in the Pacific Theater to go to his mines Well, I presume that's the moment when Karin finally realized that his shadow actually might have been a bad influence on him.
Oops. Oops. Do you mean this thing that was making me do all these horrific
no, it's gonna be fine.
2,000 years
That's
late
not.
to the party,
Oh, that
Dante
it looks like it
separate
kind of
himself
hurts.
from his
2,000 years late
No.
to the party, he pulls off his shadow and gets rid of it.
shadow. It goes skittering off somewhere into the Tempest. And don't worry, it won't be a problem.
It won't be a problem,
The
it's
first
fine.
ferryman looks about at his nightmare machine he had built when he was supposed to be guiding the dead, and he says, well, I think we can all agree that the last
George Bush.
Like, ruh-roh.
2,000 years have been,
I love it.
let's say, regrettable. But the good thing is, now we can finally start working towards healing and getting
Up.
back to... Sorry, what's that? America is attempting to do what with the atom? The death
The atom bomb. Here we go.
caused by the bombs
Yay.
of Hiroshima and Nagasaki tore a hole through the labyrinth itself and allowed a creature from before time to pull itself up.
Oh, great. Here we go. Look at this thing.
This colossal never-born creature was fused with Karin's own shadow
Yup.
to form the true stuff of nightmares. Ghost God.
Ghost Godzilla. No, literally. It's Ghost Godzilla. I'm not kidding. It says it in the book, too. Wait for it.
Godzilla. It was Ghost Godzilla. I'm actually not.
See? Most Dragorians know Gurul as a Godzilla-like newborn Malfarian threat to the city of Striga. Look at that. It's Ghost
I
Godzilla.
fucking love it.
joking. And this great spectral kaiju began wading through the ocean to begin a rampage in Stygia itself. Now, I wish I could tell you that Karin did one last bastard thing and forced the Soul Forges to build him a giant ghost robot, but that is not what happened. Instead, Karin finally took responsibility.
He's gonna go 1v1 Ghost Godzilla. 1v1
Fuck yeah,
Miro.
dude.
Rolled through, and he fights the creature in the Bay of Sorrows, armed with nothing but his scythe. It was a colossal battle that only ended when a whirlpool consumed both combatants.
Yep.
Charon has not been seen since, and Stygia has limped on since that day. Still being incredibly foul and evil.
Didn't
Charon
change it,
never ended
yeah.
up getting the chance to fix it.
He was
There
gonna
is
change it
so
till
much more
he's
to
gone.
say. Heretic factions. The fact that the Asian Emperor of the Dead is maybe the chattest character in the entire world.
Yes, it's literally the Jade Emperor as a wraith, as in that Jade Emperor, the first fucking emperor of fucking China. Look at him. God.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Charon has
Let's take a
not
listen to
been seen
everything. You're
since,
gonna get more
and
than that.
Stygia has limped on since that day. Still being incredibly foul and evil, Karin never ended up getting the chance to fix it. There is so much more lore to this setting. Heretic factions, the fact that the Asian Emperor of the Dead is maybe the chattest character in the entire world of darkness, or the existence of a faction that dives into the labyrinth to fight specters, and they call themselves the Doom Slayers.
Yes. Yes, that exists too. Are you ready for more? Are you ready for more?
Or, better, this goes
sure.
deeper than that because there's a sub-faction of the Doomslayers called, I shit you not, the Helldivers.
Yeah.
I am probably
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Nobody's original weeb. Because this is from the 90s.
Wow. Okay. What? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
probably
Okay.
overstaying my mandate a little if I go too much farther. I bothered to outline a lot more lore than I usually do, and all of this is so that you can properly understand what Wraith the Oblivion is. For games like Vampire and Werewolf, it's pretty easy to figure it out at a glance, but upon hearing about the sad ghost game, you may not realize how fucking bonkers it is. And all of this extended giant world, it's a big part of why people love Wraith
Yep.
so much. Unfortunately, all of this cool backstory very much undercuts the core themes of Wraith. Wraith is a game of personal horror, a game where you're a sad ghost trying to accept your own death. But it's also a game where Karin the Ferryman of Greek mythology
1v1's Godzilla.
becomes Roman Emperor, and then 1v1's a giant nuclear ghost kaiju. These things are pretty obviously at odds with one
Yeah.
another, and it's very much to the detriment of your ability to actually play
See what
the
I meant by this? The whiplash juxtapose?
Oh, Jesus.
Because the lore's like, fucking this.
Oh.
And then the game's like, oh, you're a sad little ghost that's crying about your
Fucking
dead.
Nate's like all this great lore, but when it comes to gameplay, they lack.
Yeah.
game comprehensive. System can't really decide if it's a down-to-earth story that lives up to its intended themes, or if it's a dark fantasy game where you're a ghostly D&D party exploring the afterlife in search of treasure and riches under the nose of Stygia. And unfortunately, the writers never ended up
They never did that either. They
We
couldn't
read
figure
so
out what they
much
wanted to
about how
do.
Wraith was this supposed game about personal horror, but very little support was given to that side
Yeah.
of things in favor of doing even more wacky world building.
Yes.
Like, sure, it's great that we know about an undead polar express that travels the Tempest, but to this day, most people, myself included, are still not really sure what you're supposed to be doing all day in your haunt, or how to have grounded adventures in the Shadowlands. Wraith isn't a game. It's two. And while
Yes.
both parts are individually cool as hell, neither one was ever fully baked. It's possible to merge these two things if you have a very advanced group capable of keeping touch with their Wraith's personal lives while they're off having goth punk D&D adventures in the land of the dead. But ultimately, it's very hard to keep the tone straight when you're a sad ghost crying that your loved ones are moving on without you, and then some guy bursts in, offers you a Stygian forged Desert Eagle, and says, "Hey kid, ready to join the Helldivers?"
Well, I'd go home. I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. Make me into a coin. I don't care anymore.
Matter of fact, I've been chatting a bit on this topic with Auntie Haunty, and we're planning on doing an experimental Wraith game with her actual playgroup,
Oh
the
boy.
Handful of Nerds. Our idea is to steal the patron system from Imperium Maledictum and have the party work together to handcraft our Reaper on Session 0. If
Oh
you're
boy.
interested, hike out to the Handful of Nerds channel and subscribe. It's a good gang of people, and I reckon you'll love the Fallout actual play they've been airing so far. Anyway, Wraith as a tabletop game has a lot of problems. First and foremost is that it's so grim that most people won't even think it sounds fun, so it has a hard time actually getting players. Number 2, the lore is more like two unrelated games that have very little to do with one another, but there are other problems too. Being that the game is so focused on the personal, it can be hard for all the members of the group to actually get enough time to explore their own stories in a way that is satisfying. You probably don't want to be playing Wraith with a big group of people. The shadow system can also be a problem too. Every single player is given carte blanche to fuck with another player during gameplay. If any of your players are even 10% of that guy, then the shadow system is going to bring out the worst in them and destroy your whole friend group. This game is playable to an advanced group who's been playing together for years and have a good dynamic and a solid vision for the game. But to any group that doesn't fit that description, Wraith is an unplayable masterpiece. Honestly, while Wraith is clearly very special as a setting, it may
Look at that
just
guy on
not
the
be
right,
good
dude.
for a
Yeah.
RPG.
Hi,
That's okay.
I'm in the
There's always
Matrix.
the potential to try
No, dude,
again
you're
in
powering a
different
soul
mediums,
like
such as today's
Fortnite, dude.
topic,
No,
a video
Matrix.
game. Wraith Afterlife is a VR horror game released in 2021 by Fast Travel Games,
Yes.
who have since created Vampire Justice,
Yes,
a VR masquerade game set in Venice.
Venice.
Inevitably, any attempt to adapt
Italy.
Wraith is going to need to decide which of the two vibes it's going to follow. Is this personal horror, or is this goth punk D&D? Afterlife chose the former, and as such, it is a true horror title set in a single haunted mansion in the Shadowlands.
Yep.
I think there's room in the story for a sequel that starts exploring the larger lore, but we can discuss that later. I'm a big fan of horror in most formats, novels, TV, video games, but for me the line has always been VR. That's just too far for me.
Oh, look,
man.
Blair Witch.
I like
Weeb knows
horror,
that
but
game.
I just don't like feeling unsafe
Oh,
while I'm
yeah,
playing
oh,
the
yeah.
game. Listen,
Thanks,
if you're
Jeff.
not a VR player, you may not
Thanks-
know how much worse
thanks,
this
Jeffrey.
stuff is. You ever get scared and imagine that there's something right behind you? Well, in VR, there really is something behind you.
This game would make you piss your pants if you had a VR headset on. Weeb, look at that!
See, this is a clip of me desperately trying to close
I don't like
the
it.
my headset. Wraith Afterlife properly fucked me up. You will doubtlessly see a number of
I own
reviews
this
around the
game, but I
internet
don't own a
claiming that
VR
this game
headset,
is
so I'll probably
boring and
never
not
play
scary.
it.
Well, the thing is that Afterlife is a bit of a slow burn, and the first hour or two doesn't have all that many spooks. Most reviewers who make it to the part of the game where specters start showing up will rather quickly change their tune. Wraith is, by most accounts, one of the scarier VR titles out there. Horror is obviously subjective, so I'm certain there will be a number of commenters saying, "It couldn't be me, I ain't afraid of no ghosts." Well, I'm happy for you, but for me, I would have sessions where I would actually be trembling for 10 minutes after I took the headset off. But we've gotten
Damn.
ahead of things. The protagonist of Wraith Afterlife is Ed. And
Ed.
the thing about Ed is he's
kind of dead. Ed is dead. Ed is
we
dead.
awaken on a cliff road. You may notice immediately that this game omits the Call and Reapers. It's actually not a lore break, even if it feels like one. It will make more sense later. A number
Yes.
of memories and drones tell us, as we follow the path, that we are Ed, a photographer whose photos are special, able to capture things that Ed isn't fully aware of. For our part, it seems that in life, Ed was just here to capture the LA nightlife. It's implied that Ed had come to the City of Angels in hopes of making it big as a celebrity photographer. At the end of the road is a massive mansion that we arrive at with Ed's wife, Rachel. Inside, we see the drones of a few key figures. Alan Vincent is an old movie star. Tom Shepard is a gallery curator that Ed has history with. And then there is Meadow, a psychic medium here to hold a seance for the owner of the mansion. The ailing billionaire banker turned movie producer, Howard Barclay. Rachel and Ed are here,
well, you know,
Barclay wants us
as
to
one does
photograph
as you're an aging billionaire.
capture any ghostly phenomenon. We soon stumble across
You know,
some of Ed's
don't
photos
worry about
hanging
it,
on
Gene.
the walls
Look
of
at
the
these.
foyer. As a wraith, it's much easier to see what Ed couldn't
foyer.
do. Dude's photos were haunted as all hell.
Yep.
A sinister voice in our head directs us to come find him, and
Let's go
introduces
find
us
him.
to the main navigational tool in the
Let's
game.
go find the
Our
sinister
horse
guy coming to
works
talk
as
to
a
us.
dowsing rod, and
Let's go gambling.
it's actually a bit clumsy,
That's
to be
right.
honest. It's very easy to get stuck in this game
Ah,
and not
damn
know
it.
what to do next. Anyway, on our way to find the voice in our head, we pretty quickly
The average
find out
Porky
that Meadow is
experience.
pocketing everything from the billionaire's house that she can.
Ah,
We
damn it.
stumble across the image of a woman,
I'm
Cassandra, from
sick.
long before our seance. A starlet from one of Barclay's movies.
Ooh.
She's thrilled to be invited to what seems to be a celebrity party. A little farther up, we find a younger Alan Vincent discussing their intentions with this bright-eyed woman. They
ooh.
take the discussion to Barclay's office, so we have to go key hunting for a way in. We stumble across our
This is
first
YouTube's
Spectre,
fault.
the least
Oh.
threatening of the bunch. Now, worth noting, all of the Spectres have their own lore that can be uncovered through notes and
Why do you
stuff.
think this
They're
had to
all
be YouTube's
terrifying, and
fault?
they've all got a history with Barclay. I'm not
that
going
person's
to go
clearly
over them
hanging
and who
themselves.
They are in this video beyond
See.
saying that Barclay is responsible for creating each of them. I'm
Oh,
hoping
boy.
that by leaving just a little bit of the mystery intact, I can convince a few of you to
That
try the
person was
game.
hanging from a
Hey,
tree.
as
I said earlier, this is the second version of this video, because the first one got age restricted, and this was probably one of the parts that did it. Specifically, this Spectre and one other section. So I'm erasing this Spectre from the entire video. Who the fuck is he? I can't tell you. I tried. I really did, but it's out of my hands now. Anyway, whoever this Spectre is, he
Oh,
is
yeah, look at that.
terrifyingly close to you. And you have to
Ugh.
input a key code while this motherfucker is gurgling in your ear like a
Ugh.
foot behind you.
It's so uncomfortable.
That's
Rafe really
creepy.
knows the horror of proximity in VR. And
That
having
is creepy. Just imagine hearing hear that as you're trying to put some.
Yeah.
something scary being behind you. The security code opens a door to a staircase leading elsewhere in the mansion. This becomes the very first hint of what will become clear as the game progresses, namely the fact that Barclay's mansion is a really well-designed location, in that
Nice.
school of old-school Capcom horror titles. It's not that big as a location, but it's extremely deep and complex. You'll constantly be doubling back to hidden areas and locked doors throughout the game as you gain more keys and more powers. There are plenty of phenomenon that just don't make sense on first pass, but they will when you have more tools at your disposal. At the top of the stairs, we find the seance room, and our worse half. Ed's shadow greets us.
Oh, look, there it is. You like that, Weeb?
I do like that. It's properly spookus.
That's a shadow.
Yeah, he's a smoker. He's alright.
He doesn't tell Ed exactly what he is, but he states that the two of them are now trapped together in the mansion, and they'll have to work together to get out. He insists that for now, we should just try and figure out how the hell we even died. We find Ed's old camera. Not the one he typically used professionally, this was his late father's.
Oh.
In death, it has become one of Ed's relics, that
Of
he can
course.
use to snap spirit photos and access old memories. Using it, we learn a few things. Firstly, we learn that Meadow is a fraud, and the seance is basically just a show to take the gullible billionaire for all he's worth.
Of course.
We also learn our history with Tom. He was a gallery owner who gave our spirit photos to Barclay months before the seance.
Okay.
Ed handed over the photos with the promise of payments later on. But Barclay, cheap and malignant bastard that he is, stiffed us,
Wow.
despite clearly having the money. As the game goes on, I get
What a
more and more
douche.
convinced that Meadow has the right idea. Afterwards,
Just
we
stealing
take
money
a
from him.
spirit photo
Oh!
of the seance. Somehow, despite the fraud medium's intention, the seance clearly brought forth something.
Oh, great.
What
It's
that
alright.
is
That's fine.
Very much unclear.
You're overthinking it,
Shadow
Gene.
promptly says, "You know what?
Did you
Fuck this.
like
Let's just leave."
Did you like seeing that like corpse flying in the air for a minute? Wasn't that great?
That was great.
Yeah.
And
Whee!
honestly, I hate to say it, but he's got good instincts here. We head towards the garden to see if we can hop the fence. On the way, we're forced to do something something awful willingly enter a pitch black room.
Oh,
Look, you can see
boy.
from body language alone that my entire being rejected this challenge. To make matters worse, there's something in the dark here with us, and isn't that just awful? The end of
That's great. You'd love doing that, right, Weeb, with that VR headset on your face and hearing shit in there and going in a bitch back room? That'd be great, right?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful, Gene. It's a wonderful idea.
contains Ed's
Yeah,
second relic, his father's old
totally do that, buddy.
Oh, look, a flash.
a way to burn roots, or even stun spiders.
The
Once
chat
you're
killed
in
him.
the garden, the game finally
Hammered
starts to
him.
recover
Kill him.
itself.
Kill
This
him.
is the section
They
that
won't do
most
that.
of the reviewers don't make it to. We hear the creature in the garden shuffling
Ooh.
about.
Oh,
and
there's a
weeping
creature in the
about
garden.
cold, long before we see her. And soon, we catch a glimpse of her in the distance.
Ooh.
And shivering up
Oh,
ahead. Fortunately, we soon reach
did you see that? Just standing there, menacing.
the exit to the
No, you
mansion,
didn't, because you're
but
up. I
something
can tell
holds
you're
us
up.
back.
No.
The mansion won't let us leave. This time,
I was getting an
the
ice cream
specter, which
sandwich.
the devs have labeled the
Sandwich?
sad cinematographer, is shambling
Yes,
all over.
sandwich.
And we're forced to remember that Wraith Afterlife is supposed to be a stealth game.
Oh,
I gotta say,
oops.
the game makes sneaking.
Oh, God.
What? Whoa.
It's always terrifying.
And nigga was like, "Roar."
That's right.
Okay, finally free. No, 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 no,
No,
no,
she still, yeah, can still get you. Watch this.
Oh, thank
We're
God.
sneaking.
Well, at least are you goddamn kidding
Yep,
me?
all the doors
Eventually,
open.
Despite all odds, we make it back to the mansion and out of the clutches of the cinematographer. For lack of anything better to do, our shadow suggests that we start gathering up the seance artifacts. If they're gathered, maybe the mansion's ghosts will let us go. And frankly, it's a great idea. This guy here, he's always trustworthy.
Yeah.
Tom's knife is nearby.
Yeah, that
Yes,
guy
that's
there,
correct. His
he's
personal item he
trustworthy,
brought to the
right?
seance was a knife.
Your shadow that Tilly doesn't try to fuck you over. He's trustworthy.
Meadow's globe is next. It's just sitting out in the hallway. The others won't be so simple, though. Down a dark hallway, we start rooting around for Barclay's belongings.
Oh,
It
boy.
is here that we discover the third and final of the minor specters, the Wall Street Whiz Kid. This is one of only a handful
Oh,
of
he's
jump scares
huge.
in this game, but damned if it didn't get me good. Sneaking about this
Did,
area with the
did,
lumber...
did you notice how he killed himself? Did you see what was in his hand?
No, I looked away for a second. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'll go back. Just so you can see him
Yes,
again.
please.
Sash, you're right in the way of the fucking mouse. You need to move.
Safe, we also find Alan's film roll. Heading back to Barclay's library,
I know,
thankfully
Ugh.
now clear of the hanged man,
That-
we
that
use
didn't
the
do-
flat.
yeah, let's see,
Meadow's
that didn't do
globe
it
is
right.
next. It's just sitting out in the hallway.
It didn't go
the
back
others
far, so
won't
I
be
thought-
so simple though. Down a dark hallway, we start rooting around.
I
for
know,
Barclay's
I know, you're gonna
belongings.
whine.
It
I'm
is
sorry,
here
I
that we
need to
discover
move
the
you.
third and final of the minor specters.
You're
the
fine.
Wall
It didn't
Street
hurt you or
Whiz
nothing.
Kid.
I just
This is
moved
one
you
of only
slightly.
a
You're
handful
fine.
of jump
I know
scares.
Oh
you-
God! Look
Damned
at that
if it
nigga.
didn't get me
Yes.
good. Sneaking about this area with a lumbering
So,
specter, we find
So I don't know if you
Barclay's
noticed.
voice
He was holding a gun in his hand and his head's blown
Yeah,
up.
he was holding a revolver.
We're
Yes,
now able to open
'cause he
voice
killed
activated
himself.
locks all over the mansion. One of these, under the watchful eyes of the Whiz Kid,
You're fine.
is Barclay's
Don't
occult
swipe at me.
note,
I was
a
petting ya.
seance item. In another safe, we also find Alan's film roll. Heading
Now we
back
can
to
see that
Barclay's
creepy shit
library,
again. That's great,
thankfully now
right?
clear of the hanged man, we use the
Derp.
flash relic to find Rachel's diary. Our camera was our own seance item, so now we've got everything, and we're
Yes.
able to see what happened at the seance. We
Are we ready?
clearly summoned something.
That's
and
not
Meadow
creepy.
couldn't channel it because how could she? She
She's
was
not-
a
yeah,
fraud.
she's
there
not
was
real.
only one person present who was actually sensitive to ghosts. The photographer.
Us, which he didn't know he was. Oops.
The horrifying specter takes control of Ed. If he had
Yep.
training as a medium, perhaps he might have been able to control it. But he wasn't even aware he was sensitive to ghosts at all. The specter
Yep.
forces Ed to bludgeon Meadow to death for the gall of summoning her. Then, the creature takes out her wrath on her real target, Barclay. The
Yep.
creature appears in the room with us, and it becomes painfully clear that this thing will be after us from now on.
He's always trustworthy.
Anyway, the other three flee the seance room, and we head out to see if they survived Ed's rampage. We track them to the guest house in the garden, and after a little exploration, we discover Tom's fate. He begs for mercy, but is soon murdered by his own knife.
Japanese, top of the line stuff.
Yeah, his Japanese blade. That was one of his seance items. Japanese top of the line stuff.
Something locks us in here, and in response, Ed masters a new arcanoi, the ability to pass through certain
Ooh,
walls.
look at that.
In another room, we discover the after image of Ed and Rachel. He couldn't kill her, and managed to excise the spirit temporarily. He begs Rachel to run and hide in Barclay's underground bunker that he apparently humble-bragged about to them earlier.
Wow.
And then, to protect her.
Nope,
Ed-
stop right there. That is
Yep.
probably one of the scenes that got us demonetized the first time. Listen, I bleeped a couple things earlier. I also hit that specter, but I'm pretty sure this was the scene that did it. But I can't really cut this scene because it's very plot important. So instead, I will demonstrate using only words that YouTube will allow me to say. So let's pretend for a second that this is a certain Japanese implement, very high quality, helps me relax. And what Ed did was he said,
Yep. And then he died. That's how he killed.
We try
That's
to
how
leave,
he's
but
erased.
Cassandra's power locks us in and traps us in pitch darkness. And worse, we're not alone in the guest house any longer.
Ooh, it's in there, Weeb. It's in there now. It's fun, right? That's now in the room. Rolling
Oh,
around.
oh, great.
She's here.
Oh, look at
Cassandra, the broken woman, always watching you in the dark.
Ooh.
And she follows you. This is the most goddamn skin-crawling section of the game. This is the kind of terror that people have been dreaming to design in VR since it was invented. She's there, stalking you while you're forced to evade with a movement speed barely faster than hers, just feeling it in your bones. That she's always there. She could be anywhere. And usually, she is.
Oh, God!
You have to find your way out of this in the dark, unlocking doors, frantically
That
turning
wasn't scary,
doorknobs
right, Weeb?
while she stalks you. Never sure if you'll
Oh,
look
no,
over your
no.
shoulder
No,
and see her
no.
lunging at you. We've all seen those scenes in movies where that idiot fumbles with their keys and they can't get the car door open. Well, Wraith Afterlife is a humbling reminder that in a panic, we're all that guy. VR has always had the ability to be more tactile than any other medium. And the panic you feel trying to fumble with a doorknob while the stuff of nightmares is trailing just behind you, I mean, it's skin-crawling, truly. I have never experienced something so scary in a video game before. By some miracle, I eventually stumble my way out.
I mean, especially
after
for
a truly
VR, that would be
harrowing
fucking
quest through the dark
terrifying,
house.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
I am not ashamed to say that once I got out and to a save point, I legitimately just fell to my knees in real life. When I regained my composure the following day, I went hunting for the basement and the bunker that Rachel supposedly fled to. To get there, we have to go through Barclay's private theater, the sad cinematographer stumbling through to try and catch us on the way through. Arriving on the lowest floor, we receive one final power, the last thing we need in order to have full access to the entire mansion, Wraith Grip.
Yep.
This power lets us manipulate heavier objects than we could before. With Wraith Grip, we solve a quick and easy puzzle before heading down to the bunker. Rachel's voice comes through from behind the door, and it sounds like she's in danger. The power of the broken woman holds the door closed, however, and our shadow tells us that we'll need to find the broken woman's fetters before she'll finally release her grip on the vault. The first fetter, her amulet, is easy. We find it in the elevator on the way out. Number 2 is tough as hell, though. The Hanged Man and the Whiz Kid team up to protect it in
Wow.
the party room. This isn't the scariest section in the world, but honestly, it might be the most difficult. And when I finally got out, I was exactly this close to death. But I do, in the end, succeed at getting Cassandra's contract. We then use our new elevator access to get upstairs to Barclay's bedroom and occult research areas. The third object isn't here, but we do find some things of interest. A note from Rachel. Apparently she and Ed were having marital problems.
Ooh.
We also find out Barclay's plan. The aging bastard was refusing to die. He wanted to evade death by ensuring that he would become a powerful wraith that could possess other people's bodies.
Wow, what an asshole. Like, what a fucking asshole. That's what he was trying to do that shit for. So he could possess people after he died as a wraith. What a dick.
To learn how to do this, he attempted to summon a Wraith Writer through the Seance, which, as far as I can tell, is implied to be the ghost who writes the opening chapters of the core tabletop manual for
That's
Wraith
funny.
the Oblivion, which means Barclay might have found a Wraith the Oblivion rulebook and lost his mind.
Yeah.
Additionally, Barclay has a box up here that can destroy Spirit World items. Lastly, on Barclay's balcony, we discover what happens to Cassandra.
Here we go.
People know your name. Tomorrow, maybe you're a star. What do you think, Alan? Does she have what it takes to become a star? There's only one way to find out. Howard, stop being such a bitch. Now come over here. What the fuck?
Whoop. Whoopsie doodle. He slapped back, and she went off the balcony.
We double back to
What,
the garden
whoa?
to see where she fell, and find out that she was alive at the bottom.
Yep.
Barclay blackmails Alan into helping him cover up the incident, instead of calling an ambulance as Alan wanted. We're directed to the
Oops.
pool house where Alan is staying. We find the third fetter, a prop from Cassandra's movie, and witness the moment when Ed killed the aged movie star. We make it to the basement, and with her fetters as payment, the broken woman allows us to enter the bunker. Inside, we find a note that makes no sense. Rachel had broken up with Ed, His obsession with trying to make it in LA had destroyed their marriage and left them both destitute.
So she was never here. She was never here. That's curious, isn't it? She was never here.
Yeah, it's really
She
weird.
wishes us well selling our soul to Barclay, and tells us that she won't be there when Ed gets back. In the heart of the vault, we find a grave. Barclay and Alan buried Cassandra's broken body alive.
Wow!
She begged for mercy.
That is fucked up.
For mercy.
That is very
It's
fucked
then
up.
that our shadow comes clean. Rachel was never here.
Come on, Ed. Not even you can be that delusional. She left you weeks before the seance. And in case you hadn't noticed, we're all dead.
The shadow put this in Ed's brain, made him imagine things that weren't there. When Ed finished the rampage, the broken woman let him go. Ed didn't call the police, or Rachel, or anyone. He just
killed himself.
The shadow tells us that it's done playing with Ed.
Just had a bad day.
Weep.
It's kind of like slurped into the ground, dude.
Oh, here. Oh. Do you like that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
We book it out of the vault, broken woman scuttling behind us.
Ooh.
With nothing left to go on, Rachel's voice calls out to us, asking us to come meet in the lobby. We find her there, and she gently reminds us that she isn't actually real.
Oh, okay.
She's all in our head, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this moment doesn't have power. Some Wraith the Oblivion characters...
Here we go. Time for something that's rare that Wraiths have, because they have something that's the opposite of a shadow, which he has. Here we go. Ready for it?
possess an Eidolon,
An
which is
Eidolon.
the opposite of a shadow. But these are generally weaker and more subtle than their dark counterpart. This after image of Rachel appears to be Ed's Eidolon, and guides him to find a way to destroy the broken woman's fetters. There was a cursed fireplace in Barclay's office, so we head there first. The broken woman, now unchained and far more dangerous than before, scuttles along the ceiling like a spider. I end up finding a nice sneaky route past the horror, and I manage to burn Cassandra's contract before she can sink her claws into me. We do a similar thing upstairs, in an awful sequence where we need to use the combination on the special box in the upper floor to destroy Cassandra's movie prop while the broken woman hunts us. Fuck, I keep dropping these keys.
Fuck.
Finally, she guards the basement now where she never prowled before. She
Oh,
finally
God.
catches me.
They're
After
skittering.
all this time, once in
Like
the
a
game,
boog.
finally, I managed to succeed at camera flashing.
Ooh,
a ghost.
there she
At
is.
Cassandra's grave, the amulet is shattered, casting the broken woman into the Tempest, never to return to the Shadowlands. Our shadow begrudgingly taunts us. We may have defeated his friend at the mansion, but what really was there for us outside of this place? He invited us to go find Rachel and cry about our fate for an eternity. Doing our best to ignore the bastard, we head to the gate, where he appears to us one final time.
Here we
and
go.
he gloats. Because you see, none of this was as it appeared. Do you remember way back when I said there were some lore inconsistencies earlier? Specifically the fact that Ed never had a call or a Reaper. That's because none of this is real. Our shadow has been screwing with us. When a shadow and specters team up to break a wraith's mind, I remind you, that's called a harrowing.
Yup. He's been going through a harrowing this whole time. That's why he's going through a harrowing.
Just like Rachel being present for his death, this has all been lies fed to us by our shadow.
Yep.
And now, the shadow remarks, it's time for him to wind back the clock and harrow us once more until we break. Our last sight is the broken woman leaping once more to tear at Ed's mind. The implication, of course, is that this is sort of a time loop. The Shadow and his spectral allies will force Ed to relive this over and over until he's dragged down into oblivion. This is the standard ending, but there is a true ending where you escape if you manage to 100% the game and find all of the notes and collectibles. But for me, I am happily going to never play a VR horror game ever again, unless there's a sequel to this. But overall, Wraith Afterlife, way past my limit, man. I urge you, if you have an appetite for horror and a VR headset, give this game a go to find out the stories of the minor specters.
No, thank
and
you.
To see the true end. Ultimately, this ended up being a really great use of Wraith lore, constructing an utterly terrifying and grim story about the dark side of LA. It was on the more grounded side of things.
Yes.
A story told with restraint. There's no Ghost Godzilla to be found here.
Nope.
I actually think there's some room for the goth punk D&D style of Wraith if this game ever receives a sequel.
Yeah.
Although Ed will escape the harrowing in the true ending, the boy is hardly ready to transcend. He's got plenty of heartbreak left to experience if he wakes up and tries to contact the still living Rachel. A sequel about that could expand the lore considerably. I'm unsure if a shadow can harrow a Wraith while they're still
I mean,
in the
yeah,
hall,
dude, it
if
looks
that is
really
what happened,
good,
Ed
like design wise.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm dying a little bit. I honestly like if in a couple of years when VR gets like another little jump in graphical boost, there's gonna be some really terrifying shit, dude.
Oh yeah.
Especially especially with this setting.
Oh yeah.
It opens it up to a whole bunch of good shit.
Hell, just imagine doing like stuff in not just like all the World of Darkness things, not just fucking this. Imagine like a fucking vampire horror story or just a fucking werewolf horror story, how those could be. Just anything in the setting could be really creepy. But Wraith especially is like, because all the creepy shit that happens there, yeah. I could see like another like whole thing of like, oh, going through a mansion and having to deal with all these fucking specters and everything. That'd be fucking terrifying.
Getting turned into a specter while he was still in the call, then we can start the game with Ed being reaped, and he can continue his doomed journey to find Rachel, and avoid Stygian slavers and malignant specters. Ed was a really good protagonist for a Wraith game. You can see why this guy has unfinished business. He's made terrible mistakes in life, but he's not done anything that makes him irredeemable or unrelatable. Not to mention that his shadow is a really engaging nemesis. Now, this game scared the shit out of me. VR horror...
That's the thing that could have, I think, if they tried to rework that again, and not having people control your shadow, but having the DM control your shadow probably would be better.
Yeah,
with the
that
storyteller.
would be fun.
Having this, because it's like the whole
especially
thing
for like a multiplayer kind of setting where like again, you're gonna have to wait till VR expands a little bit, but you give it to like the GM or the storyteller or whatever, it has like full control of like how the world looks.
Yeah.
Before the players go in. That could be really fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I mean in general though, for like the tabletop as well, if they just reworked it so that the storyteller was the one that was in control of everybody's shadow and doing that kind of, because that makes more sense. Because when I've seen when I watched that like live play of New York by Night thing, obviously when the vampires feel their thirst, the DM's the one that basically saying in their ears like, you know, drain them, do this and that. Just imagine that with a shadow or something, you know what I mean? Because that would be an interest, like, just doing it that way, I think would be a lot better than having another person do that. You'd have to really trust your storyteller, don't get me wrong, but, yeah.
He's not my genre, so I would be lying if I tried to tell you that I had a tremendous amount of fun with this game, but I will say it is a great piece of World of Darkness media, and it used the Wraith lore in a way that's kind of a dream come true for White Wolf's most tragically unusable game setting. The game isn't perfect, though. You have a health bar that's invisible, and it's not explained very well. You can find photos of Rachel, because she is your fetter, that will restore your health bar, but you actually have very little knowledge if you need healing or not. Also, for a game that requires you to collect a ton of stuff and send it to your memory palace to get the true ending, it sure doesn't have any way to access that memory palace to see what you do or don't have. If you play this and try to 100% it, I'd recommend going to the wiki before you start playing, and make a checklist of all the items and memories you're going to need to find. Lastly, the dowsing rod mechanic is not very accurate, and it's a pain to use. Under every forum post, as well as every Let's Play of this, you're going to find dozens upon dozens of confused players who are stuck and can't figure out how to progress. But in my opinion, all of this can be forgiven, as this is still a great use of an IP that has been begging for a good adaptation for decades. Fast Travel absolutely killed it. With a knife.
Japanese? Top-of-the-line stuff?
Top-of-the-line
Thanks for watching, everybody. This one kind of got away from me, didn't it?
Alrighty, there we go. Now, there's 2 more videos and then we're done, because we're going to have a little reprieve from World of Darkness stuff. That was pretty much the big bulk of it, was all that. We have 2 more videos, and then, like I said, that's it. Let's have an intermediate with this. Giant titties.
Giant titties.
As deserted as this island may be,
Like an Animal Crossing.
I suppose it isn't that bad. At least they got boba.
Boba tea.
There is one thing that bothers me, however. That peasant. But why? From sun to sun, all I
Damn
see
peasant.
him do is work.
Humans.
Paths, buildings, gardening, and farming. And
They look
all
to the
for
player
what?
character.
For the sake of everyone who lives here? Ha! As if. I wasn't born yesterday. It is but greed what motivates you, is it not? But if I already know that, then why? Why does a part of me wish to be wrong for once?
Alrighty then. Now let's have Pathological 3, Mania Edition. Thanks, Seth.
Hey people, Seth here. Pathologic Free is a game about trading walnut shells for opium with a gang of preschoolers, arguing eugenics with rats, and upholding your Hippocratic
understandable.
oath. Despite
Agony.
the number, this is the best entry point to the series. You don't need prior experience or to play the previous titles to understand the contents, which is a blessing because I have.
Because I have.
Daniil Dankovsky, Bachelor of Medicine and proprietor of Fanatica, a Soviet institute researching the phenomena of
Dankovsky,
death
sounds
and
Polish.
its reversal. Funding has run out, and your last hope is a letter describing the existence of an immortal man, Simon Kane, living in a remote town on a steppe. Translation: this game takes
Oh
place
my
in
God.
Kazakhstan. However, upon
That fucking face was terrifying.
arrival, you're informed of his murder. To
Oh,
make matters
oops.
worse,
He had a
a
stroke.
mysterious plague has broken out. The trains have stopped, and there's no way out. Then you're jumped to the present, being interrogated in the capital. You stand accused of leaving the town for dead, for fleeing from your doctorly duties. But you didn't. Or you did, until you went back and changed that too. Past, present, and future.
That's fucking terrifying. Look at that thing. It's like the fucking
No. It's like a demented shy guy. No, thank you.
Demented. It's
Nope,
also made
no,
me think of
thank
that
you.
one, like that fucking thing from Spirited Away that has that face too. Another thing.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Aren't
I don't like
alive,
it.
but a liquid. Their order doesn't matter. Only your choices and actions. This is a young doctor's notebook by Bulgakov, except it's a psychological horror where you're responsible for the lives of 18,000 townspeople and kin in a backwater culture with strange customs, who will antagonize and hinder your efforts every step of the way. As you listen to the soothing sounds of Mongolian throat singing, dealing with a plague is the least of your problems. Dealing with people, and suddenly it's like you're watching body cam footage. They have to tell these apes to stand down before they realize I don't have anything in the chamber.
He's out of ammo.
Or
Oh,
not.
sure,
And all this while
or not, he just shot him. Or not. What the fuck?
you deal with the greatest problem. Yourself. With
Yourself.
his glass bones and paper skin, Daniil has the constitution of a hummingbird. A little too much excitement. He becomes manic, and his tiny heart just can't keep up.
You died?
But if an orphan calls him Unk and says he's getting a Norwood 7 in the next 4 years, he begins to load his suicide revolver.
Calls him Unk.
To summarize our protagonist's entire ethos, if you bully me, I'll kill myself. Every moment is a battle against apathy. Get a little too sad, upset, or annoyed, and suddenly you're fighting intrusive thoughts with a gun in your mouth.
Jesus.
But death is the beginning. Our failures on the 5th marked the end, and we're not satisfied with the conclusion, so we're going to rewrite the whole thing. Time is essential, precious, and fleeting, until we wind the clocks back and realize each day is infinite. After all, the cathedral generates time. How can we ever run out? Each day is a set of impossible tasks. To succeed in one means to fail the rest. For example, one of my last remaining leads is currently being buried alive.
Oops.
If I don't dig him out, he'll suffocate in a few hours. But if I do, I'll miss the distribution of contaminated spring water and the diagnosis of several key patients. So I hold on to my success and shatter my failures. The day repeats, and to the testimony of all witnesses, Dankovsky was here. Mirrors
Dankovsky was here.
steal your time and reflection, so be sure to break any you see. As a physician, diagnosis makes for one of the most interesting and frustrating aspects of your job. That's because, more often than not, a patient is lying to you, to themselves, or both at the same time. We begin with what we can trust: physical examination and microscopic biopsy analysis. From there, we question the patient, investigate their surroundings, and get secondhand information from friends and family. And if they don't have any of those, we ask the homeless. Each time you tick off a symptom, your casebook
Bother the
draws closer
bums.
to a likely conclusion. Sometimes the obvious answer is a red herring, and you have to dig deeper for the truth. Symptoms may be present and unrelated, dormant or absent, depending on the progression of disease. Correct diagnosis is critical, as it lets us formulate a provisional vaccine for the day. This isn't the first time the town has dealt with a plague. 5 years ago, the sand pest made its first appearance, which was swiftly contained by a quarantine and burning everyone alive.
Oh,
Unfortunately, the town physician responsible for containing the epidemic, Isidore Burach, has also been murdered. on the exact same day as Simon. However, we aren't entirely defenseless. We brought an experimental prototype from a capital, a device that manipulates air pressure to disperse microbial particles.
What?
Hold down, charge, and release.
What? What?
What?
Essentially, this is an industrial aerosol disinfectant.
What the
but
fuck?
We're in the middle of nowhere, so we have to settle for loading it with digestive bile from a cow's liver.
Gross! I don't like the effect
The
it's
good
humming.
news is that we can traverse infected districts. The bad news is that we're going insane. Shabnak Adig, step demon and manifestation of a plague, has taken a fascination with us. She is death. You're the killer of death, and she's pursuing a toxic relationship. It's
Oh,
not
boy.
a case of you're bad for each other. She is a golem made of sand and bone, and she's going to tear you apart.
What the fuck? What? This game is weird.
Prototype can only temporarily delay her, but like a moth to flame, she's easily distractible. But we can't run forever. Each site of infection contains a bloom, a cluster of dormant plague. When stimulated by a caustic agent, it becomes active and exhibits autophagy against other sandpass cells. By loading our prototype with a sample, we can fire it directly at Shabnak. You get a single shot at this, so try not to miss. Provided you didn't fumble it, she cannibalizes herself, which slows the outbreak for a day. And tomorrow, she'll remember what you did. Ever since Pathologic 2, the mind map keeps us from aimless wandering. Each time we travel between districts, we have to plot a course. If they're safe, we can pass through automatically, but cross any district that's infected or rioting, and we have to reach the exit ourselves. Personally, I prefer death by ancient bacteria over the raping intent of country bandit.
The raping intent.
Wherever Dankowski
Oh
goes,
no, Trex been like, oh no, not that meme.
the sound of clapping follows.
Oh,
but it's not
God.
his hands that make the orchestra. After establishing a field
Damn it, Seth. Why?
hospital, the ruling families give you authority to enact emergency decrees. This is often a balancing act, as many of the measures you take to decrease contagion increase unrest. You get to witness the effects of your policies firsthand, as your enforcers misinterpret routine inspection for board up their doors and windows, kill them if they try to leave. There's a Turkish proverb, feed the orphan today, and in return, he'll sodomize you tomorrow.
What?
Don't expect gratitude. You can't save
What? Oh my god.
them all.
Look at
The
that
town
mask.
collapses after day 5. That's why, initially, we can't go to day 6, because it doesn't exist. That's why we
Yet.
make the decrees. Through our actions, the future has become longer. Traveling to the future requires that the sandpast has not reached a critical point of no return,
Oh.
as seen by the red line on the chart. Basically, we're safe-scumming each possibility until we reach the desired outcome. The powers that be are replaced by the capital. They're outside of the story, and you're actively arguing your case with interrogators sent to destroy you. You can even meet the inspector on day 4 and coax out answers to his strategy. He introduces himself as a dog catcher. In his own words, when he puts on the leash, they struggle so furiously they get into a loop. These loops are dead ends in your reasoning chain.
I don't
Paradoxes
know how I
and
feel about that, Gene.
contradictions that
Me
have to be
either.
rewritten to escape. If we calm down and refuse to struggle, he can't win. We can't influence
Incredibly
the outcome
gassy.
without starting the day. But to start the day, we have to convince him of its relevance.
I have a little
For this
gassy.
reason,
You know,
we
sometimes you
dispel
get a little
his
gassy,
immediate
dude.
We said
accusation.
incredibly
A little
gassy.
Then, as the story changes, so does the relevance of what came before and after. You've probably realized by now, there's a lot of dialogue. It's not just verbose and flowery, it's a lot of sophistry. And it goes both ways, because Dankowski will randomly spout Latin, not even complicated Latin.
What?
Instead of saying, you made a mistake, this man will say, errare humanum est. Replace it with Japanese and you'll understand. A patient complains that they're dying. He responds with, Naruhodo. We're talking
Naruhodo.
weeaboo levels of Latin.
Naruhodo.
Ever since Mandalore pointed this out, I'm led to believe.
Why, why did he do that to Mandalore? Why did he do that to him? Did you see what he did?
No, what did he do?
I'll go-
Sorry.
I'll go back. Let me show you this.
So does the relevance of what came before and after. You've probably realized by now, there's a lot of
Going back to
dialogue.
more.
It's not just
That's okay, though.
verbose and flowery, it's a lot
This
of
is the last
sophistry.
video.
And it goes both ways,
So this-
because Dankowski will randomly spout Latin, not even complicated Latin. Instead of saying, you made a mistake, this man will say, errare humanum est. Replace it with Japanese and you'll understand. A patient complains that they're dying. He responds with, naruhodo. We're talking weeaboo levels of Latin. Ever since
Oh, there it is. You see it when he did with
Oh,
Mandalore?
no.
Why'd you do that?
Oh,
I'm led to believe
no.
the town doesn't distrust him. They just think he's a neurodivergent savant. As he garbles out, "Watashi wa Daniro desu. Ikuzo!" to a group of blank-faced schoolchildren. On the other hand, this is a man who runs around town like Sonic the Hedgehog while scoping out trash with his Witcher vision, which he stores inside clocks for safekeeping. The signs were already there. We simply ignored the diagnosis. I could spoil the entire plot of a series and lay out every detail, and you would come back just as confused. Without knowing, there's no understanding. Thus, I don't need you to understand my actions.
The mother of all weapons.
What the
Brighter
fuck?
than the sun.
What the fuck? A nuke?
Pathologic is avant-garde if you're a
Oh my god. I'm scared.
Yeah, dude, that's a rape suit.
dude, puzzling if you're goy cattle.
You're gonna get
and mundane
touched.
if you knew it
The long
already.
way,
Playing
bro.
pathologic
Wait,
one
what'd he say?
feels like
One second.
The mother of
Okay,
all
go back.
weapons.
Gonna play. I know that's gonna hit the fucking.
Brighter than the sun.
Brighter than the sun. The nuke. Just blows that thing up, whatever that fucking thing is.
Pathologic is
I hate this.
avant-garde if you're
Oh,
a sued,
see.
puzzling if you're goy cattle, and mundane if you knew it
Puzzling if you're goy cattle.
already. Playing Pathologic 1 feels like being mugged. Repeatedly, forever. And I don't wish this on anyone. Pathologic 2 became an actual game, and free is the most polished experience this company has ever made. They say, write what you know. In a case of modern media, this is living in Seattle and receiving the gift. Then,
The
from the
gift.
Slavosphere, it's a bunch of esoteric hallucinations from a lack of sunlight. Combine this with Second Temple Talmudic rabbinical teachings, read a little bit of a
Oh,
Kabbalah,
no.
sprinkle in some Gnosticism, and see what comes out. It's probably one of the better artsy games out there, but the problem is that the art crowd has AIDS and wants to walk
Has AIDS.
simulator with no
what they call
difficulty,
the
so they can
AIDS.
wait a 5-hour video essay about how
Oh, yeah,
Augusto
okay.
is fat
Jesus.
and lives in the gut district,
Gut
and his
district.
large matronly body is a
Matronly
metaphor
body.
for like consumption. The difficulty
Oh, God.
sneaks up on you.
You died?
Amalgam isn't infinite, and like menopause, you'll eventually run dry. Each day has a finite set of temporal resources that can't be brought over. However, nicotine tolerance is permanent, as your 6 milligram menthol zins will gradually lose their potency. Being outside of time has its consequences, because the drugs are wearing off. There's some rough edges, which I'm told they're working on. The
I'm told they're
UI
working
isn't
on.
final. Quick slots break, some voiceovers and text strings are missing, and once I talked to an NPC and got jump scared by Cyrillic. In summary,
Oh, no.
philosophers need to be sent to a foreign
Nobody cares. Anti-philosopher gang, get a job. Anti-philosophy gang, get a job.
call.
That's right,
You can't bother
nigga.
The rest of us. I thoroughly recommend.
Blame
the game.
Diogenes,
It's
nigga.
available on Steam with a 20% launch discount.
Diogenes was
and
the
for
best
rest,
of all of
just
us.
watch my other videos.
No, he was the most crazy and most wise nigga of all time.
Yeah, he's
a
about-
Mandalore Gaming apparently touches kids, I guess.
I don't know what the hell he just said that at the end. What was that?
I don't know, but
He's probably just saying that because they're friends. Anyways, because he's a wild man. This Seth is a Malkavian, as is or was Diogenes. I'm just gonna put that out there too. Malkavians are that way. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Appreciate you guys so much. Be sure to like the stream if you haven't done so. Be sure to play the movie caption contest, movie hangman, movie Pictionary. If you play the ABC game too. Tell what fucking YouTuber you hate. It's in there. Play, do that as well. And don't forget to join us tomorrow back here at 8:30. Excuse me, for Case of the Mondays. We'll see you guys
I
then.
get off at 6 p.m. my time, so I'll actually be there from the start this time.
Wow, amazing.
Whoa,
right, everybody.
crazy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Oh,
Love you.
Wait,
Bye-bye.
that's right. Wait, before we leave. Don't forget we're going to do stuff in the PC, too. Leave the people.
Yeah, we're going to show shit.
That's right.
Be
See ya.
there, or I'll
Bye-bye.
yell at you in Chinese.
That's right. Bye-bye, everybody.